people in Hokage. I Naruto just want daily life author. Daily fishing. Chapter 51 Violence. Temari naturally wanted to struggle hard, his face flushed with anxiety, and he didn't know if it was anger or shame, maybe it was both. But because her hands were locked and twisted around her body, she couldn't use any strength at all, so she tried to kick back hard with her feet, kicking this prodigal son to death. When Naruto put his legs together, no matter how Temari kicked, he didn't seem to feel the slightest. It had no effect at all. As Temari, the daughter of the fourth Hokage, sorry, I missed it before, she certainly has not suffered such humiliation, so now she is full of shame and anger, wishing to torture Naruto to death with the most brutal method she knows. It's just that her strength is limited, so after struggling for a while and finding no results, she directly stared at Kankuro, who was already stunned. Damn it! How long will this kid be in a daze? Hurry up to help. Cough. Kid, let go. Kankuro finally came to his senses at this time, and said some fiercely, but his eyes didn't look at Naruto and Temari at all. To be honest, he saw Temari become like this, he felt ... It's actually kind of funny . It was the first time he saw his elder sister in such an embarrassing situation. She was always very confident and arrogant, except for Gaara, she was very strong in everything. But now he is given by a kid. Cough. Of course, now is not the time to laugh. Didn't she do it by herself? And she said it herself. It depends on my ability. I have already shown it to you, haven't I? You're cheating. Kankuro, teach him a lesson. Kid, you deserve it. Now that he heard Temari's order and saw Naruto's reckless appearance, Kankuro naturally had no choice but to take it seriously. He immediately untied the puppet behind him and launched an attack immediately. Of course he can see that this kid is very powerful, otherwise Temari wouldn't be so helpless. But even if he finds it interesting, Temari's current state is really embarrassing for Sand Shinobi, and now he must save the situation, son. Then, let's start your performance. Naruto smiled and stretched out his right hand in Kankuro's direction, motioning him to start quickly. It's just that Naruto's hand is connected with Temari's, so Temari also stretched out along with it. But at this time, in addition to making her feel very angry, she also felt an inexplicable force. Is this chakra? Because she was next to Naruto's hand, she could feel it more clearly. There was a very special chakra that seemed to pass over her hand, which made her feel a warm feeling in her arm, but it's not uncomfortable, but rather reassuring, as if being protected by something. This is ? When seeing this scene in front of him, Temari seemed to have seen something absolutely impossible, with a face full of horror, and looked at Kankuro. Although I don't want to use crows to deal with you little brats at all, but now I can only do this. How is it possible? Why is my crow not moving? Salamander fish too? When I tried to use my own chakra line to manipulate my puppets, I found that my two puppets couldn't move. What is going on? His chakra line is naturally connected, even if it is loose, he can connect it all within a few seconds. Manipulating the puppet is more flexible than his hands and feet. How could it be? Is this your chakra line? Well, the design of your puppet mechanism is really good, but no matter how delicate it is, if it can't move, then it's meaningless, right? This is indeed the case, but your method is too messy. I have never seen such a manipulation method. Seeing the hundreds of extremely tiny chakra lines in front of him, which can't be seen clearly without careful observation, they surrounded his two puppets from every corner, and every joint and could attack the place where it was all wrapped tightly with silk thread. Kankuro had nothing to say. Indeed, Kankuro himself will no longer be able to control it if it is entangled like this, and of course, Naruto himself will not be able to control it either. But since there is such a terrifying chakra control power, why use it to do such a wasteful thing? What waste? If such a strong control power is given to him, he will definitely have a chance to surpass that puppet genius in Legendary, the Red Sand Scorpion. Chapter 52 It's comfortable to hold. Kankuro is very torn right now. Originally, as a puppeteer, he was quite a genius. At the age of 15, he was able to perfectly manipulate two puppets, and he was able to make some modifications. Among them, they are all quite rare. And his ultimate goal, of course, is to surpass the current Sand Shinobi, who once claimed to be the most talented puppet master ever, the Red Sand Scorpion. But he also knows that if his talent wants to catch up with those geniuses, he is still far away. Not to mention, the two puppets he uses now are made by others when he was a child, and in his opinion, it is still extremely excellent. But the blonde kid in front of him. What happened to the boy? Thousands of threads even thinner than his chakra thread, all wrapped his puppet tightly. There is no place to move at all. He wants to be proficient in separating out 10 threads to practice for a long time. Although Naruto simply threw them all out to stick to the puppets, and did not manipulate anything, but being able to separate so many, this control is dozens of times stronger than him. and every silk thread was harder than his. He tried to cut off the opponent's thread, but 6 or 7 threads were broken on his own side, and the opponent's thread was not affected at all. What kind of monster is this? Exclamation mark. If possible, Kankuro would even kneel down and worship Naruto directly on the spot. Of course, this is a joke. Not to mention that he has something important to do right now. It's impossible to pull him down just because of his face. Although, if he is really willing to teach him, it is not impossible. Hey, Kankuro, don't be in a daze, come and help me. But at this time, Temari's dissatisfied voice came out again, which made him finally react. Huh? Oh, but I can't help you now. But what can he do now? The puppet is locked tightly now. He is a puppet master who can't do anything at all, and the only way now is probably to put the puppet thread on this person. But in that case, his ending will definitely be the same as his. Like a puppet, if it can't move, it doesn't make sense. Because he is also a puppet master, Kankuro is more aware of the strength gap between him and Naruto. TSK. Hey, handsome boy, eating tofu is almost enough. Seeing that his younger brother had given up hope of fighting back, Temari couldn't help but clicked his tongue, and then continued to speak to Naruto behind him. Well, Temari is still being held. Alas, being held in the arms of a person of the opposite sex whom I met for the first time, and held for so long. What on earth is she doing here? Didn't you provoke it first? Naruto also complained silently. But since the other party had said so, he had no intention of continuing to entangle, and let go of Temari's hand directly. The moment she let go, Temari seemed to be planning to fight back, but she held back the moment she saw Naruto's calm blue eyes. If you do it again, you will probably be eaten tofu again, and you will still be asking for trouble. Forget it. It's my own instigation. That's fine, but I also admire you, little handsome guy. You really have the nerve to hug such a big crowd. Since he couldn't beat his hands and couldn't move, he had no choice but to take advantage of his mouth. Temari gave Naruto an annoyed look, and sneered at him. The girl who met for the first time can be hugged directly on the lap. He really has him. It's okay, actually it's quite comfortable to hold you, if you want. I'd like to hold you in private. Forget it. Farewell. When he almost yelled this sentence at the end, Temari turned around and left in anger, without even looking at Kankuro who was on the side. Of course, she didn't bother to look at this defeated general, and Kankuro also looked at Naruto, and then at Temari, with a weird and complicated look on his face, but he still left 2 coins, and then hurriedly left. Although he still kept for a while, I dare not get too close to the past. The communication between the 2 siblings is quite interesting. Naruto looked at the disappearing figure between the 2 with a smile, shook his head, and then continued to eat slowly facing the side in front of his table. Although it is cold, it still has a different taste. In such a short time, it's another girl. When we meet for the first time, you just hug her like this. It's too rude to a girl. It's better to be tough with some girls. By the way, how long have you been observing, Sister Chenku? Of course, I've been observing. How big do you think your movements are? Fortunately, there are no new guests coming. Otherwise there will be strange rumors. Don't do this next time. Hug in front of me or something. Just listening to your words, I feel like you are jealous. How about I hug you too? You dare to make fun of your sister? Ahaha. Chapter 53, The Blind Girl. For the young lady with her hands on her hips in front of her, Naruto could only choose to say haha to resolve the embarrassment, and Calamus glared at Naruto with her cute pea's eyes, and then continued to tidy up and get busy up. After all, she has already gotten used to Naruto's current situation. The silly kid who only knew how to play tricks in the past has long since disappeared. The current one has been infinitely strengthened in all aspects, but he has become very carefree. Little scumbag. However, Calamus also thinks that Naruto like this is actually quite good. At least, for him, his future life will be much easier, right? This is the best. It's this personality that wants to talk to anyone, as long as it's a cute girl. It's best to change it a little bit, and it will start to talk to her from time to time. Really, she is better than him. How old are you? Calamus Hartunen couldn't help complaining, but the corners of his mouth could not help but draw a slight arc. Although it was just a joke, how can a girl be unhappy when she is praised for her beauty? It's a pity that she knows that Naruto is just talking casually, and she still has to devote all her energy to pursuing Ultimate's way of ramen, so she has no time to care about these. Why are you eating this again? Alas, please have 3 servings of Yakiroka ramen. Okay, here we come. Huh? At this time, it seems that the mealtime has gradually begun, so the number of customers will naturally increase. But after hearing this calm and languid familiar voice, Calamus couldn't help but look over, and saw a boy who looked lazy, a fat boy, and a blonde ponytail. The girl was walking towards her stall at this time, and when she saw the identity of the visitor, she couldn't help but smile. You guys are here again. Well, Miss Calamus, excuse me. The blonde girl also greeted Calamus with a smile, then sat down next to Naruto, and then sighed inexplicably. That guy has been running away for so long, and there is still no news at all. Did he have too much fun outside and refuse to go back to Konoha? The girl seemed to be talking to herself, put her elbows on the table, rested her cheeks with her hands, and murmured in a depressing way, which made others feel a little baffled. Fortunately, everyone present could understand what she was saying. However, the two girls who originally wanted to speak to her fell into silence after glancing at the smiling Naruto, and sat silently on the other side, looking at them with complicated expressions. It is said that the girls in that are blind, but as to this point, didn't see this. Maybe the colorful world outside is too interesting, but maybe at some point, he will appear next to you. Calamus was obviously also a little helpless. He wanted to explain to the blonde girl, but he didn't know how to speak, so he could only use this method to hint, explicitly, to her. How is that possible? That guy must be enjoying himself at Mist Shinobi right now. I heard that there are quite a lot of beauties there, and there are exotic styles. I must have been dazzled. If it wasn't because he was in. If you still have a girlfriend here, maybe you won't be willing to come back. But the blonde girl still didn't understand what she meant, but continued to talk to herself, and angrily put her hands on the counter in front of her. Fortunately, this is strong enough and she has control, so it doesn't shake out the bowl of noodles that someone next to is eating. Are you his girlfriend? Who is his girlfriend? I just want to read his manga, so I asked him to update it quickly. I'm waiting to see the follow-up plot, so I don't care who he's dating. After hearing a teasing voice from the side, the girl apparently still didn't notice the speaker, and only continued to be angry. But this arrogant tone, in fact, no matter who can hear it, she actually cares too much. Is that why he confessed to you one day, and you didn't accept it? Confession, how is such a thing possible? He and Hinata have a good relationship. How could I get involved in this kind of thing? It is absolutely impossible. I just want to read more manga drawn by him. Just urge him to draw more. It really has no other meaning at all. Even if he really has such a little meaning, I actually can't accept it. Shouldn't. Why are you here? When did it happen? It's been here since the beginning. Eh? Question mark. Chapter 54, Hands Off Shopkeeper. Yo, long time no see, my good brother, Shikamaru, ChoJi. Well, long time no see. Don't come here for me. Don't just get close to me at this time. Glancing unhappily at the smiling Naruto, the lazy boy rested his chin with his hands, looking a little tired. Unlike the good-natured ChoJi, he really didn't want to be forced into such troublesome things. The three of them just came here for a routine meal after finishing their tasks, and he was getting used to eating ramen during this time. Since this guy Naruto went to the country of water, this guy no took them here to eat every day, and now he almost vomited. But ChoJi didn't mind, and he ate happily, and his character was not. It's easy to say something, but if you say it, you will be scolded by Ino. That's all you can do. Ino is still there. It's just that he was sitting next to Naruto just now, but now he changed his seat and sat on the farthest side without saying a word, with ChoJi and him in between, and he sat next to Naruto to deal with this guy. Alas, why does he have to be involved in such troublesome things every time? By the way, didn't you guys go to Kirigakure? Why did you come back so soon? It seems that it has only been about a week since he left. Has he dealt with a branch over there so soon? Things are almost done. I actually just bought a store, and then gave 30% of the shares to the person in charge over there, and asked them to help me deal with it. It will be done well. No one should think money. If there are many, it is a business that can make a profit without losing money, and I can relax myself. XN. It's really easy for the hands-off shopkeeper to do it, so you can make money while lying down. Of course, it's also to come back and wait for your test results anyway. Everyone is in the same class. I still want to see the results. What about us? You just want to see Hinata's results. You're hypocritical. But at this time, Ino, who had been silent for a long time, couldn't help but speak. His voice was a little low, and there was obviously a suppressed resentment. It's not just Hinata, Ino. I also want to know the result of your exam, but I believe you can succeed. Snort. Ino turned his face sideways and snorted coldly, and never looked at Naruto's side from the beginning to the end. But from an angle that no one could see, she couldn't help but put a slight V-smile on the corner of her mouth. It can only be said that women are really wonderful creatures. They seem to be very unhappy when they say it, but they are actually very happy in their hearts. Let's not talk about that, but you are really moist now, kid. If only I could be like you and not be a ninja. Of course, from Shikamaru's perspective, Ino's expression cannot be seen, so he thought that Ino was really angry, so he changed the subject. Although, he actually has some ideas in this regard. Being a ninja is just the request of his family in the direction of the mainstream. In fact, he still wants to be a common person, and he doesn't want to think about such troublesome things. Then change your career now and help me manage it. I'll give you 20% of the shares. If I really did that, my mother would probably beat me to death. 20% of the shares. This guy really doesn't take money as money. And he knows that this guy Naruto is not just talking, he will really do it. I don't know what kind of person Naruto thinks of him. From the past, he has been often exposed to commercial things, such as how to increase popularity, how to make paintings more suitable, how to sell more books. These things how could he know? Exclamation mark. But Naruto often feels that he seems to know everything, and he likes to ask him about everything. Although occasionally he can have a flash of inspiration and help him think of something, but it is not always possible. Maybe, when he's old and not a ninja, it's not bad to do these things with him. It's a pity that the reality does not allow it. Born into a ninja family, not being a ninja is doing nothing. The Nara family will also be affected a lot, and he can only be a ninja honestly. I didn't say that you must do business full-time. It's good to have a side job. Don't you think ChoJi is very smart? Take this opportunity to put the family's medicinal materials in the country of water. Sell it. You don't have to worry about selling it all. You can also consider your antler. I really feel that you are not suitable for drawing manga, and you should go into business. This kid, wouldn't it be because of the velvet antlers in his house? That's why he kept staring at him? Chapter 55 ChoJi. A woman's heart. You don't understand Tilda. In fact, I also have this idea, but it's a pity. I still have to keep working hard. To Shikamaru's complaint, Naruto smiled irrefutably. He already has a lot of money, which is simply inexhaustible for himself. Even as the son-in-law of the Hyuga family, he still needs to have a certain career to support his status, so as not to let people gossip, but with his current situation, he can earn a lot of money from rent collection every day up. The purpose of his drawing comics now is actually to gain more power from the system. After all, although he is already quite strong now, at least he feels that there is nothing wrong with wanting to destroy the current Konoha difficulty. Of course, if you want to compare with the final 6 paths level character, you are still far behind, and you still need to work harder. Well, Naruto is very talented in both business and painting. By the way, when will you be able to continue painting your book The Prisoner of Food? I'm still waiting to read it. At this time, ChoJi, who had just finished eating a bowl of ramen, also said with a smile. ChoJi did not have as many concerns as Shikamaru. After hearing Naruto say that he wanted to go to the Land of Water to do business a few days ago, he directly joined the precious medicinal materials of their family and sold them together. His father, Dingzuo, naturally agreed to this matter. It's not that they really trust Naruto that much, it's just that they lost the bet. When Naruto and Hinata were eating ramen here before, they happened to meet their father and son coming here to eat ramen. Seeing that Hinata ate so much, the two of them also felt inexplicably fighting. It turned out they actually agreed. The final result is of course no need to ask, Hinata completely defeated them. Of course, the final result is a win-win situation. The medicinal materials of the Akamaki family are very good. In fact, because the price is relatively expensive, although they can always be sold, there is still a lot of stock. What I didn't expect was that when it was placed in the country of water, it was quickly snapped up, and even the supply exceeded the demand, so it was waiting to be replanted. To be honest, their family has never cared about this kind of thing. After all, they are very strong, and they have the most money for missions, and the family has a lot of savings. Of course, it is a good thing to have an extra sum of money now. But for ChoJi, Naruto's manga is more interesting than the money he earns. The various delicacies in it make his mouth water, and more importantly, there really are those foods that will make it. There are also people on Konoha who are very good at doing business, and it seems that Naruto has contacted them. Every month, there will be a dish with the highest valuation every month in his manga The Captive of Food, selling extremely hot. So of course ChoJi really wants him to update more. Okay, I'm going to update now. It's okay, it's almost time, let's go. After hearing Naruto's sudden utterance, several people couldn't help being a little surprised. But this voice is not from ChoJi or Shikamaru, but from Ina, who has been pretending not to care what she said just now and her expression. In fact, she has been quietly paying attention to it all the time. This has not said a few words. Why did you leave so quickly? Exclamation mark. Don't worry, I'm not leaving Konoha. If you want to see me, just come to my house. Woo. Who wants to see you? It's none of my business whether you leave or not. Rather, I wish you could go back and update quickly. Go back. But after hearing this kind of ridicule, with Ino's temper, and now her friends are watching, how could she be ashamed to keep him? Hey, I got it, Sister Yakiraku, Uncle Yakiraku, I'm leaving. Well, come again next time. Naruto, let's go. Standing up with a smile, he said hello to the busy Calamus inside and the uncle who hadn't even seen him, and said goodbye. After hearing the response from inside, Naruto left with a smile, leaving only Ino stood there with a tangled face. Oh, by the way, during the exam, if you meet 3 people from Sunagakure, be careful, one of them is quite dangerous. But at this time, Naruto suddenly said something that seemed to be concerned, which made Ino's mouth Kakazu couldn't help but laugh. Well, so what? You think I'm weak, so you want to run away? That's not true, it's just that I don't want you to get hurt. Be careful. Protect yourself. Snort. What the hell? So repeatedly emphasized. Hey Tilda. Will Ino's state last for a long time? In other words, wouldn't it be a good to confess directly? It's so troublesome. Well, women's hearts, Shikamaru, you won't understand. You understand. I don't really understand, but I can see that Naruto is playing very well. and there will be melons to eat in the future. Chapter 56. A sister-in-law is hiding in the house. Oh, that's how it is. The AI Dealers chapter. It seems that there are a lot of rich plots. An I's Lobby chapter. I feel like this whole process is still a long time away. I don't really want to call the Marine headquarters. Oh. Commando Espada chapter. It's finally here. You little girl, can't you be quiet? My efficiency has been affected by you. It's very good-looking brother-in-law. You are also a person. You obviously have so many manuscripts, each of which is more than 1 or 2 months old. Why didn't you show me earlier? Laughing and leaning against the bed, Hanabi took a stack of manuscripts in his hand and put them on the bedside table, stretched his body, and complained to a group of Naruto around him. There are so many manga manuscripts, and so many archived manuscripts. But he has hidden them all and never released them. If she hadn't made a surprise attack today, I really don't know that he has so many private goods. Saving manuscripts is not enough no matter how many. If you save a little more, you can take a break later. And if you post too many at once, the effect will not be that good. Posting 1 volume a month is enough. If you distribute 2 volumes at once, the sales will not be as good as distributing the 2 volumes twice, and the rare is more expensive. What? I just hate the idea of a businessman like you. It's true that you want to torture others in order to make money. Miss, you want to make money, you think everyone is as comfortable as you are. One of the Narutos sighed, and then put down the paintbrush in his hand. Soon after, the surrounding Narutos also slowly put down the paper, pens and other tools in their hands, and one by one began to slowly form a pile. Disappeared. And after about a minute, there was only one Naruto left in the audience. And those manuscripts, before they disappeared, were sorted into piles and separated, quite neatly. The part of Dragon Ball is also finished. I can finally rest for a while. At this moment, Naruto finally breathed a sigh of relief, then leaned back on the armchair behind him, crossed his legs, and looked very leisurely. It's you. Instead of staying at home, what are you doing here with Hinata? What? I don't have an exam, so let's take a look. Let my lord have a good rest tonight. If you talk too much and affect your performance tomorrow, it will be very troublesome. My lord's current state, it's actually pretty good. There's no problem for sure. Hanabi is also pouted with some dissatisfaction at this time. You obviously don't want to go to see your elder sister, but now you have the nerve to talk about her. Hinata has no problems at all. With her strength, it is very easy to pass the Chunin exam now, although she may not be able to pass this year. Eh? Why? It's just that when she heard the muttering behind Naruto, she couldn't help shouting out excitedly. If my elder sister can't pass, then who else can pass? I'm just saying not necessarily, because there are many variables in this year. But there is no big problem. After all, Naruto in the original book is the protagonist, and he is not even a ninja now, so he naturally has no idea what the whole Chunin exam will become. Of course, there shouldn't be any big changes in terms of casualties, that is, Gaara may kill a few minions, and Hinata's current strength is much stronger than in the original book. If you can't beat it, it's more than enough to run if you want to. What's more, Neji probably will try to find Hinata now, and then try to protect her. Since Naruto spoiled his father's situation to him, Neji has a good impression of him, and because of Naruto's strategy on the branch house, now Hyuga as a whole has no difference in clan. Neji was naturally more on his side, desperately trying to protect Hinata. What? It's so mysterious. I don't understand it at all. There's no need to know. Well, it's getting late now. Go back early. I'll take you back. Although Konoha is safe, it's not very nice for a little girl to walk alone on the street at night. What are you in such a hurry for? Did you invite other girls to spend the night? What are you thinking? I'm not. Naruto, are you home? X2. Accidents always come so suddenly. While Naruto was explaining confidently, a very familiar voice suddenly appeared, and Naruto began to receive real rolling eyes. HMPH, sure enough, you two are still inseparable. It was just an accident, and I didn't know she would come. No need to quibble. I'll hide first. Brother-in-law, you can talk to her normally, so I can see if it's true. This girl, where did you learn the plot? Chapter 57. Playing Mahjong. Are you here so late? What's the matter? I'm not allowed to come and look for you? Then I'll just leave. Hey, why don't you talk? Do you really want me to go? No, it's just that it's a bit strange that you came so late. To be honest, in this situation, I really want you to go, otherwise I feel a little embarrassed. Seeing the aggrieved look of the Cheongsam girl with the bun head in front of him, Naruto was silent for a moment, but said it out a little bit helplessly. What's so strange? Didn't I often come to you at this time before? Have you forgotten the past so quickly? No, you have an exam tomorrow, so you still have to come today? He himself knew about this, because he usually started to rest at this point, so the former her would bring him snacks at this time, and would ask about making those comic weapons from time to time. But the girl hiding in the room doesn't know. But thinking about it carefully, he himself had nothing to hide. Don't say that looking for him now every day can't be a matter of emotional exchange. Even if there is, it doesn't really matter. To be honest, he still has some thoughts like the hero of some time-traveling novels, such as opening a crystal palace or something. It's just that he has his own ideas, but they don't. Although there are many people in this world, such as daimyo, wealthy businessmen, etc., who also have wives and concubines and lovers, and it is not illegal, but most of the ninjas are monogamous. How can it be so easy to open a harem for you? It's because the exam is tomorrow, so I have to finish talking about weapons today, so that I can go to the exam tomorrow with confidence. Is it because of this? Is there no other reason? Of course, what else do you think is the reason? I thought it would be something like before, the old relationship rekindled, so I wanted to seek his comfort. Looking at the sulky girl in front of him, Naruto was a little bit dreamy, but he was a little bit frustrated. And his expression also fell into the white eyes of Hanabi in another room. What is this dead brother-in-law thinking? Originally, Hanabi was still worried, saying that this Tanshin sister might want to steal the sun at such a critical moment. After all, at a time like this, if you show your true feelings a little, most men probably won't be able to stop them. They have dated together before, so maybe they will rekindle their old feelings, and then they will do something to apologize to my sister. Things for adults are also very possible. Fortunately, this lady is better than she imagined. She just said, this elder sister knew that she was a good girl at a glance. How could it be possible to do that kind of thing? But, brother-in-law, what expression do you have now? Very disappointed, right? It's like a person who is full of hope suddenly loses hope in his heart. Don't show this contrasting expression of disappointment. I thought you wanted to come to me for comfort, such as hugging you, or kissing you as encouragement. X2. But at this time, someone might think it was a bit too boring, so he just wanted to say such a word here, and the two girls couldn't help but roll their eyes. This man think too much. But Naruto himself actually felt that there was no need for him to hide his thoughts all the time. If you have this kind of thought, just say it, otherwise who will know what you think? Originally, because Hanabi was too young, Naruto thought it would be better not to let her know too much about this aspect, so when in front of her, Naruto tried his best not to show a playful look. But it's already come to this point, let's forget it. This girl Hanabi has been tossing around like this, which makes him feel quite troublesome. Why not just let her fully understand his intentions? You thought it was that time in the past, go ahead and dream, saying that you treat Hinata like this, you are so sorry for her. Tanshin gave Naruto a contemptuous look, his eyes full of disdain. If he has the ability, he will say such things in front of Hinata. If that is the case, she will. I actually told her that I actually like you quite a bit, but she doesn't feel anything. Hey, what question are you asking? She will be sad. That's not true. She said she wanted to be a good sister to you. X2. Hinata, Sister Sama. It's really possible to say that. But this guy really has the nerve to ask, can he say anything? Exclamation mark. Oh, forget it. I still want to concentrate on the exam now and don't want to be distracted, so just treat Hinata well and stop thinking about that kind of thing all day long. Actually, it's not just my own reason. After all, it's so popular, there will be many girls who will take the initiative to find me. Narcissism. Besides Hinata and me, who would fall in love with you blindly? Naruto, are you home? X3. Another one. Is this going to play Mahjong? By the way, why didn't I seem to have heard this girl's voice? Yes, wait a minute. Chapter 58. All married. Look, I said that the charm is too great, and it can't be stopped. Okay, don't show off. That one outside is not your new girlfriend, is it? No, it's my former classmate. Forget it. I'd better avoid it first. Let me hide in your room for a while. Why don't you change places? Isn't your place just that big? It's not like I didn't go in to have a look. God. Sister Tanshin, hello. Hi, Hanabi, what a coincidence. Can I come in and stay for a while? Of course. I didn't expect you to have so many new manuscripts. Send them out sooner. I have been waiting for a long time. I've already answered this explanation to others once today. I don't want to answer it anymore. Let me relax a little bit. I told Hinata, you two are still so good. Sitting in front of a table and chair, the blonde girl with a ponytail who was flipping through the manuscript in hand smiled after hearing Naruto's words. The smile on her face looked relaxed and bright. It's not bad. By the way, you come to read the manga today, and you have the exam tomorrow. Isn't it good for you to be so distracted? What? I don't get distracted when I don't read comics, but I feel at ease when I read them. You too? Hearing this seemingly similar answer, Naruto and the two girls in the next room fell silent, and a girl with a bun head also moved her face away in embarrassment, not wanting to let the white-eyed girl next to her see her face. Although I just said that I came to discuss the issue of weapons. In fact, Tanshin has been flipping through Naruto's manuscripts since I came in just now, so I feel at ease after reading the comics. Fortunately, Hanabi himself came here for this reason, so he didn't take the opportunity to tease Tantan at this time. It's still the same as before. Naruto thought for a while, but still couldn't help laughing. And I actually liked to come to him to read comics before, and he was also a crazy follower, and often went to his house to visit, which was the case when he was in school. At that time, the relationship between him and Hinata was not very close, of course, because Hinata's character was too shy, and it was not easy to communicate at the beginning. However, although Ino often came to his house during that time, the two of them had never dated, and they could only be regarded as relatively close friends. There might be more similar to her and Shikamaru ChoJi, and their relationship might not be as good. Of course, this is only superficial, and he is actually very clear that Ino's feelings for him are not so simple as between friends, but more complicated. This kind of thinking of a young girl who is just beginning to love is so easy to understand. He is not the kind of dull male protagonist in a harem anime. How can people change so easily? But like you. Suddenly 2 years ago, it seemed like a completely changed person. Before, he was stupid, a complete idiot, and he liked to do some vulgar pranks, but now he has changed. It's all the more strange that it's a total stranger. Ino couldn't help complaining about Naruto, with a little helplessness in his tone. However, these seemingly normal words made the two girls in Lianzang feel a little confused. Was that Naruto she was talking about? Don't blame them either. After all, when they met Naruto, Naruto already had the current personality, and he has not changed from the beginning to the end. What stupid, and vulgar pranks seem to be completely incompatible with him now. I just want to move in a good direction in order to make my life happier and better. This is not a bad thing. That's what I said, but I remember that you seem to be dating a senior who was 1 year older. Now it's Hinata. You won't be going to change again when the time comes? Although she hadn't seen it before, she had heard Naruto talk about this kind of thing before. After that, she restrained herself a lot, and usually brought Shikamaru and ChoJi with her. It's just that today's mood is really a little irritable, and it's hard to fall asleep, so I just come over by myself to have a look. But if I change my girlfriend again this time, it would be too much. Hinata is such a good girl, I really shouldn't let her down. That will definitely not happen. I will definitely marry her. That's good, do what you say. Also, it is really a good thing to be able to marry Hinata. After all, she is so cute, her character is so good, her background is good, she is much better than her. Of course, but I think it might be too wasteful to only have one, so it would be best if we could marry all of you tilde. X3 Chapter 59 I want to possess you. As the saying goes, the emotions between people are not connected. No matter how cheerful the scene is, some people will only feel a little noisy. But for the three girls who are now in Naruto's home, although they are not all standing together now, they all have the same emotion. I want to beat this man up. It's because of Hinata's good temper that you can mess around. I don't know if you just took a fancy to Hinata and that's why you consider her your girlfriend. Ino was silent for a while, then still gave Naruto an annoyed look, and said contemptuously. In other words, Hinata's temper is too good. That's why he dared to talk nonsense like this. Otherwise, if it were her, she would definitely, can't be replaced by her. But in short, it is really because Hinata has such a good temper that he dared to say such a thing. If it's a joke, then I didn't say it. Or, in fact, he is just joking now. Because there are only the two of them here, why did you say this on purpose to scare her? If this is the case, it is understandable. It just feels a little empty in my heart. I don't know if her mind is a little crazy, but the first time she heard that sentence, she actually felt a little happy. What are you thinking about? Thinking of this, Ino quickly shook his head to get rid of this terrible thought. But Naruto probably wouldn't say that he would really have such an idea, although it's not illegal. He wouldn't do such a thing in general. Who is joking with you? I'm telling the truth. Life is alive, just let yourself live happily. I am very selfish. If I like something, I want to hold it in my hand and let myself own it, Naruto said with a smile, and when he said the last sentence, he stretched out his hand directly to Ino's side, and then he clenched his fist as if he wanted to squeeze her in the palm of his hand. I want to possess you. Although Naruto didn't say it clearly, the meaning was already very obvious, which made Ino feel hot on his face all of a sudden. Does he really think so? Don't look at Ino pretending to be very calm, but in fact, if she is just to read some manga, how could she come to this place at this time as a girl? She used to like Sasuke-kun in her class very much. Powerful, handsome, aloof, smart, almost everything that Prince Charming has, he has it. In the past, Naruto was just a silly kid who liked to play pranks, had the lowest grades in the class without any suspense, and looked silly. However, from the moment she saw him drawing very seriously in the classroom, she seemed to be attracted by his eyes for no reason. Concentrated, eyes that are not affected by foreign objects at all. No matter how many people around him say, he doesn't take it seriously, but continues to draw silently by himself, smiling lightly, just like himself. It's like being in another world, just crossing over, not getting used to it yet. That kind of loneliness makes her feel a little distressed. After that, I read his comics, chatted and laughed with him, and discovered that he was completely different from before. Ming was younger than her, but his personality was very mature, just like a real adult. All he needed to do was laugh at him and he would be able to pass away calmly, but a random joke of his could embarrass her unceasingly. When she came to her senses, she seemed to be thinking about Naruto all day long. Is this the so-called love feeling? It's completely different from the time with Sasuke-kun in the past. Now she doesn't feel the slightest when she sees Sasuke-kun. At that time, when she saw little Sakura and Sasuke-kun in the same group, she didn't have any thoughts. Instead, she kept looking at the side empty Naruto seats. Cough cough. Stop thinking about so many messy things. Really want to do that kind of thing? Exclamation mark. Then you can take possession of yourself. I don't bother to care about you. I'm going back. While saying this, Ino turned around pretending to be calm, and was about to leave. Now I feel more irritable than before I didn't come, but if I continue to stay, it will only be more troublesome. It's better to leave early. Naruto-kun, are you at home? X3. But some things, perhaps really are destined to have so many coincidences. When the gentle voice at the door sounded, Ino's footsteps stopped immediately, and a look of panic appeared on his face. Although she and Naruto did not do anything ambiguous, if they were seen, they would still be misunderstood. Although, this is probably because she has this kind of thought in her heart, so she feels wronged. You are really destined. Why don't you go and meet her now? Look at you. I don't want to make things too troublesome. It would be bad if I misunderstood. I'll go in and hide for a while. Wow. You. Hello X2. What kind of thing is this? Chapter 60. Listening to gossip behind your back. One bedroom, one bed, for 3 girls. Even if they are petite, it should be a bit crowded. Of course, they don't need to sleep now, nor are they in bed, let alone have such thoughts. However, even so, they still feel a little crowded. After all, the 3 of them were all crowded at the door, with their upper, middle and lower heads stacked together, listening carefully to the sounds outside the door. Although, between them, their eyes are also squinting at each other from time to time, looking at each other. Hanabi is a little better. After all, they both know each other. But Tanshin and Ino glanced at each other several times, and when they looked at each other, they became very awkward. Although none of them came to do that kind of thing, but no matter what, they are all hiding here now, and they will definitely be misunderstood. It's just that this kind of thing is not easy to explain, and it will make people feel like trying to cover up. Both parties already knew the identity of the other. Tanshin knows that there is a classmate of Naruto like Ino. Naruto has also mentioned it before, saying that he often comes to his house to read manga, and he is a loyal fan. There are only 2 female students in the class who come to watch. One is Hinata and the other is Ino. And Ino also knows that Tantan, a Naruto senior and ex-girlfriend, has been dating for a long time. Later, due to some reasons, they broke up peacefully, but they still keep in touch. It sounds good to break up peacefully. If it really breaks up, how can there be any peace or not? With such frequent exchanges, we still haven't broken contact as before. Do you really still want to get back together and rekindle the old relationship? Exclamation mark. Although, with this sentence, Ino knows that it may be the same for him, and he may not be as good as others. After all, he has never dated. Naruto-kun, you worked hard. I made this. If you don't mind, please try it. X3. Of course, what is more important to them now is the situation outside. The moment the gentle figure outside the door entered the home, they didn't dare to make any sound. Of course my lovely girlfriend's cooking. Why would I mind? Come, sit down and eat together. X3. It's just that it's not their original intention to listen to this kind of lingering. They are already familiar with Hinata's voice, shy, introverted, gentle, and a very pleasing personality. Even if they have various complicated emotions towards Naruto, they can't feel any affection for this girl at all. Negative emotions. What's more, they all felt that it would be such a waste to allocate such a good girl to Naruto. What a good girl. If she insists on dating a playboy like Naruto, she will have to endure so much trouble in the future. Obviously, with her conditions, she can find a good man who will concentrate on her. Now it's like this, seeing my boyfriend being so philandering, but having no choice but to be forced to accept something. Isn't it uncomfortable? Sure enough, Hinata's dim sum is very delicious. No, I'm just trying to practice. Naruto-kun's cooking skills need to be better. I still have to work hard. Oh, what a wonderful girl. Perfect lovers. If they were men, they might all fall in love with such a cute and obedient girl. Actually, it's pretty good. Better than Ino and Tanshin's. X2. It's just that when the 2 people inside the door heard this exaggerated evaluation, their faces naturally became ugly all of a sudden. What a joke. This kind of practice of stepping on 2 to win 1 is too much. They are still listening. Originally, it would have been too much to say such things when they were not around, but now knowing that they are next door, to dare to, it's even more too much. So, even if it's true, don't say it like that, right? Although I know that gentle girls like Hinata must be ingenious and good at cooking, but they are not bad. No, everyone is very good at it. I have to keep working hard so that I can't be separated by them. Woo. What a girl, what a waste to this guy Naruto. After all, if you really become that kind of sisterhood in the future, I don't want to lose to you. What? Exclamation mark. Chapter 61. 12 years start. You still care about this sentence? Don't be so competitive. I'm not such a perfect man, and no matter what, I still like you Hinata very much. Woo. But I think this kind of thing still needs to be done by myself. Although the voice was still intermittent, and at first she let out a cute whimper because of shyness, but Hinata forced herself to put her hands on her sides and cheered herself up, so that Naruto couldn't help laughing. This girl is really so cute tilde. Haha, don't be so cute. I can't help but want to love you now. Woo. Of course, his straightforward answer, let alone a shy Hinata. Any girl would definitely be ashamed to death. At least the three girls in the room were already blushing. They were all looking at each other, but they were too embarrassed to continue looking, so they could only glance around, with subtle expressions in their eyes. Hehehe. Them. You don't intend to do that kind of thing, do you? Exclamation mark. Of course, they felt that the possibility of such a thing was very small. After all, they were only 12 years old, so it shouldn't be to that extent. But even if it's a little lighter, cuddling and hugging, kissing a small face and mouth, etc., it's embarrassing enough for them. How can anyone hide in someone's house and eavesdrop on such things? In other words, until now, it's all Naruto's fault. This guy knows they are here, so what is he talking about on purpose? But judging from their understanding of Naruto, this is Naruto's personality. He just likes to watch the excitement, and it's not a big deal at all. In other words, he really has that idea. Even Hinata said this, and had no objection, and obviously really thought so. I really want to. This kind of thing sounds too weird to them. But don't you really mind this kind of thing? Ordinary girls would mind very much. Don't you keep it in your heart and don't tell me these things. But at this time, Naruto suddenly said something that scumbags have always wanted to say, but few people dared to say it directly, and the three eavesdropping girls couldn't help but mention it in their hearts. If it was them, if they dared to hear their boyfriend ask such a question, they would turn their faces on the spot. No, I don't mind, Naruto-kun. X3. But Hinata is still very calm at this time. Compared with his usual voice, he can even say that he has a submissive voice. Although his voice is still gentle at this time, it seems to be a little more firm, obviously for this obviously excessive request. She herself accepted it very seriously. I've thought about it a long time ago. In fact, at the beginning, I also felt that it was not suitable, and even if I could accept it, the other girls should actually be a little difficult to accept it. It's better for me to give up. This girl is really too gentle. She can easily hurt herself like this. But if Naruto-kun has said so, I will continue to work hard. Speaking of which, Naruto-kun, Miss Tanshin still seems to like you. Why don't you go and congratulate her more after the exam? Go buy some flowers for her. She's pretty good too. X3. After hearing these words, let's not talk about Naruto's expression. Anyway, the other side is very exciting. Both Ino and Hanabi looked at Tanshin in unison, staring at her Jangtong's flushed face. Their eyes were very complicated. Dealing with a rival in love is fine. How can a girl help her boyfriend to chase after a rival in love? By the way, Ino-chan actually likes Naruto-kun very much. She may still be debating whether to like Naruto-kun. Didn't you, Naruto-kun, say that she is cute before? Now that I have decided to go this way, then you can't make the girl who likes you sad. X4. Let alone Tanshin and Hanabi, even Naruto couldn't help subconsciously looking in the direction of his room. Even if he can't see what's going on inside now, he can still imagine that Ino's face should be familiar by now. Also, that, Naruto-kun, I don't know if I should talk about this. What's the matter? Tell me. Is there anything else I can't tell you? No, it's just, I think the way Hanabi looks at you recently may be a bit different, as if she cares about the girls around you very much, but I don't think she's purely worried about me. She seems to care more. Naruto-kun, you are here. You mean, if possible, Naruto-kun, that if you plan to take Hanabi into consideration, can you wait a few years later? Too early contact, it seems not good. Touch the head. What are you talking about, sister? Hanabi, Miss Tanshin and Ino-chan? Sorry. After staring at each other for about 3 seconds with the three flushed girls, Hinata's already flushed face was instantly like a boiled kettle, with countless hot water steam, and after apologizing, he left Naruto's house at a very fast speed. Chapter 62, A Big Little Ghost. Come, Mr. Naruto, try the new catch level 5 rainbow balls Well, the taste is still good, but didn't it mean to capture the level 30 rainbow fruit? Why did it suddenly turn into a ball? After taking a bite of the bunch of meatballs in his hand, feeling the deliciousness in his mouth, Naruto couldn't help but nodded. Each of the 7 colors of meatballs has a different taste, but they are not mutually exclusive, but can be blended together very well. It seems that he did follow the recipe he gave Tilda. It's just that, at the beginning, he was going to ask them to make jelly. Why did it turn into balls? Sorry, Mr. Naruto, the main reason is that the production cycle of jelly is too long, and the price is relatively expensive. I really can't wait, so I can only make meatballs temporarily, but the current evaluation is still relatively good. The quantity can also be well supplied. Sorry, it doesn't matter, as long as the taste is good and the evaluation is good. You go to work first. I will give 10 points. Well, thank you very much. After hearing Naruto's words, the slightly fat middle-aged man in the chef's uniform immediately smiled again, then walked away with a smile. A middle-aged man, facing a child who is only 12 years old, has such an attitude, which makes people feel a little helpless and feels the bitterness of adult life. Presumably, this boy is the kind of rich second who likes to enjoy and give advice. Generation it. But in fact, this is not the case, because he is actually very happy to be taught by this child. This child often teaches him how to cook. Those seemingly complicated recipes are all thought up by himself. It is more than a genius to describe it. Originally, he was just a chef with pretty good cooking skills in Konoha, but now, his salary has doubled, and he is currently the most famous chef in Konoha, and this rating is also very important. Not everyone has it. Qualification evaluation. Presumably the bonus at the end of this month must be quite good. Maruko, you should be able to wait. Naturally, Naruto ignored the happy chef, but continued to pick up the string of 4D in front of him, but he just looked at it and didn't eat it. Today is the time for the Chunin exam, and about 3 hours have passed, and it is lunchtime. He is not a ninja himself, so naturally he will not take the so-called Chunin exam, and he can't take it unless he is bored and wants to hang out. Of course, he is not so boring. It's just that what happened yesterday is still a bit depressing. At that time, Hinata ran away shyly, Hanabi also left immediately, and Tanshin and No also found a reason to leave after a while. Tanshin didn't bother to find the business reason mentioned before. Now they have all gone to take the exam, and Hanabi also stayed at Hyuga's house and did not come out. In the current situation, Naruto will find it embarrassing. Let's talk about it after a while. In fact, he was quite surprised that Hinata said such a thing yesterday. He did ask Hinata a few times before. After all, this kind of thing, the average girl would mind very much. When Hinata heard it for the first time, she was also dumbfounded and thought for a long time in silence. However, she wasn't angry, but was not thinking about herself, but thinking about whether she would hurt other girls. So, to be able to attract such a gentle girl to be a wife is really a blessing that has been cultivated in countless lifetimes. But he came here for another reason besides not being in the mood to cook by himself and wanting to have a meal. Want to try fishing to see. Although he said that he was not absolutely sure, but he felt that such a good opportunity, that person should not miss it. Hooked. Naruto, who was still waiting, suddenly showed a smile, and the next moment, a figure suddenly appeared beside him, hooked Naruto's right shoulder with his right hand, and leaned against the right side. I ordered so many skewers, you don't mind treating me to a meal? I was supposed to invite you to eat, so sit down. Then thank you, he answered Naruto with a smile. The figure turned sideways nimbly and sat next to Naruto. Then he put his right leg wearing black silk grid stockings on the left leg, raised his legs, and held Naruto in his hand. A string of meatballs on the table was stuffed into his mouth, looking very comfortable. Yet really deserves to be a work directed by you. The taste is really good. Okay, I've eaten all the food. So let's talk about the situation of this exam. Miss Anko. I said why did you invite me so kindly? So you came prepared, you kid. You are still the same as before. Chapter 63. The world's fault. The newly appeared woman complained to Naruto angrily, then shook the toothpick that had already eaten the meatballs in her hand, and threw it into the trash can beside her. It was very accurate and hit to hit. The woman is about 23 or 24 years old. She has short purple hedgehog hair similar to Naruto. She is wearing a black mesh protective clothing in front of her body, and the same type of safety pants on her lower body. She is wearing an orange skirt and her upper body as she was wearing a windbreaker, looking quite chic, just like her appearance, heroic. However, what didn't match her somewhat baby-faced face was that her figure was quite good, especially in a certain place, which was really too nutritious. You can't say that. Didn't I treat you to delicious food all the time? Finally, when I need your help, Miss Anko, it shouldn't be a problem to tell me. Naruto smiled and chatted with the woman, as if chatting with an old friend. After a little thought, the woman named Anko picked up a bunch of meatballs and started eating. Anyway, the group of the same class as you have passed, and the 3 of the freshmen have also passed. Are you satisfied? Satisfied. What do you want to eat? No matter how much, I will treat you to eat, so you are also satisfied. You're always so shrewd, kid. Well, I'll make an exception and tell you some gossip. They're going to the Death Forest, and they're going to stay there for 3 days, so you just stay outside for a few days. Just wait. Anko is obviously in a good mood. Maybe the temptation to eat casually is too great. She even directly disclosed this inside information to Naruto, who is not a ninja. But in fact, this kind of thing doesn't matter. She and Naruto have known each other for a long time, so there is no need to care about such trivial matters. Besides, although she is the examiner of this exam, she actually has nothing to do. The content of the exam has already been announced. Those examinees have already entered, and generally nothing will happen, so it is actually very leisurely now. Of course, you still have to go back after eating. After all, the examiner is responsible for any accidents. Well, I actually knew this a long time ago, but I just don't know if any accidents happen to them. I don't even know where you got so much information. Where did you get the inside information? Hearing what Naruto said, Anko couldn't help asking, a little depressed. But she also knows that she asked this question in vain, because, who knows, maybe it's the world's fault. I'm starting to say such inexplicable stupid things again. This is the Zong-er disease mentioned in your cartoons, isn't it? She also often reads his comics, especially the various suites in The Captive of Me, which she likes very much. She has known Naruto for about a year. At the beginning, she was sent to monitor Naruto. Although her character is not suitable for monitoring, her ability is actually good. It would be good to put a few small snakes in the corner of his house to eavesdrop. Anyway, the breath of snakes is very imperceptible, and it lasts for a long time. But the problem is, after a full week of monitoring, she only found that Naruto was painting, eating, and sleeping all day long, not to mention any rebellious behavior, but rather, she was impressed by Naruto's professionalism. I'm ashamed. Pretty young lady, since you've been staring at me for so long, let's come out and have something to eat together. It's just that he didn't expect that he had discovered it long ago, and he said it when she was watching nearby. And since she said that, she decided to go in and meet this brat for a while. Unexpectedly, after that, she became obsessed with his superb cooking skills and was completely unable to extricate herself. For a long time, she would go to Xianglin, that is, they all had their own arrangements during this period, so it's just that we didn't meet each other. Now, this mission has already been cancelled. After all, she herself knew very well that with her strength, she would have been unable to monitor Naruto for a long time. Maybe it is, but is it really good for you to come out like this? Aren't you invigilating the exam? I'm so bored. I thought I could make a handsome appearance, but it turned out to be completely cold, and there is no one who knows how to appreciate it. But I still have to go back to stand guard later, although I think this should be nothing to do. Anko pursed her lips in displeasure. Obviously this task made her feel a little bored. That is to say, her appearance and commentary at the beginning are a bit useful, but she is completely irrelevant in the middle, and she has no chance to show off, and it is still too boring. Examiner Mitarashi, something unexpected happened, please go back and have a look. But at this time, a somewhat impatient voice suddenly came from the side. Chapter 64 Uncle Snake warning. What's the matter? It's so impatient, it's too imageless. Looking at the panting man in front of him, Anko showed some dissatisfaction. She knew this person. He was one of the assistant examiners who took the Chunin exam together. He could be regarded as her subordinate. Why is he not stable at all? Anko is also relatively young and promising, as Konoha's special Jonin, and also has a special secret technique. It is a matter of time before becoming a Jonin in the future. There are only a few Jonins in the whole village, so it still has a little status. Now that her subordinates are in such a mess in front of a common person, it still makes her feel a little embarrassed. Can't you just speak calmly? Hold, I'm sorry, but the situation is really urgent now, and someone among the candidates has already been killed. Just die, isn't it normal? Anko said some inhumane words in dissatisfaction, without the slightest pity in his eyes. It seemed a bit too inhumane. But this is actually normal. This is an exam set in the forest of death. Life and death are always ignored. It has been a few hours since the exam started. Isn't it normal for dead people to die? It would be strange to say that one didn't die, and some of them had signed a consent form before going in, so they didn't blame others if they died. But when Naruto heard it, his eyes narrowed slightly. It's finally time. No, that's not the case. It's because the ninja was a little excited and wanted to defend himself, but he was still concerned about Naruto, so he hesitated to speak out. Obviously, it is impossible to tell Naruto, an unrelated person, about this kind of thing. Don't be a mother-in-law. If you have something to say, just say it. I know him very well, there will be no problem. But Anko was straightforward and let him continue, trusting Naruto unconditionally. Well, in fact, she just wanted to act tough in front of Naruto. She has a good relationship with Naruto, and she actually knows that Naruto is not a child of common at all. In terms of strength and power, he is actually much older than her, and there is actually not much difference between him and common's Jonin status. And she rarely has the chance to pretend in front of Naruto, even though Naruto is so small, but she always looks a little ignorant in front of Naruto. She needs to ask him a lot of things, so let Anko like this. The girl who shows off has always been a little uncomfortable. We found that other people got in among the candidates. Before the exam started, Jinin from Kiln village died, but someone still entered the forest of death under an imposter, and the method of killing was extremely cruel. After seeing Anko's attitude, the ninja didn't continue to insist, but released Shikai. Maybe this is allowed by the third generation project. Although Naruto is not a ninja, if there is a need to use him, he will want to let him know more information. Well, what then? If this is the case, it is indeed a bit dangerous. Casualties in the battle between candidates are unavoidable. But if such outsiders pretend to come in, It is a serious violation. When encountering this kind of guy, she really needs to be dispatched directly. The skin on the face was completely torn off. What? But when he heard this, Anko couldn't help shouting out excitedly. In her impression, there was only one person who could and would do such cruel and inhuman things. So please go back as soon as possible. Well, I see, Naruto, please talk about the treat next time. I have something urgent to do now, goodbye. After saying goodbye to Naruto in a hurry, Anko quickly disappeared in place immediately, and the other ninja did the same, leaving in a hurry, leaving only Naruto in place, continuing to slowly eat the food on the table. Maruko, as if nothing happened. Dash. Forbidden technique. Two snakes kill each other. What? When the figure in front of him turned into a puddle of mud, Anko couldn't help but widen his pupils, and then he could only bear the pain of being pinched by kunai in his hands, turned sideways, and stared at the figure in front of him. A man with a slender figure, but an extremely sinister face, with a strange smile on his face. Hateful. Why is the gap in strength not narrowed at all for so many years? Even if you are Konoha's special Jonin, you can't always use the forbidden technique I taught you. What is your purpose? My purpose is... Huh? The cold man was about to say his answer with a cold smile, but the moment he was about to say his name, his golden vertical pupils like snakes suddenly shrank, and then he disappeared in place immediately. It's a pity that I couldn't do it with one move. And at this time, a childish and lazy voice suddenly sounded next to Anko, making the cold man's face extremely ugly, and Anko couldn't help but open his mouth wide. Naruto. Chapter 65. Orochimaru, you are such a badass. Anko couldn't believe what he saw when he saw this familiar blonde boy next to her. But more importantly, what he has now. Fresh red blood dripped continuously from the cut, and the part that should have grown on the human body was now held in his hand. It's a hand. He actually cut off Orochimaru's arm? It's really surprising. I didn't expect Konoha to have such a hidden master. I really didn't expect ... Huh? You are ... So that's it. You are the JinchuRiki of Nine Tails. Orochimaru also looked at Naruto with a livid face at this time, with an unprecedented seriousness on his face. Later, he could see it and revealed Naruto's identity with a smile, but there was no smile in the corner of his eyes. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Naruto didn't think much about Orochimaru's vigilance. He just took off one of his hands, so it's strange not to stare at him. In fact, Naruto didn't feel any dislike towards him, rather, he admired him quite a bit. After all, there is no blood succession limit, and it's really amazing that he reached the last level with pure talent and persistent research. And although in the previous animations, it seems that this person is so hideous, but for Naruto, he is actually just a scientist who is more persistent in pursuing technological power. After strength, his own pursuit of strength is actually not so persistent, so in the final analysis, he just wants more time to do research, a pure science madman. However, his existence will be a bit of a hindrance. With Orochimaru here, it is estimated that the war will still start. At that time, many people will be killed and injured, many houses will be destroyed, and how many people's homes will be destroyed? Naruto will feel distressed. Well, that's not true. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't care if he dies or not, so he can't blame him for not saving him. Can he? Can it still be said that he killed those people? Anyway, Naruto is completely indifferent to this kind of thing. It's just that he doesn't want to affect the sales of his comics. In the original book, the number of deaths in this war does not seem to be a lot, for the war, but the family is destroyed or something, and the heart will definitely become very heavy. In a short period of time, the sales of comics will definitely plummet. So instead of this, it's better for him to stop this war in advance. Naruto, you must be careful. He is Orochimaru, one of the Sennin, very strong. After seeing Naruto's casual answer, Anko couldn't help but worry, and reminded excitedly. She knew that Naruto was very strong, and she had fought against Naruto many times, and she was no match for him at all. At that time, she was still feeling that this kid was really a freak, and he was so powerful at such a young age. It's scary. It's just that she didn't expect that even Orochimaru was accidentally attacked by him and cut off a hand. It can be seen that Orochimaru's expression is very cautious. It is definitely not pretending, and it is absolutely impossible to be a clone. Facing one of the Sannin in Legendary, Naruto can do this. It is really unbelievable. But his old problem seems to be committed again. No matter who he faces, he seems to have a very casual look. He has never been seen to be nervous and serious. He is usually okay, but at this time, can't he be more serious? This man is Orochimaru. I know. The apprentice of the third generation is an S-rank rebel, right? Now that you know, can't you be more serious? In other words, does he not know the seriousness? Anko is very depressed. If she can't wait to replace Naruto directly. But unfortunately, it can't be done. She can't even move now, and her hands are tied to the tree. Be patient. It's not good to continue to leave it. It will be fine later. Directly pulled the kunai from Anko's hand forcibly, and when Anko pressed her hand, with pain on his face, Naruto directly ignored Anko's panic, and then hugged her by the waist. It's like a princess hug pose. Hey, what are you doing? Now is not the time to be handsome and romantic. But now, eh? This is? Question mark. Using my chakra can help you recover. It should be fine after a few minutes. Just wait like this, otherwise it will be difficult to fight. After listening to Naruto's words, and seeing Naruto and a layer of slightly hot gold chakra covering her body, and at the same time feeling that his pain is easing, and the speed of bleeding has obviously begun to slow down, Anko couldn't help hit shocked, amazed at what is happening now. Is this Ninetales chakra? Hee. It seems that you have found a good home, Anko. When did you become such an eighth wife? Chapter 66. Are you teaching me how to do things? So that's it. Is this a special way of using Ninetales chakra? I thought it would only have negative power, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Squinting his eyes slightly, Orochimaru couldn't help but let out a sigh of emotion when he saw Naruto holding Anko in his golden body. He is well informed, but he really didn't expect that at Naruto's age, he could perfectly manipulate the power of Ninetales. You know, the power of Ninetales is so violent and full of hostility. But now the one used is completely different. Chakra UI didn't hurt JinchuRiki's body, but protected him perfectly, and could pass it on to the people he came into contact with. Chakra has obviously strengthened a lot. Recovering the power has also been significantly improved, which is really incredible power. It seems that Minato's talent and Kushina's constitution are perfectly presented in him. I really want to get him. Thinking of this, Orochimaru couldn't help sticking out his letter-like tongue, and excitedly licked around his lips, staring at Naruto's eyes, as vicious as a snake. Although Mr. Sasuke is very good, he is determined to win Mangekyo Sharingan. But now this Ninetales JinchuRiki is indeed beyond his imagination. If it can be used as a backup, it is also a good thing. That organization has been staring at Ninetales. He has withdrawn now. The other party has not paid much attention to him for the time being. But if Ninetales is taken away, the entire organization may be dispatched to find him. He doesn't want it yet. Go to war with that organization. There is no difference between positive and negative power. It just depends on how it is used. That's right. There is no difference in power. I didn't expect Naruto-kun to think so. He really doesn't look like someone from Konoha. Are you interested in coming to my place and cooperating with me? Hearing what Naruto said, Orochimaru became even more excited, and there was more appreciation in the eyes of Naruto. People in Konoha usually have that kind of pedantic and meaningless benevolence and morality. He just so doesn't like this kind of thing, so he chooses to leave Mui. However, at such a young age, Naruto can see so clearly. It is really excellent. Sure enough, he really didn't want to waste his talent by staying in this kind of place. What? Naruto, don't let him fool you. He just wants to use your power. Hearing what Orochimaru said, Anko, who was being held by Naruto, immediately began to sing a different tune. As one of Orochimaru's followers, she knows best how good Orochimaru is at demagoguery. There may not be many words, but it can use the simplest languages to produce the best effect, directly shocking the deepest thoughts in people's hearts. She knew that Naruto didn't like being a ninja, and his previous experience didn't seem to be very good, so he might not have a good impression of Konoha in his heart. Orochimaru's words might really move him. If Naruto really listened to him, sided with Orochimaru, and even made an enemy of Konoha, it would be over. I know, I didn't intend to hang out with him, and it's no good. That's good. Fortunately, Naruto's words at this time also made her relax, but she still gave Naruto a blank look. The result is still because of the problem of benefits. What benefits does Naruto-kun want? I just want to sell more of my comics. I'm doing well now. If I leave with you, my reputation will be ruined. What's the point? X2. Even Orochimaru had never heard such direct words. And, is it just for money? Orochimaru felt that it didn't make sense to pay attention to such things. I can teach you some forbidden technique, and I can show you how to see your dead parents. Well, Naruto won't be bewitched. Are you teaching me how to do things? But different from what they imagined, Naruto just said something indifferently, and his eyes suddenly froze, from the original pair of clear blue eyes to gold's vertical pupils. But unlike Orochimaru's snake pupils, Naruto's pupils look more like beasts. He's not a ninja, but he's not Konoha's enemy either. He's living a good life now, so he'll be a traitor with him? It seems that we can't reach an agreement, so let's give it a try. After saying that, Orochimaru stretched out his right hand towards Naruto's side, and then his body suddenly turned into countless pythons, which began to flock to Naruto's side. With only one hand left, he can't use ninjutsu as freely as before, but it doesn't mean that he has no fighting power at all. Naruto, put me down quickly. Fight by yourself. Naruto's combat power is beyond her imagination, but holding her, she can't fully display her strength. Relax, little meaning. But Naruto didn't care. Facing the tide-like sea of snakes, he still hugged Anko quietly, as if he was waiting to die. But at the next moment, Anko suddenly felt that the line of sight in front of her began to rise, and when she realized it, she was already in the midair of about 6 or 7 meters. What surprised her even more was that all those seas of snakes were blocked by a fox formed by a giant chakra! Chapter 67 Rubbing a Ball. This is a complete tailed beast. Looking at the huge orange fox in front of him, Orochimaru, who was hiding behind a rock not far away, couldn't help but frowned, his eyes very serious. Being experienced, he naturally knew what it was. For JinchuRiki, tailed beast transformation is the best way to improve combat effectiveness. It can maximize the strength of tailed beast chakra, so it is a compulsory course for JinchuRiki. As long as it is a mature JinchuRiki, it can show tailed beast transformation. But Naruto's current situation is completely transformed into a tailed beast, and his combat power is infinitely close to the main body, that is to say, he is now almost the same as Nine Tails. Of course, there is still a big difference in size, and I don't know if they can only grow so big, or Naruto deliberately suppressed them. But obviously, the current group of snakes have nothing to do with Naruto. As soon as the huge fox grabbed it, 5 or 6 boa constrictors were torn into several pieces. With a flick of their tails, several boa constrictors were thrown out of the sky, and then smashed to the ground, smashed to death. However, relying on the number of snakes, they gradually surrounded him, and at the same time, they rushed to bite him from all directions, trying to cover the whole fox. But it's a pity that not long after they were bitten, those snakes were either thrown away or burned to death. The chakra of Nine Tails is not so easy to swallow. It is just some small snakes. After swallowing the chakra of Nine Tails, I thought it could transform into a dragon. Okay, that's amazing. Anko couldn't help being dumbfounded at this moment. He even forgot the pain in his hand, and just lay in Naruto's hand dumbfoundedly watching all this. This terrifying sea of snakes was completely unable to cause any harm to the fox outside them. Occasionally, 1 or 2 of them had a stronger impact and gnawed the fox's skin a little bit, but it returned to its original state after a short while! That is, until his chakra is depleted. He can't take any damage. It's a bit of a surprise that I didn't run directly, so let's keep trying. Sister Anko, I'm a little bit mentally prepared. You said. Wow. Anko hadn't realized what Naruto was saying, but soon she lost the mood to continue asking, because the sight in front of her eyes had started to change rapidly again, and by the time she realized it, the scenery in front of her had turned into a distant view. The mountain range, and then, it fell rapidly again. God. He actually manipulated the fox to jump up. For ninjas, it is not the first time to play this kind of jump, but even Anko likes to play. It is the first time he has experienced such a violent speed, jumping 20 to 30 meters high. Then he suddenly grabbed it towards the distance, and couldn't see anything clearly in front of his eyes. But then, she saw it clearly because of Orochimaru's figure. He was standing not far away. Naruto's fox grabbed Orochimaru's direction fiercely with a sharp claw in midair. It is conceivable that with his strength and speed, even if Orochimaru's vitality is strong enough, he must be directly caught into a meat paste. Summoning technique. Of course, Orochimaru is not blind. Although Naruto's movements are fast, Orochimaru's movements are also fast enough. He jumped on the rock in advance, dodged it, and then took out his scroll from his pocket with his remaining right hand, flicked sideways in the air, bit his finger at the same time, and then pressed on the scroll in the air. A huge purple python appeared under Orochimaru and moved quickly with him on its back. Tsk, Orochimaru, it's rare to see you in such a mess, being chased and killed by that kind of brat. A rough voice came out of the giant snake's mouth, with a little ridicule. That's JinchuRiki from Nine Tails. All in all, let's leave quickly this time. One snake, this kid is not easy to mess with. But this time, Orochimaru didn't have time to say anything to it, but wanted to escape as soon as possible. Now that his strength has been greatly reduced, Naruto alone is very difficult to deal with. If there are really a few more jonins, he will really have to confess here. Hey, Laozi just doesn't believe it. But what annoyed him was that instead of following his order directly, the snake rushed back in the opposite direction, as if to play with Naruto. Damn it. If I knew it shouldn't be stored in it, this guy is really unreliable. Orochimaru himself was having a hard time. Although one snake is strong, his temper is really bad. He will often act like he doesn't listen to him. He usually makes him fight, and he has to prepare a generous sacrifice, otherwise he will be kicked. Oh, snakes don't kick. Letting it run away now is not in line with its temperament, so it started planning to disobey his orders. Forget it. Anyway, it has rough skin and thick flesh, so it's okay to suffer a few more times. Take this opportunity to observe Naruto's more. Damn it, this size should be fine. Looking at the huge monster in the distance ahead, Naruto was not nervous or afraid, nor did he look at Anko next to him, who opened his mouth wide again, but put his hands straight in front of him. Not far in front of the mouth, a black energy ball mixed with red-blue chakra is rapidly condensing and compressing. Chapter 68 Tailed Beast Bomb. Damn Orochimaru, you didn't say that this brat can do tailed beast bombs. I don't know either. But I told you to leave quickly just now. This brat's strength is unfathomable. My hand was just attacked by him just now. TSK. After hearing Orochimaru's words above his head, one snake couldn't help but click his tongue, and his body moved faster under him. With its body shape, it is as easy as walking on flat ground in this kind of forest. Wherever it passes, not a single blade of grass grows. Fire-style Great Fireball Technique. Earth-style Middle-Earth Flow River. Water-style Middle-Water Waves. Lightning-style Walk. Wind-style Wind Cut. But at this time, all kinds of ninjutsu around him began to pop up. Most of them are weak and low-level ninjutsu, but the victory lies in the number, and try to delay the time as much as possible, which has a very large impact on one snake's actions. The size of Wunsch is very large. Even if it is placed in this dense forest, it is very conspicuous. In addition to the movement of Naruto before, naturally the people in Konoha have already been alarmed. Or, in fact, they might have been waiting for it. Once they found his figure, they might think of coming to surround and kill him. But these things are easy to talk about. The real troubles. It's that brat over there. Seeing the fox figure getting farther and further away, Orochimaru's heart did not relax, but became more and more dignified. Because the tailed beast bomb he made is still being maintained and is becoming more and more stable. It's really hard to dodge at this distance. Naruto, are you really okay with this move? Of course, Orochimaru can see these things. But Anko next to Naruto can't see them. Naruto is concentrating on making the tailed beast bomb, so she is already standing on her own, and she is standing in place now, very stable, so don't worry about losing her footing. She doesn't know tailed beast bomb, let alone tailed beast bomb. She can only feel the extreme danger of this chakra ball. If it is launched, it must be very terrifying, but could it suddenly fail and explode? You can't blame her for worrying about it. If this state explodes, she must be dead. Don't worry, although it's the first time I use it, I don't think there will be any problems. What? First time use, or feel? Exclamation mark. What are you messing with? But at this time, it was too late, because the condensing speed of the chakra ball suddenly increased several times, and the ball suddenly became several times smaller, turning into an extremely small sphere. Hold my body tightly, be careful not to be blown away, say it sooner. Hearing that Naruto said such words at this time, Anko couldn't help complaining, but also bent down slightly in time, hugged Naruto with both hands, and subconsciously stepped back a little, because she found that somewhere in front of her body was closely attached to Naruto's back, causing her body to deform. Of course she didn't want to be like this. Anyway, she is also a woman, and Naruto is also a man. At the beginning, I thought he was a child, so I didn't take it too seriously. But now, Anko always feels that he can no longer be treated as a child. Cut. Forget it, now is not the time to think about such things. Thinking of this, Anko gritted his teeth, then pushed his body forward forcefully, his hands gripped even tighter. The bleeding has stopped long ago, and the wound has healed. Although it still hurts a little bit, she can't care about it now. She doesn't want to be thrown out at this time. Who knows how many snakes are there outside? This guy, don't say that he said that on purpose because he wanted to take advantage of her or play tricks on her. If that's the case, she won't let her go. Boom 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 boom. Hiss. Well, it seems that it is not a lie. It is better to say that what he said is a bit conservative. The strong recoil pushed her into the air. If she hadn't hugged Naruto silently, she would really fly out. But even so, she didn't care about her own situation at this time, but focused all her attention on the front. The giant snake in the distance has now been hit head-on by a chakra bullet. The speed of the chakra ball was much faster than she imagined, and it was launched in an instant. The speed of the giant python was indeed very fast, and it had already fled far away. Originally, Anko thought that Naruto had given up, but what I didn't expect was that in just about 3 seconds, the chakra bomb had already rushed over there, and then an extremely terrifying explosion occurred. One snake's body was blown into countless pieces in an instant, and the flesh pieces of different sizes were splashed everywhere, bloody and bloody. Tsk, you run fast, forget it, I probably won't show up for the time being. But Naruto couldn't help clicking his tongue at this time, showing a hint of dissatisfaction. Although the extremely comfortable touch from behind still comforted his heart a little. Chapter 69. It's very comfortable to hold tilde. Eh? Did you run away? Isn't it dead? Looking at the scene of the terrorist explosion in the distance, and the piece of meat that can still be seen even in this place, Anko couldn't help feeling a little complicated. When she first saw Orochimaru being bombed, she still felt a little sad in her heart for the first time. After all, she was the mentor who taught her, this orphan who had nothing. It is impossible to say that she has no idea at all. Of course, if she was given a chance to choose, she would definitely choose to kill him. Konoha is her home. But when she heard Naruto say this, she couldn't help being surprised. Is this not dead? That snake was blown to pieces. Escaped. One snake abandoned the back half of his body, and went underground, and now he is probably about to escape from Konoha. After hearing Naruto's words, Anko looked at the distance tangled, and at this moment, the smoke finally began to clear, revealing the scene over there. In fact, as he said, the body of the giant snake is torn apart, but it is obviously not as long as before, and it only has the body part. Saw some traces. Of course, there is no Konoha shinobi, although there were about a dozen ninjas surrounding once just now. They obviously saw Naruto's situation, so they retreated in time. A huge crater with a radius of more than 20 meters appeared in the place where Wunsch was. It should be thanks to Wunsch's quick reaction. When he was about to be hit, he hurriedly twisted the front half of his body, otherwise if it was true, it would have been instantly killed. Of course, Naruto has limited strength, otherwise, with his current chakra, not to mention Orochimaru, one snake should be directly given by him. But if that's the case, those Konoha shinobi people watching nearby may also be involved, so think about it or forget it. The main reason is that he has not used Tailed Beast Bomb much before, and it is the first time he has really used Tailed Beast Bomb, and the strength is not easy to control. Fortunately, when he is using the power of 9 tails, he will not be affected by 9 tails at all, but can easily absorb a lot of chakra. The current him is probably when he obtained the 9 tails, golden body, mode to some extent, but it may be more difficult to deal with, because the words of spinning and spinning are not pure speed, but a little bit of virtual power of space, which is more confusing. Spinning can avoid the detection of nerves, and when it is used, there will be subtle noises in place. When facing Orochimaru before, he also relied on the bewildering nature of the spinning ring. At the moment of using it, Orochimaru's ears heard the sound, and the snake's ears were originally extremely sensitive, so Orochimaru's attention in an instant. Everyone was attracted to him, but he didn't know that Naruto was already by his side. Of course, the main reason is that Orochimaru himself did not expect that such an existence as Naruto would suddenly appear. Although he can't fight head-on, if he pays attention, he shouldn't be able to say that Naruto will take one in a single face-to-face. Hands. Alas, what a pity. He originally wanted to say, just kill Orochimaru and forget it. He doesn't care about he's going to change his ways in the future or without him. There will be a lot of exciting plots missing. Those who care about his business and affect his profit and sales, just solve it. Then will he come back? Don't worry, it won't happen in a short time. With his ability, it's not a problem to heal his hands well, but he shouldn't be able to recover to his heyday in a short time, and he won't come to die. You kid. You have a really big tone. People who don't know will think you are bragging. How dare you comment on Sanin in legendary like this? After Anko pondered for a while, he also started to smile, and poked Naruto's cheek with his fingers playfully. This kid tilde. Is it so strong already tilde? Say it sooner. Anyway, don't you already know? Didn't I just see that now? If I had said earlier, I would have brought you here with me, and I even tied my own hand. If I had known that he was so strong, I would have just dragged him over to fight, and it would have caused her to die of pain. You did it yourself. But I'm still very happy. Are you happy to see me in pain? That's not true. It's just that if you weren't injured, I wouldn't be able to hold you. Sister Anko, your figure is still very good. It's very comfortable to hold you. Hey, you stinky little. Hiss. After hearing the bad words, Anko couldn't help but blushed from anger, and just wanted to have an attack, but at this moment, she couldn't help but her pupils shrank, and then squatted directly on the ground, using her hands holding down his neck. Press the seal of black that has started to spread. Chapter 70. Just touch it. It's very comfortable. The seal of Orochimaru. It's quite troublesome. After seeing this scene, Naruto also frowned slightly, then squatted down, and put his hand on Anko's neck. Well, you really know everything, even this one. Anko, who was still in extreme pain when she felt Naruto's warm fingers on her neck, also felt that the pain seemed a little lighter. But there was a little more subtle feeling, which caused the body to tremble slightly, but in the end, he forced a wry smile and said this sentence as calmly as possible. The side effects of the Heaven's Curse seal on her body are too strong, and even now, it is still completely uncontrollable. Although it is true that the strength is strong, once the attack occurs, the body will not be able to hold on, and it will lose control. But don't worry, I'll be able to control it later. Just wait for me next to me. If it was someone else, she might choose to keep him away from her. After all, it is easy to hurt others when he loses control. But she also saw Naruto's strength just now, so it wouldn't hurt him. Don't wait, I'll help you directly. Hey, what do you want to do? After feeling Naruto's movements, Anko, who was still feeling severe pain on his body, couldn't help shouting at him at this moment, and even forgot most of the pain on his body at this time, completely distracted. Coming. There's no way. After all, as a girl, she was suddenly embraced by a member of the opposite sex. Of course she instinctively wanted to resist. Naruto stood directly behind her at this time, hugging her without any concealment, holding her tightly in the same posture as she hugged Naruto just now, and put his right hand on the mark on her neck. But the part where the left hand is placed has already been pasted to an obvious place, and it has even been squeezed a little deformed. Hateful. This bastard. Do you want to take advantage of it now? Or is this method used to divert her attention? But can't there be a better way, eh? But when thinking of this, Anko suddenly felt that her body seemed to be heating up, just like before. When she came back to her senses, she found that she still had Naruto's body, which had already appeared like before. A gold chakra coat. The temperature of the body is higher than before, even a little hot and a little painful. But because of this, the pain extended from the curse mark was reduced a lot, and she felt that the curse mark that had spread all over her body began to slowly recede back to her neck. After about a minute left and right, all the curse seals actually retreated back and returned to their original appearance. But at this time, Anko was already completely weak, not to mention his face. Even his whole body was covered with red, and his whole body was covered in sweat. It was so serious that it kept ticking and fell to the ground. I fell down. Of course, at this time, Naruto's movements have always been very fast. He was still holding his hand, but with a little force, he held it firmly. But there is a little accident happened here. As I said before, because Naruto has had enough nutrition in the past 2 years, he has grown relatively fast, which is almost the same as Neji at this time, but in fact, it is exactly about 1.6 meters. For a 12-year-old, this height is enough. But Anko's height is 167, which is not short among women, and is half a head taller than the current Naruto. The left hand, which was originally lying a little below the chest, went straight up because of Anko's stagger, and happened to meet. Well, are you feeling better? Of course, what Naruto cares about now is Anko's physical condition, and he won't worry about anything else. It's better, but your hand. Accidentally, I was in a hurry to protect you, don't you mind? You don't need to be so fake to make excuses, and since this is the case, it's time to move your hands away, put them completely in the center, and just squeeze twice. 3 times, and squeezed again, wanting to take advantage of this. It's an opportunity to touch more, right? Countless complaints poured out of Anko's heart. If it was normal, she would have already started fighting directly. But it's a pity that she doesn't have any strength in her body now, and she is exhausted to death. This guy, why is he so proficient? He must have used this method to deal with many girls before. It is annoying to see. Forget it, just touch it. Anyway, it's quite comfortable. Examiner Mitarashi, are you okay? Do you want to continue chasing? Hi, excuse me, XN. Hey, come back to me. Chapter 71, Go back to my hometown. It seems that there was a misunderstanding. You are still gloating. If it weren't for you, how could I have encountered such an embarrassing thing? And what are you still touching? Get your hands away. Oh, I see. Although she enjoyed the delicate touch in her hand, since she said so, let it go. Naruto responded, then let go of his hands, and picked Anko up again, put him under a tree beside him, and sat on the ground like this, letting Anko lean into his arms, without open. Don't complain for now. I haven't completely suppressed it yet, and I can't completely eliminate it now. I can only suppress it. Well, I don't know if I should be angry with you or not. Hearing Naruto's voice, which sounded like he was deliberately teasing at this time, Anko's face changed several times, but after struggling for a while, he still let out a sigh of relief. After all, Naruto's current golden body chakra mode is indeed not off yet. Although her body is not as warm as before, it is still a little warm. Haha, then don't be angry. Girls don't get angry all the time, they get old easily. Of course, a young and beautiful girl like Miss Anko is beautiful even when she is angry. You brat, your little mouth is really sweeter than I imagined. How many girls have you said this to before? Anko glared at Naruto angrily, and his voice was full of resentment. If someone didn't know, they might think she was jealous. Of course, she was just plain annoyed. Let me think about it. Hinata, Hanabi, Ino, Tenten, Terumi. Enough. Count yourself slowly. Seeing that Naruto actually started counting on his fingers one by one, Anko couldn't help but feel even more annoyed, and yelled into his ear angrily, then glanced at his face on the side. The expression looks a little scary. And Naruto is still looking at Anko with a smile at this time. His eyes are full of joy, as if he is looking at his jealous little girlfriend. Of course, his hands still continued to hug, and they are all placed on Anko's waist, feeling her slender waist. But he himself didn't mean that he was really just eating tofu, but that he really needed help like this. This method of treatment was found out for him by the system, saying that his chakra has a strong life force, while Nine-Tails chakra has a harmonizing effect. Whether it is the negative emotions that once caused others to be anxious, fearful, or angry, or the later positive emotions of protection and warmth, it all depends on Nine-Tails' own mood, which is derived from its ability to reconcile. But now, it is not it that decides, but Naruto himself. The system is still very powerful. From the beginning, it unified the mixed forces in his body. The negative power of Nine-Tails never affected him from the beginning to the end, and was always suppressed by him. Maybe Minato and Kushina's chakra helped, but he disappeared before seeing Naruto, which may be a bit contrary to the original intention, but he himself is not the original Naruto after all, so it's better not to disappear. He will replace the original Naruto. Live well. Also, there might be a chakra about Ashura too. Of course, Not all of them. If it is really possible to awaken all of Ashura's power at once, then he doesn't need to worry about this and that, and just go and kill Akatsuki immediately. Let's talk about it first. But it's a pity that the Ashura's power he now possesses is only about 1% of the original one. Of course, it doesn't mean that his current power is only 1% of Ashura's, but that he can only unlock 1% of that power at the moment. Fortunately, even so, he can completely suppress Ninetales in his current state. Now that I think about it, life seems to be pretty good. Enjoying the sunshine, feeling the breath of nature, hugging the plump beauty with ease, spending this wonderful time. If it can go on like this, it seems to be a very comfortable thing. Laugh. Why don't you laugh? You're very happy, aren't you? Of course. His smile was ironic to the young lady in his arms, which made her very upset. Seeing that Naruto was still smiling, Anko was naturally furious, but when he wanted to do something, he found that he had nothing to do with him. He couldn't beat her again and again, and it seemed that he shouldn't fight logically. After all, he was really helping her on a surface. Okay, after a while, I'll go back to my hometown to have a look, and I don't have a chance to learn the sealing technique, so I can help you completely remove the curse seal. Huh? Your hometown? Isn't he from Konoha? Chapter 72, The Red-Haired Girl. I'm from the Uzumaki clan. My hometown is Uzumaki country, Uzumaki village. It's a small country. It has had a good relationship with Konoha since ancient times. Look at the uniforms of the forage protector and the ninja. There is Uzumaki's imprint on it. Well, this is a sign of friendship. That's it. No wonder I always feel that this symbol seems a bit strange. It really looks like Uzumaki. After hearing Naruto's words, Anko reacted as if he suddenly realized. She also remembered that she was confused before, why there was such a leaf and half Uzumaki mark on Konoha's forage protector logo, and Zongjonin's uniform also had a complete red Uzumaki mark, but after getting used to it, she didn't care about it anymore, and now that Naruto said it, she thought of it. However, this village has long since perished in the war, and the Uzumaki clan has also disappeared and hid in other places, or they have already died. Didn't you make friends with Konoha? How did it become like this? But Anko found something wrong at this time. Since they are friends with Konoha, why would anyone dare to provoke them? What kind of charitable organization do you think Konoha is? The Uzumaki country is an island country. The place is very small and there are not many people, but the people in Uashio village are born with strong chakra and vitality, and are good at the various things. It was a kind of sealing technique, so it was feared by various small countries around it, and was finally destroyed. Then it's also because of this reason that Anko also suddenly realized, and muttered to himself, but when he realized it, he still apologized. That's why he was regarded as Ninetales JinchuRiki. It's good to understand this kind of thing, and you shouldn't say it. No wonder Naruto is so old, and his heart is so old. I heard that his performance was stupid in the past. Now it seems that he is just pretending. Maybe it is to behave mediocre, maybe it is to relax himself. But now this him, perhaps, is the most relaxed. It's okay, I didn't feel anything at first. I heard that the people in Uzumaki village all have red hair, but I myself have gold hair, so I'm not a pure Uzumaki clan. Okay, it should be already. It's almost time to get up, Naruto said, smiled and hugged Anko's upper body, and then slowly let go of her body. Well, thank you very much. Treat you to dinner next time. Anko didn't show any hypocrisy at this time, but showed a hearty smile, and then patted Naruto's shoulder. The past cannot be changed, and there is no need to change. The important thing is the present and the future. There's no need for the next time. Why don't you just go now? The woman said that next time. I don't know how long it will take. It's a rare opportunity to date a beautiful woman, so I have to strike while the iron is hot. PFFT. Your mouth is really sweet. No wonder so many girls are attracted by you. But don't you already have the little girlfriend of the Hyuga clan? Show me how you like, but it will make her jealous. Anko laughed and poked Naruto's cheek with his finger. The expression on his face was as sly as a cat's, showing a look of joy. Originally, she was not the kind of woman who was easily shy. It was because Naruto's behavior was too excessive before, which caused her embarrassment. But now that I think about it, I don't need to care about such things. Anyway, I'm not interested in this either, and it's not that I really want to find a man. It's actually quite good to live alone. But she remembered that Naruto had a young girlfriend, who was also the daughter of the Hyuga clan, and he had a very close relationship with the Hyuga clan. If Hyuga found out about his hard work, wouldn't it be a slap in the face for them? You know, Hyuga is famous for being rigid and stubborn. Well, I told Hinata about this kind of thing a long time ago, and she actually encouraged me to treat the girl I like well. Hey, you don't cherish such a good girl. I cherish her very much. She is my treasure. Of course I will love her well. Then you still, X2. But when the two were arguing, a screaming voice suddenly came from a distance, and both of them couldn't help looking over. About 300 meters away, a young girl was sitting on the ground, looking at a giant bear staring at her in horror, full of fear. It seems that the movement of Orochimaru just now made the animals in the forest active, but this is probably part of the exam, so don't worry about it. Anko spoke silently towards Naruto. It may be a little difficult to defeat the bear, but if you don't even have the strength to escape from the bear's hand, let alone a Chunin exam, even being a genin is a little bit reluctant. Survival of the fittest is an inevitable rule in the ninja world. Huh? Naruto, what's wrong with you? But at this time, Anko noticed that Naruto's eyes were staring at that side, and the eyes were quite dignified. It's nothing. I just feel that fate is really a coincidence. Naruto, what are you talking about? Huh? Anko was still confused, but at this moment, Naruto's figure suddenly disappeared. When he appeared the next moment, he appeared directly in front of the red-haired girl, and then kicked the bear flying out, and fainted right there. What is he doing? Hero to save beauty! Are you okay? No, it's okay. Thank you. You're welcome. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. What's your name? Huh? My name is Xianglin. Chapter 73 Naruto, take you home. Xianglin, that's a very nice name. Thank you. That, Uzumaki-kun. Just call me Naruto. Mr. Naruto, apostrophe. The red-haired girl Xianglin looked at the blonde boy with a bright sunny smile in front of her with some confusion, not knowing what she should do. She came to take the Chunin exam with her companions, but she said that her companions, in fact, saw her as a hindrance at the beginning, and she was abandoned without Sifu's mercy at all. Of course, she would not blame them. After all, she could only blame herself for not being strong enough, and being abandoned was justified. It has always been like this. She only has the ability to recover and perceive. She has always been a waste. Her mother is dead. She may not be able to live for a long time. The shocking explosion just now, as well as the giant python, were extremely terrifying. If it wasn't for the long distance, she almost fainted from fright. But at this time, the bear also appeared. For the ninjas of common, maybe this is nothing, but for her, it is already a powerful existence that cannot be dealt with. The only thing she can do is to sit slumped on the ground, waiting for it to slowly devour her. But at this time, a figure suddenly appeared, and kicked the giant bear away. And there is no movement yet. Maybe it's fainted. Maybe it's dead, but she didn't care anymore, because this smiling face entered her sight and heart. Such a warm smile. This was the first time she felt the warmth other than her parents who had passed away long ago. Why did he want to save her? During this period, all the thoughts in the girl's mind were such things. The incident happened so suddenly and the change was so great that she didn't know what happened at all. But the next thing surprised her even more, because this boy actually hugged her sideways, just like treating a princess in a fairy tale book. That Xianglin felt that her face was about to burn to death. Even she would still feel shy when the boy hugged him suddenly, but she could feel that this hug was very warm and gentle, as if it treated her like a little flower, gently protecting her. Hey, you're too quick to attack. Don't you see a cute girl and you're going to attack her? Examiner, teacher examiner. But at this time, an obviously dissatisfied female voice came from the side, which made Xianglin quickly come back to her senses, looked over nervously, and then discovered that the examiner of this exam was actually watching. It's uncomfortable to look at them when I get up. What happened? Say, love back girl? Hands on? This is a misunderstanding. Although she is young, Xianglin, who has experienced so many things, naturally knows what the teacher said. It seems to be teasing, and it seems to be jealous. Oh, this may be her misunderstanding. After all, how could the teacher be so jealous for no reason? That's not true, even though Xianglin is really cute. Woo, Naruto-kun, what is he talking about? Things got more and more complicated, and she didn't even know what happened. I've said it all. Anyway, it's still during the Chunin exam. Even if she really needs to be saved, I'm here to save her, otherwise, she will be disqualified from the competition. Then cancel it. After hearing this sentence, Xianglin was shocked, and Anko frowned slightly, and the dissatisfaction on his face became more intense. This guy is addicted to heroes, isn't he? This girl is indeed quite cute, and she has a delicate and pitiful temperament. As a teenager at a similar age, she can understand the idea of pretending to be a hero in front of her. But it's really bad to decide on other people's affairs without authorization. Besides, she is not from Konoha, but from Kiln village. Huh? Wait, Hidden Grass Village? Anko suddenly realized that the person Orochimaru pretended to be is also a member of Hidden Grass Village. Could it be that this little girl is under Orochimaru? It shouldn't be. It doesn't look like it. Orochimaru likes talented subordinates, not this kind of weak little girl, and he also sneaked in by directly killing that genin Kizanagi before. In other words, Kizakashi has nothing to do with Orochimaru. Have you forgotten what I told you before? People of the Uzumaki clan are born with a strong chakra and vitality, and there is a head of red hair. Red hair. You say she's from the Uzumaki clan? After hearing the conversation between the two, Xianglin, who was still in a daze, became even more dazed. She grew up with her parents in a small house since she was a child, and she also followed her father's surname, but she had never heard of the Uzumaki family. Could it be that the mother is from the Uzumaki clan? How do you know this? It can't just be because of her hair. Anko also looked at 897 Xianglin very tangled at this time. She looks like a very thin girl. She can't see the strong appearance of chakra and vitality at all. It's better to say that she has some negative yin and yang, and she looks like she is easy to get sick, so weak. She doesn't look like a ninja. Is this the Uzumaki clan? It's too different from Naruto. I can feel her chakra. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, this is bullshit. No one moved, and he didn't roll his eyes, so how could he know? But knowing the plot of the original work, of course he doesn't care about these things. Little girl. Do you know what he said? Eh? I don't know about this. I haven't heard of it. Then forget it. You'd better put her down. She's still taking the exam. This brat doesn't pay attention to the rules at all. What are you putting here? Let's go. I'll take you home to eat something good. Eh? Hey, you. Brat. Seeing that Naruto took Karen's body and disappeared in the same place in an instant, Anko finally couldn't help it, and shouted loudly. What are you kidding? 2. At least take her along. Chapter 74 Really Fragrant. Please subscribe. Okay, it's delicious. It's all delicious. Ahem. Cough cough. Don't be so excited. If you like, there are many more. Take your time. Looking at the red-haired girl in front of him desperately wanting to eat, even to the point of choking, Naruto couldn't help laughing, then reached out and patted her on the back gently. Well, thank you Naruto-kun. The red-haired girl who had finally calmed down was also a little red. She said a few words of thanks in a shy way, and then continued to work hard to eat the dishes in front of her. Naturally, this girl is also Karen. Not long before, she was forcibly taken out by Naruto and brought back to her home, which naturally declared that she had failed the Chunin exam. At the beginning, Xianglin was still very nervous. After all, she has always been told that the task should be the first priority. Now that she quits, it means that her teammates have also lost. If they find out, what should she do? If she was seen running away, she might even be wiped out. Don't worry about those boring things. You will be my family from now on. Your name is Uzumaki Xianglin. No one will hurt you anymore. However, when she heard Naruto say these words gently but firmly to her in her arms, she felt an unprecedented sense of peace in her heart. She doesn't know about the Uzumaki family, she has never heard of it, but she does know that her vitality seems to be quite strong, and especially has the special ability to heal other people's wounds by biting her body. It is indeed very similar to what Naruto said. Maybe, she really is from the Uzumaki clan. As Naruto-kun just said, his mother is also from the Uzumaki clan, but he inherited his father's hair color. But the feeling he gave her was really warm. Just seeing his figure, she now feels very at ease, because of his gentleness. You can just call me Naruto. Have you ever seen someone who calls family members by honorific titles? Naruto. After answering softly with some shyness, Xianglin continued to lower her head in embarrassment, and even slowed down her eating speed, because she felt that there seemed to be something in her heart that suddenly filled her heart, making her feel warm in her heart. Okay, you geese really ran back. Examiner, teacher examiner. But at this time, in the direction of the window of this living room, an angry voice suddenly sounded, and that sassy figure was already half sitting there, which made Xianglin's little heart nervous again. Why don't you come back? I'm not a ninja. I can't continue to hinder your exams. Don't worry, Xianglin, you don't need to worry anymore. Of course, as far as Naruto is concerned, he naturally doesn't care about such small things. In fact, it doesn't have to be such a coincidence. He originally wanted to find Xiang back. Originally, he planned to kill Orochimaru directly, but he didn't kill him now. But it's not bad if he changed hands. But in this exam, there is another person who does not have a high sense of presence, but is actually quite important. Naturally, it is Xianglin. As one of the few orphans of the Uzumaki family, Xianglin's experience is indeed quite miserable. After being under the command of Orochimaru, life will be better. If the plot changes and Orochimaru fails to seek Xianglin, then maybe she will continue to live a life that is worse than death, and die one day sooner or later. So Naruto naturally planned to save her, but he didn't expect that, with such good luck, she was not far away. In fact, thinking about it is also true. She is not strong enough, she can't go too far at all, and she was lucky not to be affected before. Of course, Naruto does not deny that the important reason for saving her is also because she is very beautiful. If it were a man, Naruto would just save her at most, and would not directly save her. Brought back. You are really good at making up your mind. She is also a genin from Kizunagi village. You brought her out without even asking her. This is considered a violation of the rules. Anko walked over angrily, then walked to the side of Naruto, naturally picked up the bowls and chopsticks that had been placed there, and began to eat the food in the hot pot in front of him. Xianglin, who was still a little worried at first, breathed a sigh of relief after seeing this scene, and it was only then that she realized that the pair of bowls and chopsticks were reserved for Anko. She worked very hard in Grass Ninja Village. I just brought her out. There is nothing to say. Let the people of Grass Ninja Village treat her as dead. Anyway, those people won't care about her death. Hey, that's a little ... huh? After hearing Naruto's words, Anko was a little depressed. His statement seems a bit too realistic. After hearing this girl should feel very uncomfortable. But what surprised her was that although Xianglin seemed a little uncomfortable, she did not deny what Naruto said, but nodded in agreement like a chicken pecking at rice, and held Naruto with her little hand in fear. The sleeves looked tense. It seems that this little girl's life over there is really not good. No wonder she looks so thin. Indeed, there seem to be quite a lot of conflicts in the country of grass. Although it is a small country, small wars keep going on, and the lives of the common people seem to be quite bad. Naruto probably understood this. That's why he brought her back. This kid is surprisingly considerate. Okay, that's it. Just pretend you didn't see it. This will be a hush money, father. Naruto picked up a meatball with a smile, put it in front of Anko's face, and looked at her with a smile, but Anko, who was acting a little scary at first, couldn't help but suddenly heard the meatball, shaking, looking a little excited, then suddenly stretched out his mouth, took a bite of the meatball, and swallowed it. You think this kind of thing can buy me, but forget it this time. Let's treat it as an exception. Puff. After seeing this really sweet scene, Xianglin couldn't help but burst out laughing. Of course, she soon realized her impoliteness, quickly covered her small mouth, and then continued to lower her head shyly to pick up the chopsticks up. Okay, this little girl will belong to you for the time being, but the third generation master said there is something to do. If you have time, I ask you to go. The old man doesn't have any legs himself. Okay, I get it. Let's talk about it after eating. Chapter 75. Dare to touch her, I will destroy Konoha. Master Hokage, is there something wrong? Standing in front of the Hokage office building, looking quietly at the old man wearing a bamboo hat, Naruto said silently. He really didn't want to meet this man if he could. It's not that I'm afraid or hate or something. Basically I don't have such a feeling. It's just that I simply don't want to see this person, and I always feel that if I see him, something troublesome will happen. Well, Naruto, you did a good job this time, and shocked Orochimaru. For the time being, there shouldn't be any dangerous things. Third generation seems to be in a good mood. Probably because Orochimaru ran away in such a mess, so he can finally feel at ease. Of course, for this kind of politician, no matter how he behaves, Naruto doesn't want to believe it. Who knows what kind of thing he is thinking under his benevolent expression. In the original book, third generation seems to be very benevolent and moral, and the image is so noble, but Naruto has lived so miserable for so many years, and it is inseparable from him. The so-called hiding identity is better to protect him, but in reality first, as a monster, is he really well protected? If someone really cares about you, it's really not easy to deal with you. Oh, then what? But for the current Naruto, no matter the suffering he has suffered or the praise he is receiving now, it doesn't mean anything. 670. He's not really a kid, he's here to hear the compliments, and if it wasn't for the fact that Orochimaru would threaten his sales, he wouldn't bother to do it. Doesn't third generation think that complimenting him will give him a sense of honor towards Konoha? Naruto, are you really not interested in becoming a ninja? Your parents, they died honorably, but also tragically. I said it all. I'm really not interested. I don't take ninjas seriously. Well, after hearing Naruto's obviously rebellious words, third generation fell silent, and then sighed deeply. Since Naruto's sudden personality change 2 years ago, he has also met Naruto many times, and knows that Naruto has already understood what happened that year, and also knows a lot of things that he should not have known. But after hearing him say that he has the chakra of his parents in his body, third generation also understands that maybe this is because Minato and his wife instilled some chakra and memories into the child before they died, making him suddenly change. One person. The sealing technique of the Uzumaki family is indeed miraculous. Even if they have this ability, it is not very surprising. It's just a pity that since then, although Naruto has become extremely excellent, his combat power has also skyrocketed at an unimaginable speed, but he has no interest in the ninja careers at HZ. To be honest, this is actually a bit contrary to the idea of their Konoha executives. If Naruto is just a common man, trash, who has no strength and gets his share every day, then third generation would rather let him be a common man for the rest of his life. After all, Nine Tails JinchuRiki itself is a very dangerous existence, a double-edged sword. If you are not careful, you may hurt yourself, and Naruto's character is still so immature. Third generation naturally doesn't want Naruto to do too many things. It's better to stay in Konoha, it's better than anything. But now, Naruto's strength is so strong that it has long been beyond their control. To put it bluntly, if Naruto wants to fight against Konoha now, he may even completely destroy Konoha. Although the possibility of such a thing is extremely low, The high-level personnel including third generation don't want him to act recklessly like this. If he can become a Konoha shinobi and accept education slowly, the group can gradually calm down. But now, his own attitude towards Konoha is really too ambiguous. Who knows whether he likes Konoha, or hates it more deeply. Presumptuous. But at this time, at the corner of another back room in the office, there was a cold snort, obviously with displeasure. I saw an old man on crutches slowly, Seb, walking out from the inside. His forehead and right eye were wrapped in bandages. He was somewhat similar to Kakashi, but his eyes were more lazy than Kakashi's. Dead fish eyes are much colder, which makes people feel chills when they look at them. It's just a brat, but dare to talk about ninjas. Who gave you the courage? The old man's voice was very cold and deep, obviously a little moved and really angry. If it's Common's 12-year-old child. No, just change it to another Chunin Jonin or something. After hearing such a severe reprimand from this old man, you will definitely feel a little scared. Because he is as famous as third generation, Shimura Danzo, one of Konoha's advisors. As Konoha's top executive, and also a disciple of second Hokage. His strength and status are second only to third generation in Konoha, so although he has many acting styles, his image is not very pleasing, but no one dared to say anything more. It's no wonder you can't be a Hokage when you're old enough to bully a brat. But who is Naruto? He doesn't even give third generation any face, let alone this guy. After Denzo heard this, he immediately couldn't help but widen his eyes and shouted sharply. With his self-cultivation, in fact, normally speaking, he would not be really angry with a child. He really just wanted to intimidate Naruto. Normally, no one would dare to confront Konoha's senior management. Even Kakashi's elite Jonin was the same. When he saw him, he was still respectful. But he really didn't expect that Naruto didn't take him seriously at all, and even talked about Hokage. Naruto obviously knew his identity, otherwise he wouldn't have specifically mentioned the word Hokage. Damn, this brat is too presumptuous. If you don't give him some color to see, you don't know the sky is high and the earth is thick. Danzo, calm down. Don't get angry with a junior. But after hearing the voice of third generation's purpose, Danzo was silent for a while, and finally snorted coldly, not continuing to get angry. After all, this is indeed embarrassing, and it is still embarrassing in front of the person he hates the most, which is the last thing Danzo wants to see. Let's not mention the matter of Uzumaki Naruto, but the matter of the girl from the Uzumaki family must be settled now. Regarding her placement, I will let her. Don't challenge my patience, Shimura Danzo. If you touch her, I'll destroy Konoha. X2 Chapter 76. It's none of his business. It is very easy for human beings to have disputes. Even if there is a slight improvement in the previous moment, as long as there is a small fuse, it is very likely that the fire will be reignited in an instant. Sarutobi. Look, the junior you're talking about has already dared to say such things. After hearing Danzo's furious reprimand, third generation did not persuade him this time, but fell into silence again. In fact, even the moment he heard Naruto say these words, there was also a trace of anger in his heart. As Konoha's ninja himself, he has been painstakingly cultivated by two ancestors Hokage masters. His feelings for Konoha are naturally very strong, and it is his responsibility to make Konoha prosperous and strong. But after many wars, and the incidents of Nine Tails and Uchiha, Konoha's master has already suffered heavy casualties, so he has been working very hard to rebuild the once prosperous Konoha. At this time, talents are very important, especially with unprecedented talent like Naruto. But now, such a genius actually said that he might destroy Konoha. How could he have no idea at all? So what? It's just an equivalent exchange. Xianglin is the only member of the Uzumaki clan I've seen now. I'm asking you not to think about her. Is this too much to ask? But Naruto didn't give in at all. Instead he explained it even more coldly, as if for him, this was as it should be. Don't forget, this is Konoha. It was Konoha who raised you up to this day, otherwise you wouldn't. I won't hear your nonsense. Before Danzo finished speaking, Naruto interrupted him impatiently. He also thought that Danzo could be a little more distinctive, but it turned out to be such a thing. How Uzumaki Kushina and Namake's Minato died tragically back then. You should not have forgotten, right? X2 Danzo, who originally wanted to open his mouth to continue to scold Naruto angrily, and third generation, who wanted to make Naruto restrain himself, fell into silence after hearing this sentence. He deliberately used the full name, as if he was speaking the names of two strangers, but this attitude made the two of them feel more depressed, and they could also feel the suppressed hatred in Naruto's heart. Well, what I want is this effect. Of course Naruto himself has no such thing as hate. After all, it's none of his business to him, although he quite liked those two characters. In reality, they were just two strangers whom he had never seen before. But he used such a calm and normal tone, which seemed easy to himself. But when it fell into the ears of these two people, it was not easy. And how Uzumaki Naruto's life has been over the past 10 years, you are also very clear. I don't need to say anything more. Not everyone takes your Konoha so seriously. For me, this is a home. Yes, but it is also a home that can be changed at any time. If someone dares to touch my family members, I will not show any sympathy." And Naruto spoke quietly, and when he reached the end, he slowly raised his head slightly, and looked at Danzo. The original blue eyes have turned into gold beasts in an instant. "Hi to me. Do you really think I can't kill Orochimaru?" X2. If it were someone else, they might all scoff at it. After all, Orochimaru's strength is really unfathomable now, not to mention the very old third generation. Even Danzo, who has been transplanted with a full hand of Xianglin, there is not much confidence in being able to kill him. But for some reason, when they heard the 12-year-old blonde boy say this in a relaxed tone, they didn't feel any hint of a joke. He really has the confidence to kill Orochimaru. Moreover, many ninjas saw at that time that Orochimaru was indeed missing a hand, and even one snake's body was missing in half. For his tailed beast and tailed beast bomb. Indeed, for a perfect JinchuRiki like him, and the strongest 9 tails JinchuRiki, his strength is truly unfathomable. I know, we didn't intend to do anything to the child, but you have to make sure she is not a spy who sneaked in from outside. Asking for flowers. After contemplating for a while, third generation finally spoke. The following words sounded a little serious, but in fact, they were nothing at all, just normal speeches. "Don't worry, I promise she's not." "What guarantee do you have?" Of course, people like Denzo must be nitpicking, and at this time, they are still anxious to say something cheap, wanting to have a little more presence. Although he himself agrees with Sarutobi's statement, saying this at this time may be the best result. After all, he also feels that there is no need to fall out with Naruto because of a little girl. 0. If she is a spy, then I will leave Konoha. Naruto spoke lightly, as if very casually. But in fact, for him, he didn't want to leave Konoha. It's not that he has any feelings for Konoha, but after all, Hinata and the others are both from Konoha. If they really fall out, it may be difficult for him to get along with them and explain to them in the future, which will be a lot of trouble. Of course, if it really got to that point, Naruto wouldn't care about such things anymore. "Oh, what kind of guarantee is this?" "Then what else do you want?" Danzo, don't say it first. "Naruto, after all, this girl appeared suddenly, and we have no way to guarantee absolute safety, so after all, we still need to maintain a little suspicion. If it is really a spy, you don't need to leave Konoha. I just need you to protect Konoha well. Is that okay?" Of course it's okay. These two old things, who sing and harmonize with each other, are indeed the same breed. "Sarutobi, your statement like this is still too conservative. In addition to letting him protect Konoha, he should also execute the brat directly." "Okay, no matter what, the child is the only Uzumaki family after all. It's really unavoidable, and we need to consider putting 9 tails in her body. Well, you are right this time." Chapter 77 Naruto, take off your clothes. Don't worry, Xianglin, you can live here from now on. Hokage has already recognized your identity. "Thank you, Naruto kun. You can just call me by name, or you can call me Naruto Big Brother. Naruto Big Brother." It was originally a very happy smile, but after hearing Naruto's words, it suddenly froze, and turned into a shy one, and softly called him Big Brother, which also made someone's smile brighter. "What Big Brother? You should be younger than her." But some people just don't like seeing other people happy. When they heard that Xianglin actually called him this name, Anko couldn't help complaining directly. "Naruto looks more mature, but his actual age is only 12 years old. Probably younger than this 590 little girl. He is quite good at taking advantage of others. Well, just look at your appearance and psychology." "I can't call you Anko, aunt." "What did you say?" Anko strangled his neck directly from behind him and pulled him back, as if threatening Naruto. Of course, this kind of strength is nothing to Naruto. Rather, the soft touch from behind made him pay more attention. "Ha, I'm just kidding. Miss Anko is so young, she won't call you aunt no matter what, but listen to my advice. It's okay to like sweets, but you have to exercise well, otherwise you will become a fatty." But he still has to be careful to remind this young lady. Although the plot has changed a bit, he has also watched The Legend of Boruto, and Anko in it has become a sweet potato. It's kind of scary to think about this kind of thing, and he doesn't want Anko to be like that again. Birth, old age, sickness and death are normal. But at any rate, you can't change shape so quickly. Moreover, he has also asked the system about lifespan. In fact, there is still a lot of possibility that he will become a long-lived species in the future, including his family members. Of course, it is still very early, and there are many longevity species, including the Otsutsuki clan. If any of those people come here now, he will have to stop cooking, and he still needs to make himself stronger. Change it, it doesn't matter, I don't care. But Anko himself didn't care about this point at all. If it were a common girl, she would definitely be very angry when she heard this kind of words. After all, there is no girl who doesn't like to be beautiful, and doesn't want to lose weight, so she can make herself thinner. But Anko didn't think about it. After all, she has liked to eat since she was a child, but she has never gained weight. Maybe it's because she has been exercising all the time. She has never considered such things. Please don't be more harmonious. And she thinks that there is nothing wrong with getting fat. Anyway, she hasn't gotten fat yet, so it would be interesting to try it out. I care. What do you care about? But at this time, Naruto suddenly yelled a little loudly, which scared Anko and Xianglin, who was listening carefully. She was just talking casually, and she didn't say that she really wanted to become fat. Why is he so nervous? Sister Anko, you are really beautiful now, heroic, very heartwarming. It makes me feel like a dream lover, but if you really continue to gain weight, it will be a pity. I really don't want Miss Anko to become like that, so please keep exercising. X2. Is this a confession? Both of them looked at Naruto stupidly. He held Anko's hand seriously. His eyes were full of expression and seriousness. Anko was stunned for a while Xianglin at the side was silent, looking at Naruto intently. There was a little downcast look in his eyes. It turns out that Naruto likes Mr. Anko. During the period when Naruto left, she had gotten to know Mr. Anko a little bit and also understood her general character. Very straightforward, very frank, doesn't think too much about issues, and looks beautiful. Has a good figure, has a close relationship with Naruto, and doesn't care about physical contact at all. But since this is the case, then she should not think too much about things, and pay attention to her sense of proportion. Cut. I want you to take care of it. I'm bored. I have to go back and look at the examination room. Let's go. Fortunately, Anko just glanced at him with contemptuous eyes, then walked slowly to the window, said goodbye and went out, not taking it seriously at all. Something is impossible. The moment she jumped out of the window and jumped onto the roof, she couldn't help but slump down on the roof, and then covered her heart with her right hand. Jump so fast. What is this feeling? Even more than the previous feeling. Speaking of, don't get fat. Go back, pay attention to exercise a little bit, lest you really become a big fat man. I ran fast enough. I don't know if I will listen carefully. I don't want to see Anko really turn into a sweet potato. Naruto. Big brother, what are you mumbling about? It's okay. Speaking of which, you are really going to call me big brother? After seeing his muttering being discovered, Naruto also laughed and changed the subject. Like you said, it's more important to have a mature appearance and heart. 4.5. Well, it makes sense. Then listen to me now. Put your clothes. Harmonious, uncomfortable. This should be harmonious. After all, she should still have a lot of wounds on her body, and her resilience seems to be insufficient, so let him help, and make sure no traces are left. Okay. Chapter 78. Xianglin, responsible. That, Naruto. Big brother. You mean, take off your clothes? Xianglin lowered her head, and said to Naruto shyly. Her voice was broken intermittently. Her tone was submissive, and she didn't have the strong and fierce female image in Naruto's impression at all. Of course, even Xianglin in the original book might be shy after hearing such words. Is this the so-called hero's reward for saving the beauty? Thinking of this, Xianglin couldn't help but swallowed a mouthful of saliva, but her blush returned to blush, but she didn't know why, but she really had that kind of thought in her heart. Although this kind of behavior seems to be a little different from the real Prince Charming, but in fact, Xianglin feels that this kind of behavior, it's not impossible. If he hadn't been saved by Naruto, and his body continued to grow like this, he might have been stared at by some people with bad intentions. Maybe one day he would be caught by that. If that's the case, why not give it to Naruto? 24. Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, I mean... Naruto suddenly seemed to have thought of something, denied what he had just thought, and waved his hand. But this time, he was dumbfounded because the girl in front of me immediately started to act. At the beginning, Naruto hadn't reacted yet, but what I didn't expect was that Xianglin didn't even pause, and just raised his hands and dropped them, and it was over soon. Just when Naruto was completely stunned and looked at her stupidly, Xianglin also lowered her head shyly at this time, unable to see her expression clearly. Naruto big brother. Is this okay? It's okay to say it, but in fact you've already done it, so what else can I say? Naruto couldn't help complaining in his heart. Although it's not the time to just watch from the sidelines, but he still couldn't help being dumbfounded. Cough cough. Of course, it wasn't the kind of attraction some people imagined, but rather, he felt very surprised. It's okay, Xianglin, don't you have any other wounds on your body? He remembered that Xianglin, who was drawn in the anime, had been bitten all over her body. It was miserable. Could it be that he remembered it wrong? Or is there actually a difference between anime and reality? The wound. I only have it on my hand. I have to be harmonious for no reason. I am also drunk and depressed to death. Why do I need to be harmonious? At first, I was a little confused as to how Naruto knew about this, but after thinking about it carefully, he is also a member of the Uzumaki family, and he may have a similar constitution. If someone bites him, he may be able to recover from his injuries. Maybe I asked this question because I saw some bite marks on her arm. Is it? I'm dizzy. If I knew it earlier, I would have asked first before talking about it. It's so embarrassing now. When Naruto heard it, he couldn't help but shed tears. Originally thought that she would have many wounds all over her body, so Naruto asked her to take off her coat first, to see the condition of the wounds. He could use his chakra to help recover. Since you want to live in peace, let's heal the wounds of the past. What I thought of was that except for the obvious teeth marks on her arms, the rest of her body was completely white and clean, without any blemishes, tender and smooth, just like a newborn baby. Yes, my resilience is relatively strong, and I can recover quickly just by using my arms. Naruto big brother. Do you want to come over? Xianglin was still explaining before, but after thinking about the situation later, she asked again shyly, but this time, her tone was a little more urgent than before. In fact, when she was with her parents, she had a very lively and cheerful personality. She laughed and laughed every day, and she also liked to play and wander around. It was only because of the influence of the environment that she became so shy. But now following Naruto, for some reason, she always feels that her nature is about to come back again, as if the shackles that bind her are about to be untied. It's much easier, and she doesn't need to be as careful when speaking as before. Since this is the case, and she is now frank, then Naruto big brother should hurry up. Otherwise, how embarrassing it is for her to be alone. Well, Xianglin, I think you misunderstood. I didn't mean that. People are already like this, and it seems a little late to say that they don't mean it now, but if they don't make it clear, it may be even more embarrassing in the future. Eh? Then, no, you don't want me to come here? Naruto big brother, but I don't know much about this kind of thing, so I don't know if I can satisfy you. But at this time, the misunderstanding seemed to be deepening. Misunderstanding. I didn't mean that. But since Naruto big brother you said so, then I can only do it. 177. Please be responsible. Well, before Naruto finished speaking, he broke off, and was directly thrown to the ground by a petite figure, who looked at her dumbfounded. With her strength, of course Naruto couldn't be knocked down, but he was afraid of hurting Xianglin, so he subconsciously fell backwards, and that's it if he didn't pay attention. Isn't this a big misunderstanding? But seeing the firmness implied in Xianglin's innocent and shy eyes, he couldn't help being a little dazed. She looks a bit like Hinata in this way, although she is more bold, but she is determined to risk everything. It's really irresistible. Brother-in-law, I'm here to play again. No, I went wrong. I don't seem to know each other. Wait. Chapter 79 Hanabi, Make Me Healthy. Accidentally added Hinata at the end of the last chapter. I forgot that she was taking an exam. Sorry. It has been revised now. Only Hanabi came to play alone. In other words, she is your clansman, almost the only clansman left. You are concerned about her physical condition, so let her show it to see the wound. That's roughly the case. Is that useful enough to jump directly into your arms in a baby state? It's all a misunderstanding. Helplessly, he replied again to the white-eyed little girl next to him. Naruto, who was sitting on the sofa, covered his forehead with his hands, looking very irritable. He has explained it many times. Why doesn't this girl listen? I don't believe there can be any misunderstanding in this kind of thing. My white eyes have seen everything. You are really blind. Naruto couldn't help complaining secretly in his heart. But he also knew that when the scene just now happened in front of them, it was really hard to justify. Even he himself felt as if the world was turned upside down at that moment. I'm very sorry. I really thought it was that kind of thing. So I misunderstood. I'm really very sorry. But at this time, an excited voice came out from the side, full of apology and panic, which made people divert their attention. It's okay, it's good to clear up the misunderstanding, Sister Xianglin. But different from the attitude towards Naruto, when facing the red-haired girl, Hanabi showed a completely different gentle smile on his face, and called her sister very affectionately. The rapid changes are jaw-dropping. Thank you, Miss Hanabi. You're welcome. Let's get along well from now on. The relationship is very good, and there is no sign of any estrangement at all. Moreover, Hanabi was still sitting next to her, and on the side away from Naruto. Obviously, she may be more mindful of being close to Naruto than Hanabi now. Today, she managed to take advantage of her elder sister and the others taking the exam, so she came over to check on the situation. Hearing the conversation between her brother-in-law and her elder sister before, she naturally felt that it was very unacceptable. Since she is such an excellent person, she can completely monopolize it. Now not only take the initiative to take it out, but also actively urge her brother-in-law to. What is this? And what's more, what my sister said. What? How could such a thing happen? But after a good exchange with her elder sister, she still calmed down. I just don't know why, when she saw her elder sister's light smile as if she saw through everything, as if she was looking at the wayward little sister, she also felt her face was burning hot. But it's been more than half a day since I haven't looked for my brother-in-law, and my elder sister is not here, so I was panicking at home, so she couldn't help but come here. Of course, What happened before should be treated as if it didn't happen, and you should deal with it calmly. She found that the calm attitude of her elder sister is more like an adult, so she also needs to be calm this time. As a result, as soon as he entered the door, he saw this unbelievable scene. This one, said to be the only remaining clansman of my brother-in-law, came to follow him. Leaving aside the fact that the hair color is quite different, just why he looks like that is the bigger problem for him. In harmony. However, this girl's personality is quite similar to that of her elder sister. After encountering this kind of thing, she was also very embarrassed, and apologized non-stop. Her face was flushed, and her hair color was almost the same as hers. She was so shy, absolutely not like someone who would take the initiative to do such a thing. So it's all my brother's fault. What nonsense to say is easily misunderstood. Please explain clearly. Although this elder sister also has a problem, and she actually took off like this, but the main problem lies with her brother-in-law. Well, if you can get along well, that would be the best thing. Don't worry, we will definitely get along well, but brother-in-law, forget it. Hanabi glanced at Naruto angrily. The disdain in his eyes was clearly evident. Forget about the girls from before, they have known each other for a long time anyway, some longer than my elder sister, and the relationship has been cultivated. But this sister, it is said that they just met today, and they are going to check harmony, or something. By the way, brother-in-law, why do you want to check on Sister Xiang too? Hanabi's words made the two of them fall into silence again, and they didn't know what to say for a moment. After all, being forced to receive medical treatment is not something worth letting others know. If you don't talk about it, try not to talk about it. It's a painful memory. Fortunately, it may be because she was still at the level of useful before, and the people in Kusanagi village did not do too exaggerated things to her. In the original book, it may be because Kusanagi experienced too much loss in this Chunin exam, and she was not useful at all, so they felt that Xianglin is a waste rather than simply taking it. Use it. Fortunately, Naruto brought her back in time, otherwise, tragedy would have happened. Isn't it really astringent? Don't think too much, it's a serious matter. She was seriously injured before. I want to check her. You know my chakra can heal others. Oh, that's right, change. Fortunately, after Hanabi heard this time, he didn't continue, non-UOs, arguing again, but nodded a little seriously and relieved. She could sense that Naruto was telling the truth. Although there may be a little concealment and deviation, it should be the reason, because his eyes are very clear, and this sister is also a little uncomfortable, but also moved. It seems that this is indeed the case. Thinking about it, a clansman from another village who came to join him must have really experienced a lot of hardships and pains. Oh, forget it, since this is the case, there is no other way. But Sister Xianglin, you have to be careful. Brother-in-law is really a real wolf. I know, but I also know that Naruto is a good person. It's good to know. Naruto Big Brother. Chapter 80, Hanabi's first time. Naruto Big Brother, this is delicious. Can I have another one? Of course, you can eat whatever you want. Naruto Big Brother, so you are still a manga artist? You are amazing. It's just to make some money and spare money. But you have to support your family. That's already very powerful. I used to like reading comics, but I didn't have a chance. I didn't expect Naruto Big Brother to write so much. Wow, it's written here that the comics before the sale are basically drawn by you. Naruto Big Brother. Are there even many stores? Well, after all, I have Shadow Clone, which can draw faster, but don't worry too much. You are my sister, isn't my money your money? Sister. Xianglin, come have a bowl of soup. I won't drink anymore. Big Brother, I'm seeing a critical moment. Too fascinated, forget it. Hanabi, you should drink first. Need not. Why are you so angry? Seeing the little girl in front of him yelling loudly at him, and then hugging her hands together, looking angry, her cheeks 247 have already bulged out. Naruto felt a little baffled. Wasn't he fine just now? Why did he get angry after caring about her after being silent for a while? What are you doing? Are you feeling unwell? Do you want me to help you recover? No. Go find your good sister. His sister, isn't that her? Oh, by the way, and Xianglin too. So that's the case. Glancing at the girl on the bed in the open room on the other side, and seeing that she didn't notice what was happening on their side and was still concentrating on the manga, Naruto also smiled, and then sat down in Hanabi's beside. You are also my good sister. This little girl probably felt that he was too kind to Xianglin now and ignored her, so she was angry. This kind of typical jealousy scene often appears in anime, and Hanabi is this kind of girl. It is also normal. She is at the age when she wants people to care about her. HMPH. Who is it? I'm not. Sif. That's what he said, but Hanabi's anger seemed to have dropped a lot, and his expression had begun to relax. Naruto naturally knew that he should work harder at this time. Fact, you are not. You are my lovely sister-in-law. Naruto smiled directly and picked up Hanabi's body, put it on his lap, let her lean in his arms, like holding a doll, and gently placed his hands on her little head. And Hanabi struggled a little at first, but soon relaxed and let Naruto hold her. From time to time, The face began to reveal a comfortable and happy expression. But it was kept very low, not wanting to be seen by celebrities. HMPH. This is pretty much the same, but if my lord's sister knows that your brother-in-law is bothering you again, she will definitely start thinking about some messy things again. Really? I think Hinata should be able to get along well with Karen. It's because of this that it's messed up. Elder sister is so kind. No matter what kind of girl she is, no matter how many people come, she might not mind, but I want to mind. I don't want my elder sister to have too many competitors. Little Hanabi clenched his right hand into a small fist, put it in front of him, and waved it twice as if to cheer him up, looking very childish. It's just that what she said made Naruto a little dumbfounded. Although he does have some fondness for Xianglin, it is only because she is cute and of the same race as him, and has a tragic life experience. Even if there is some love between men and women, it is because she likes the grown-up and matured her. The current Xianglin is just a little girl. He is not Lolita Kong. Of course, in the eyes of the younger little Hanabi, Xianglin may already be relatively big, and they are all precocious, at least a few years older than their appearance, especially Hanabi, a little girl who is getting more and more weird, and often do things that make him feel a little surprised. Okay, I don't have that kind of thought, so don't get angry at Xianglin. I didn't. I told my sister, I won't get angry at them, because they are all good sisters. That's good. It seems that this girl has really grown up, and she has begun to understand the hidden rules between adults. But I want to get angry at you, brother-in-law. Who told you to be so careless? I will kill you and kill you. Well, but at this time, Hanabi turned around suddenly, and then facing Naruto's side, she used her small palms to line up Naruto's chest, and started a cute sumo wrestling. A 7-year-old cute little girl is doing this kind of action to you. Just imagine it. You must be about to be overwhelmed. But it's a pity that her movements are fast, ruthless and precise, and every palm hits Naruto's acupuncture points. The strength of her strikes is also quite strong, and there is no mercy at all. This girl is really cruel. Okay, I will try my best not to provoke girls, so don't get too entangled in this matter. Of course, with Naruto's strength, these little tricks are meaningless. As soon as he moves his mind, the chakra all over his body immediately reconnects, without being affected at all. I don't believe it. Try your best. It's not convincing at all. Then what else? You want me to swear? Naruto is a little helpless. He can't say that he will not provoke, can he? To put it bluntly, even if it's not him, it's just Naruto in the original book, and the love luck is very strong. There is almost one heroine in a theater version, and there is even a witch who looks very similar to Hinata, and is willing to have a baby for Naruto. I like it very much. It should appear in the future. Forget it. Anyway, you are also a habitual offender, but if you are bothered, I will tell my elder sister. You kiss me secretly. Okay, got it. This girl, what kind of threat is this? He didn't really kiss, eh? Exclamation mark. This is the truth. Be careful, brother-in-law. He. Looking at the back of the girl who had quickly ran out of the window, Naruto touched his slightly moist lips in a daze, then licked it, and swallowed it subconsciously. A bit sweet. Chapter 81. Broken leg. I can cure it. Big brother, why hasn't Hanabi been here for the past few days? Maybe it's about practicing at home. The Hyuga family's family rules are very strict, so it's good to exercise seriously at home. Don't have to come here to make trouble again. Naruto calmly replied to the red-haired girl in loose home clothes who was lying on the sofa and reading comic books, and secretly complained in his heart. It's been 3 days since the last time Hanabi said that at him. In other words, it is almost time for Hinata and the others to finish their second exam. But in the past few days, he didn't pay attention to the things there. He stayed at home almost all the time, and occasionally took Xianglin out for a walk, bought vegetables, bought some snacks, went to a restaurant or something, and got acquainted with Konoha's environment. Now Xianglin's personality is much more cheerful, and her smile is much more. Of course, it has not reached the level of willfulness and pungentness in the original work. It looks like this. It looks so hard. Do I have to work harder to practice? After all, I have been staying at the big brother's house. This is your home. Staying at home all the time and doing nothing is not a good thing. After hearing these words, Xianglin also showed a happy smile on her face, a very bright smile. Didn't you do a lot of things? You did all the housework, and you have helped a lot. Although Naruto himself doesn't mind, but for Xianglin, living here all the time, she can't help but, so she has already started doing various housework, and up to now, even Naruto's clothes are washed by her up. But I still hope to be able to cook for you, big brother. As far as cooking is concerned, although she said that she has learned from her mother before, but after all, she is still young, so the cooking skills are still far behind Naruto. Zong can watch from the side. She seems to be quite entangled in this aspect, maybe because she thinks that in a family, cooking should be done by girls, and she is working hard to learn. Well, study hard. I will and I will work hard to practice mysteries. Well, work hard. Mysteries. Xianglin, how many secret arts do you know? Naruto, who was just responding to Xianglin with a smile, suddenly couldn't help but widen his eyes and looked at the red-haired girl in front of him who was secretly cheering him on. Xianglin knows the secret arts of the Uzumaki clan. Of course he knows that she has no fighting power, and it is because of those special secret arts that she was able to join the Eagle Squad. But Naruto himself doesn't know how many kinds there are, and she didn't say anything in the past 3 days, so he forgot to ask. There are only 3 or 4. Mother taught me before, but not too many. Xianglin explained that when talking about her mother, her eyes dimmed a little sad. Probably because she remembered the past, but she forced a smile behind her. After all, people cannot always live in the past and the future. It is better to be optimistic. Well, then I will take you back to the ruins of Uzumaki village to have a look. Maybe you can find some things from the past, and if you can pass them down, that would be the best. Xianglin was slightly taken aback when he heard the words, but quickly nodded vigorously with a smile. In any case, they are now the only members of the Uzumaki clan that have been discovered so far. If the culture of the Uzumaki clan can be continued, that would be great. Speaking of which, it's about the same time now. Their exams should be over soon, and we can almost have a celebration banquet. Let's go. Speaking of this, Naruto also stood up and stretched his body a little bit. After staying at home and painting for a long time, he really needs to go out for more activities, otherwise his bones will feel hard. Big brother, that Miss Hinata, will you accept me? But Xianglin was a little worried at this time. Although she is very familiar with Naruto, she still hasn't met that Hinata. Can she accept this sister, who suddenly appeared during her absence? And it seems that many of Naruto's classmates are also there. She always feels that she is not suitable to meet them. Will she be rejected? Don't worry, Hinata has a very good personality. There will be absolutely no problem. Asking for flowers. That's good. Hearing what Naruto said, Karen finally breathed a sigh of relief. The Konoha people she knows now are Naruto, Hanabi and Anko. As for the 2 people behind, except for the first time they met, they never appeared later. Although they had a good relationship before, and one of them had to invigilate the exam and the other had to practice at home, so they didn't come, but Xianglin still felt a little scared. Now that Naruto is the only one she knows and the only relative, she naturally trusts him absolutely. Well, don't worry, let's go. Huh? What's wrong? Big brother? Nothing, a friend is here. Naruto, who was about to step out of the house, suddenly stopped, and then quietly looked in the direction of the entrance under Xianglin's confused eyes. Boom. But at this time, the entrance door was suddenly opened, which startled Xianglin. It's just that she soon discovered that standing at the door was a bun-headed girl in a cheongsam who looked very embarrassed. Tanshin, what's the matter with you? So anxious. There is such a dress in Konoha, and he will come to Naruto, except for Tanshin. Naturally there is no second one. Looks like it's over. But why does she look so nervous? Her eyes are full of impatience. Don't worry about it. Hurry up and take a look. Xiaoli's leg is about to break. It still happened. But I don't know if the system is a prophet, or it caters to the needs in his memory. Congratulations on your popularity of One Piece breaking through 100 million, and randomly obtaining Advanced Ability 1. Congratulations on acquiring Drive Kuro's medical skills. This ability came at just the right time. Chapter 82. Welcome to the Dragon King. The title is a joke. Doctor, how is Xiaoli's condition? Is there any help? Sorry, we have tried our best. The injured person is not life-threatening, but his left leg has been twisted, and I am afraid that there is no way to exert more force. XN. After hearing the doctor's words, the surrounding group of teenagers and girls all showed a somewhat disappointed look on their faces. Class 7, Class 8, Class 10, and JinchuRiki, a total of 10 people, are almost all here. Naturally, they have already finished the second exam. Although they have their own people against their own people, fortunately, they are lucky, and many people have advanced. But they all saw the wonderful battle just now, and they still can't forget it. The battle between Konoha and Sand Shinobi. The battle between Lee and Gaara. Before this, half of them didn't know Xiaoli, and because of his ridiculous green tights, 24 and thick eyebrows, they looked down on him a little bit. But just now, he used the powerful 8 inner gates, and drove to the 5th gate, and gained the power far beyond ordinary people, almost defeating Gaara from Sand Shinobi. Unfortunately, at the last moment, he failed, and his left foot was pinched by the opponent, and he passed out directly. The rescue has just ended. And now that the doctor came out, he just said such a thing, which of course made them very disappointed. It would have been great if Master Tsunade, one of the Sannin in Legendary, was there. With her medical skills, there should be a chance to recover the injured person. Unfortunately, she has been away from Konoha for many years and will not. I'm coming back. At this time, the doctor also sighed a few words helplessly, and then left silently, leaving only the group of genins here feeling and sad. Most of them know who Tsunade is, the pinnacle of medical ninjutsu, and probably the most powerful female ninja out there. But it's a pity, she left Konoha decades ago, and now there is no news. How could she come back suddenly because of a genin's leg? Don't be so pessimistic. Did Tanshin call Naruto just so now? It should come later. But at this time, Shikamaru, who usually doesn't talk much, suddenly spoke to comfort everyone. Originally, he should have no connection with Xiaoli and the others, but that guy Naruto likes to drag him in, and even visits Hyuga's house from time to time. I have met Neji a few times, and Tantan and Xiaoli also know each other. I just didn't expect that today's Xiaoli would be so fat. Fortunately, that guy Naruto hasn't come yet, so there is still a glimmer of hope for the time being. It can only be like this. Neji also nodded at this time, and his nervous mood was relieved a little. Xiaoli hadn't gone in just now, and after hearing the doctor's words, "I'm afraid it's more than good luck every day," he left directly, leaving only the sentence, "I'll go find Naruto." But her behavior was right, otherwise, she might have to look for it now. I don't know if that guy Naruto is at home. If he goes out for a stroll, it's really hard to find. Would you like me to go and see? Wow. And at this time, a teenager with 2 red tooth marks on his face spoke, and when he finished speaking, the puppy on his head also barked in a very human way, obviously responding his words. In other words, if that stinky boy had been here from the beginning, there would be no need to wait for him. As a result, he is probably still sneaking around at home now, but he is very leisurely. Like them, he was beaten to death here. Shouldn't be. He basically doesn't go out, and do you know where he can go? His smell. Even my bugs are hard to track. Well, but at the same time, the boy in sunglasses, who was wrapped up all over his body, suddenly spoke. His voice was a little low, but after he said it, the boy before him was speechless. It doesn't matter, Shino-kun, Kiba-kun, and Akamaru Naruto-kun shouldn't go to other places at this time. Even if he left home, he should have come here directly. When Miss Tanshin went back, I will definitely see it. Don't worry. Just when the atmosphere was a little bit awkward, Hinata came out to smooth things over. Her gentle voice restored the atmosphere immediately, and everyone relaxed a little bit again. After all, as long as Naruto is around, they generally don't need to worry about too many troublesome things. Maybe, only Class 7 doesn't care so much. Little Sarah basically has nothing to do with them, just getting acquainted with Ino a little bit, but the main reason for her staying is that Sasuke-kun is also lying here. But now, so many of them are still standing there, not waiting for Sasuke-kun and Xiaoli, but waiting for Naruto to appear, which makes her really puzzled. How is this going? Naruto is not a ninja, let alone a medical ninja. What is the purpose of calling him here? What's even more strange is that there are so many people, all waiting for Naruto to come over, as if they really believe that Naruto can save Xiaoli's leg. She naturally doesn't believe it, even if Naruto is indeed much better than she imagined, but it's impossible for him to know everything, right? But this time, she has also learned to be smart, and will not talk nonsense anymore. After being scolded by Naruto before, she 053 seldom talks about Naruto, so as to save herself from being treated as a different kind. Does that Naruto know medical ninjutsu? I've never heard of it. Fortunately, at this time, someone helped her. At this time, Sei also asked with a smile as usual. Who knows? I haven't heard of it either. X2. But this time, what Shikamaru said was this answer. My gosh, he doesn't even know, so what are you waiting for? But anyway, he will always find a way. That kid has a lot of tricks and knows a lot. It's not surprising that he knows medical ninjutsu. It's like this. Is Xiaoli in there? Naruto. XN. Just when little Sakura couldn't help but want to complain, a voice suddenly appeared, and her words were instantly covered by other people's voices. Chapter 83 Naruto, I know a little about medicine. Naruto tilde. You kid must have come too late. It's alright, you already know what happened? Well, don't worry, I've basically understood, but let's not talk about Xiaoli. I think your condition needs more treatment. Looking at the group of boys and girls who were generally ashamed and covered their faces, Naruto directly expressed his inner thoughts with a smile. The exams were over, but they still waited for him to come before they relaxed. Didn't they notice the embarrassment on their faces and bodies? The girls are better, not much different from usual, and they are still paying attention, but the boys, except for Neji and Shino, are almost all superficial. It looks pretty miserable. Probably a few have already lost, and the plot may be similar to the original book. Don't gloat, boy. We are all in good condition. Only one little Lee has something to do. Is there any way you can find a good doctor to treat him? The doctor said just now, maybe only one of Sanin, only at the level of Master Tsunade can he be cured. Shikamaru complained to Naruto angrily, but soon started talking about serious things. In fact, there was no special meaning in asking him to come here. It was just getting used to it. Although Shikamaru's brain is very good, but in fact, many times, many things are thought up by Naruto. I thought of it all at once. Oh, there's no need to look for it. I'll go. I happen to know some medical skills. XN. Sure enough, this kid will show up again, right? Unlike the little Sakura who couldn't help shouting, the rest of the people, except Sei, who can only fake smiles, remained silent. Surprise is indeed surprise, but not shock and surprise, because this kind of thing happened to Naruto. It was not the first time. According to his own words, I was bored and had nothing to do, so I learned a lot, and with Shadow Clone, I can quickly learn a lot. Although others felt that such an excuse seemed too exaggerated, but this might be the only reason why he was able to learn so many abilities. Wait a minute, Naruto, this is not a joke, it's very dangerous. Little Sakura naturally doesn't want to quarrel with Naruto anymore, because she was scolded very badly last time. In her own mind, it's better not to get close to Naruto in the future. But the problem is, this time is not a small matter. If one is not careful, what will happen to Xiaoli in the future? Don't worry, I'll be careful. But this time Naruto didn't hate Xiao Sakura like last time, just smiled and walked into the room where Xiaoli was. Well, originally he didn't mean that he wanted to specifically target little Sakura, it was just that she was annoying last time. This time, she just spoke normally to remind her. After all, how could a child know such a brilliant medical ninjutsu, which is comparable to Tsunade level? But as far as Naruto himself is concerned, he doesn't mind these things. Not long ago, he learned the super medical skills of a 100-year-old woman, and if he only healed a leg, it was still very simple. No need for ninjutsu at all. Naruto. Don't worry, little Sakura, leave it to Naruto. Little Sakura was about to continue talking, but at this moment, she was stopped by a hand. It's her friend, But is this really okay? Xiaoli is already in such pain. If he does it again, it's not that I don't believe in Naruto, but is it really dangerous? Ahaha, don't worry, since that fellow Naruto said it's okay, then let him rest assured, he will never make unsure promises if it really can't be cured, then let him give me a good beating. Ino smiled and stretched out his little fist, and said it as if he was joking and didn't take it seriously at all. But it doesn't mean that Ino really didn't care. Little Sakura saw it with her own eyes just now. Ino was actually worried, but after hearing Naruto nod, she seemed to be relieved. Does she really trust Naruto that much? I always feel that Ino has really changed a lot. When I met Sasuke-kun before, I didn't say a word. Instead, I just greeted her lightly. I said a lot of things to her, and the strength is so strong. When they were fighting just now, she didn't react at all, and when she came back to her senses, she was judged to have lost the game. Although the secret technique passed down from her family is indeed very powerful, and she can control others casually, but it still feels a bit intrusive to be occupied in such a body without knowing it. Wait, what are you doing? Don't move. XN. But unexpectedly, or in other words, it should have been reasonable. From the medical room, there were screams from doctors and nurses. Apparently, Naruto, who just entered, did something beyond their imagination. By the way, is it really okay to let him mess around inside? In fact, it's not just little Sakura, but everyone else is also skeptical about this matter. After all, things like medical ninjutsu can only be achieved by talented and hard-trained people. Naruto, this guy, has never shown this skill before. So how can they really feel at ease? Is this still such an operation? Wait a minute. How did that work just now, then? Can you explain me? My god, it's so accurate. Wang Qian's has no error at all, and completely reconnected all the nerve lines. This child is also. May I ask if you are Master Tsunade's disciple? You are really long-winded. Can you keep your mouth shut? Why don't you just go out? Feel sorry. Okay, the surgery is over. Let's go eat. XN. It's only been half an hour. Is it really over? After hearing the words of the blonde boy with a bright smile in front of him, everyone present couldn't help looking at the thick-browed boy with his eyes closed on the bed, and then at the longing-looking doctor. The expression became complicated. It's too strong. I have practiced medicine for 30 years, and I have never seen such a strong medical skill. Please join us. Please wait. Chapter 84 Emotional Intelligence. It turns out that you really know medical ninjutsu. Tell us earlier, and we will be worried to death. Well, isn't it the same now that I know? Besides, I don't really know how much I know. Damn, you sound like you're being modest, but you're actually showing off. Angrily complained to the blonde boy next to him, and the hand resting on his shoulder couldn't help but exert a little more force. This bastard is so arrogant every time he speaks, but there is nothing he can do about it. This is the most annoying thing. Haha, it takes strength to show off. You, a defeated general, have the nerve to say that. Hey, don't go too far. And Hinata also lost. Are you scolding Hinata together? Hinata is a girl, so it doesn't matter, and little Sakura also lost, but among the men, except for Xiaoli, who lost a glorious defeat, you are the only one who lost. You have the nerve to say, depend on. This kid is really getting worse and worse. He gritted his teeth in anger, and even had the urge to punch Naruto directly on the cheek. But after thinking about it, let it go. Reason is better. Even if you really do it, you will only be punished severely. 423 should save some face for himself. After getting the news from the doctor that Xiaoli was fine, they all came to this barbecue restaurant, and then separated into two private rooms. A boys and a girls originally wanted to eat together, but was rejected by No, Tanshin and little Sakura. So there is no way, they can only gather a group of men to eat at one table. But in fact, even if Naruto didn't say anything, Kiba himself was a little annoyed. That Gaara's strength is indeed very terrifying. Even among them, Maybe only Neji and Sasuke can be compared with him, not including Naruto, only those who took the exam. But I really didn't expect that Xiaoli, whom I had met a few times before, would be able to fight with him at such a level, and it was really an honor to lose. But he was defeated by Sai, and it was a pity that he lost. It was evenly matched, and even he and Akamaru had the upper hand at one point. If they were not eager to win, they would not have been found by the opponent. I can't say that Ya's strength is much stronger than I imagined. I thought I could solve the battle in an instant. At this time, Sai at the table next to him also smiled and said something to his teeth, expressing his approval. Originally thought Ya should be the kind of person who talks a lot, but is actually vulnerable, but I didn't expect him to be quite crazy when he fought. If he was not too anxious to win. The final victory is really hard to say up. You don't have to comfort me, say I. Hey, are you mocking me too? It's just that this sentence of agreement is actually better not to say it, which makes Ya even more annoyed. Sai is like this, not very good at speaking. By the way, take a look at this, The Art of Speaking. I read it before. I think it is quite suitable for you. Then thank you. Seeing Naruto handing a book in front of him with a smile, Sai's smile stiffened a little, but he still smiled and took the unexpectedly heavy book, put it in front of him and began to flip through it gently. Well, it would be a good thing if it could be changed like in the original book. In fact, the plot is not as expected. It has changed a lot, and most of them still follow the original routine. But there are some differences. Ino won the small Sura, and Sai won the tooth instead of him. One more thing, ChoJi wins Toth. You know, ChoJi in the original book was played by Toss, and he is not his opponent at all. But in fact, here ChoJi wins Toth, and Naruto is not surprised at all. Because ChoJi and Shikamaru were the first two people he knew, and they were relatively close, so Naruto taught him a lot, including how to enhance his combat effectiveness. This way you can eat more. Moreover, if his strength grows fast, Naruto will cook him some delicacies, which is quite a motivation for ChoJi, so his strength growth is definitely far beyond everyone's imagination. That toss seemed to be a part of expansion jutsu by ChoJi, and then flew out with a slap, and passed out directly. As for Hinata losing, of course there is nothing to say, still to Neji. But this time Neji was too gentle. He just practiced with the usual practice. After some sparring, Hinata took the initiative to admit defeat. In fact, this is a natural result. Neji's talent and strength are indeed very strong, and Hinata is still a little bit worse. Of course, if Hinata defends with all his strength, it will be really difficult for Neji to defeat Hinata within the specified time, but that is meaningless. It's not big, but it has already proved its own strength. To be honest, the defensive power she showed even made Gaara want to fight her. But to be honest, other teams have lost, only Shikamaru and your group have won. It's cool. What's so cool? ChoJi and Ino are easy to solve, only I also met a woman. It's annoying to death. When talking about this matter, Shikamaru exhaled weakly. The delicious grilled meat in front of him didn't seem to be very attractive to him. Instead, he began to help ChoJi, who was binge eating, to pick up the meat. I really don't know how to be lucky when I am in a blessing, but I still want to fight against the girl you are like this. You will be a bachelor in the future. That's good, but I guess my mother will be too noisy. Just thinking about it makes me feel very troublesome. Haha, you really feel troublesome about everything. Okay, let's do it together. Drinks Shikamaru, ChoJi, Kiba, Sai, Neji. Come on Renishi. Naruto, I'm here too. Cough. Just kidding Shino, of course I haven't forgotten you. Come on, do it. Halo, even he really almost forgot. Chapter 85 Self-Exposure. Oh? You seem to have a good relationship, don't you? Don't be so rude. We got along well with Xianglin. Don't make it seem like you are a group of stinky men. Yeah, a girl's mind is very delicate. Can't you treat her well as a big brother? Why do you feel like you were besieged by them out of nowhere? Looking at the two girls in front of him sitting on both sides of his newly recognized younger sister, Naruto also felt a little cold sweat coming out of the girl who scolded him. Well, I don't think Naruto-kun meant that. He's very gentle with Miss Karen. Yeah. Big brother is very good to me. Fortunately, his lovely girlfriend and obedient younger sister were still helping him with the conversation, so they pulled her back all of a sudden, which finally made him feel a little relieved. This place is the private room of another barbecue table, and his original table has been disbanded. I don't know if they made an appointment on their own. One by one, they all ran away. Even Sai, who never looked at the atmosphere, seemed to be enlightened after receiving the book. Left, only he was left. Of course he can't just leave like this. He must come here to have a look. After all, he has to pay the bill, and Xianglin came here with Tanshin, so he can't just leave Xianglin and leave, right? Fortunately, little Sakura was also smart at this time. When she saw Naruto coming in, she just made an excuse and left. Instead of being embarrassed here, it's better to leave the space to themselves. Obviously, she also knew that at this time, she couldn't be a light bulb. So now here, only him and four lovely girls are left. Cool. Why do good girls help you speak? Ino complained at this point. That's all for Hinata, and now this new sister is also helping him speak. I always feel that he will become more and more arbitrary in the future. You're a good girl too, aren't you, just singing against me? With his own people present, he spoke more naturally and directly. Anyway, they all already knew his intentions, so he didn't have anything to worry about. All kinds of molesting would be fine. It's not that you are too messy. Ino complained loudly in displeasure, sounding like she was complaining about Naruto's rude words just now. But in fact, everyone knows that what she refers to as chaos is something else. When they were away, he suddenly changed a genin from Kusanagi village, who was supposed to be taking the exam, into his sister. Suddenly entered Xiaoli's infirmary without authorization to perform extremely difficult operations on him. Besides, the big explosion in the Death Forest was caused by you, right? Ino glared at Naruto angrily, but he couldn't hide the worry in his eyes. The big snake at that time was actually seen by many candidates. Even some students saw Konoha shinobi in uniform attacking the snake. This is obviously not the content of the test. Even Jonin had a hard time with that snake. But compared to that, there are obviously more people who heard the roar, and it is estimated that most of Konoha heard it. People who don't know may think it is an earthquake or something. But she is very clear that that chakra is Naruto's. Well, it's me, X4. But at this time, Naruto did not deny it, and nodded directly, which made the expressions of the four girls start to become a little weird, but they almost had different expressions. Ino was a little worried, but also a little relieved. Hinata and Tanshin were purely worried, and Xianglin was purely relieved, and even more at ease. Ino thinks so, mainly because the chakra she perceives is very familiar and has not been confirmed yet. Hinata and Neji had white A's, so the members of their team at the time actually saw the situation here, and they all saw Naruto's tailed beast. Song is very polite and pretends not to know. As for Xianglin, she realized that it was not a coincidence that Naruto appeared next to the commotion before, but because he caused the commotion in the first place. But because of this, his strong strength naturally made Xianglin feel more at ease now. My big brother is so strong, what's wrong? But for other girls, that's not the case. You are violating the exam rules like this, and there seems to be something more serious. Asking for flowers. Well, Ino is right. I heard Neji say before, you were hitting the snake, it was too dangerous. If you were found out, you would be arrested, right? Not only Ino, even Tanshin couldn't help complaining to Naruto at this time. Of course, anyone could hear the worry in the tone. Hinata on the side didn't speak, but she had the same expression. They all knew it was Naruto's hand. But in the situation of destroying the environment, who knows if he is really facing the snake or the person? If he is dealing with Konoha's ninja, wouldn't that be a disaster? Although they felt that the snake should not belong to Konoha, it might be Konoha's enemy, but they were not absolutely sure, and they didn't dare to guess randomly, so they didn't dare to ask until now. 0.0. Don't worry, I was just helping Miss Anko to deal with the enemy, Orochimaru, one of the Sennin, a disciple of the third generation, but that was already a traitor. That's good. Eh? Sannin? You mean one of the Sannin who is as famous as Master Tsunade? Why do you seem to be even more surprised when you hear this? Naruto was a little depressed, but he generally understood that Tsunade's status among their female ninjas might be higher than he imagined. Then are you okay? Did you get hurt? I heard that person is poisonous. Did you touch him? Did you take a good bath? It's just that what made him even more helpless was that these two little girls, as if they were treating some patients, left and right on the examiner's arms, neck, stomach and other places. The appearance of the assistant nurse made him a little dumbfounded. Of course, I was also a little happy. These two girls, who say they are indifferent, are actually very worried about him. Don't worry, it's all right. That's good, but when did you get so good with Examiner Mitarashi? You still have to take a bite of Miss Anko. Well, I slipped my tongue. Forget it. Let me tell you, about a year and a half ago, I met Sister Anko, and she was still watching me at that time. Surveillance? X-Quan 4. Chapter 86, Son of the Fourth Generation. Forget it. Let me tell you, about a year and a half ago, I met Miss Anko, and she was watching me at that time. Surveillance? X4. When they heard this word, all the four girls present couldn't help asking, and they all got closer, almost sticking to Naruto. Just now, when I saw Naruto being handled by Ino and Tanshin, Xianglin also wanted to go up, but because of face, Hinata was naturally even more so. Even if there were no other people around, she was too embarrassed to take the initiative to touch Naruto. But this time, when she heard the dangerous word surveillance, she really couldn't help it. Why did Examiner Mitarashi monitor Naruto-kun? This is not a good word. Only those who are suspected will have the need to be monitored. 490. I told you not to worry so much. Am I fine now? And my relationship with Miss Anko is very good. About the same as you guys. Looking at their worried faces, Naruto couldn't help but smile, then put his hands on their heads and touched them. It's just that the reactions are a little different. When Xianglin and Hinata were touched, they were a little shy, blushing and lowered their heads, and silently accepted it, but the other two, although their faces were also a little hot, just shook them off. His people. Don't change the subject, you haven't said why you were being watched. By the way, you are having an affair with the examiner too. No wonder ChoJi hesitated to tell me what happened. Brother-in-law, you have worked hard. Naruto recalled the scene of course, and couldn't help but shed a cold sweat. At the beginning, I hugged Anko as a tail beast, but I didn't when I used the tailed beast bomb, but I hugged her again after the end, so ChoJi should have really seen it. No wonder I didn't make it clear to her. The friendship between men is sometimes quite reliable, but at this time, it shouldn't matter if I told them. Anyway, I'll know sooner or later. You should know that my constitution is quite special, and chakra is also very strong. The reason why I can finish painting at such a fast speed is inseparable from being able to use a lot of shadow clone. Well, of course we all know. What's wrong? Is he trying to show off here? Ino gave Naruto an annoyed look. Of course, she also knew that Naruto was not such a person. He would not say meaningless things at this time. She was just complaining that he changed the subject, and wanted to put aside the attention of the examiner Mitarashi. Actually, there is an existence called tailed beast sealed in my body. There are 9 tailed beasts in the world. They are named according to the number of their tails. Each of them has an extremely huge chakra. They are all the collection of chakra. Even if it dies for a while, it will recover in place. This one in my body is called 9 tails, which is the most powerful one. Part of my strength comes from it. Well, I was hostile when I was young, and the main reason is because of it. X4. After hearing this sentence, the 4 girls all fell into silence, and things began to get complicated. Not to mention Ino and Hinata, even Tenten and Xianglin, who met later, could feel the helplessness in Naruto's tone at this moment. Although he said it in a very relaxed tone, everyone can know that his mood should actually be quite depressed. But Ino and Hinata still knew Naruto's character before. He was careless and a little silly, yelling all day long. His grades were not good, and he played pranks everywhere to attract attention. After seeing Naruto's change later, Ino still felt that the former Naruto may be playing crazy or something. But now look, maybe that way of life is more relaxed. Even though you are a genius, but pretending to be an idiot, it is easier to live. Well, Ino's imagination is relatively rich, and the possibility of this is actually relatively large, at least compared to time travel or something. It is much larger. But it's normal for tailed beasts to be hated by people. Except for Xianglin just now. You will know how the 4th Hokage died, right? Well, I heard that when he was facing the monster attacking Konoha, he died with the monster. Eh? Ino said it almost without thinking about it. This matter is well known in Konoha. Why did Naruto suddenly mention this matter? But if you think about it carefully, isn't this just connected with the monster he mentioned? Could it be that monster is 9 tails? Well, he sealed 9 tails into me as a baby. Regarding Ino's conjecture, Naruto nodded, did not hide anything, and said it directly. This is too much. Do you have to seal it into your body? Yeah, why do you treat babies like this? Don't tell me you must have babies. Immediately, Ino and Danshin couldn't help complaining about it, and they didn't doubt what Naruto said, which seemed like a fantasy. Of course, Naruto wouldn't tell them if he doubted it. The girls cultivated by Konoha are basically very innocent, and they have to wait until they grow up. Although this greenhouse cultivation method may suffer some disadvantages in the early stage, it is still helpful in the later stage. Yes, it is more suitable for them. It's just that both of them felt that this so-called hero was too much. Fortunately, they used to think that Lord 4th Generation was a great person who gave up his life for the village. But Hinata and Xiang 5.5 did not speak, but continued to keep silent as before. But this time, it wasn't because they were more introverted, but because they all thought of a possibility. Xianglin understands the constitution of the Uzumaki clan, so she already guessed why 9 tails was sealed in Naruto. And Hinata, she knows Naruto's identity. That's not true. As long as the constitution is suitable, adults are fine, but at that time he chose to seal the tailed beast into his newborn son's body. Huh? X3, newborn son. That is to say? Exclamation mark. After all, my mother is the 9 tails JinchuRiki of the previous generation. X4. He is Lord 4th Hokage's son? Chapter 87. He wants to destroy Konoha. Naruto. X2. Naruto-kun. GG. I said you don't need to look like you're about to cry. I really don't feel bad. Don't think so. Don't worry. Putting his hands on the small heads of these 4 girls, and gently touching each of them, Naruto explained with some dumbfounding. Fortunately, this time Tenten and Ino did not avoid it, but obediently let him touch it, so he was also a little happy, and took the opportunity to touch it more. In fact, he himself didn't feel anything about this tragic life experience, although he met many people who looked at him with cynicism, hostility and disdain when he first time traveled over, but he himself knew what was going on, and he was a mature adult in his heart, so he wouldn't worry about such a trivial matter and feel angry. After all, this kind of feeling is like letting a person who has nothing in the first place suddenly win a lottery ticket with a sky-high price. Would you be angry because of a few envious and hated people? 24. What's more, He is not only possessed by the male protagonist Naruto, but also has a cheat like the system, which is really not too sweet. But of course they don't know about this kind of thing. They all felt that Naruto was forcing a smile, or maybe it was because he was used to such painful things, so he responded so calmly. He must have suffered a lot in the past. When they thought of this possibility, they would feel so sad. So Naruto didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Is that why you don't want to be a ninja? Ino couldn't help asking. His voice was much softer than before, with a more feminine taste. Shortly before graduation, she also asked Naruto, although he said that he didn't want to be a ninja, but she didn't expect him to do so at that time. She thought Naruto was really greedy for enjoyment. But now it seems that it is also because of the influence of parents. Maybe there is a part of it. After all, I don't want to be a great and selfless person like them. I am still very selfish. I want to be able to stay with people who I like and who like me forever. X4. Have to say, the atmosphere is really a very important thing. If you usually say this sentence, maybe it will only be regarded as mere gibberish by them. But the effect of saying this sentence now is infinitely stronger. Maternal love does not necessarily have to be found in mothers. It is easy to have in girls, especially boys who have a good impression of them. Naruto's flirtatiousness is a headache for them. Which girl would accept her other half's flirtatiousness so easily? And it's really hard to accept something with other girls. But now, after knowing Naruto's identity, the previous complaints have gradually turned into distress and understanding. Of course, this is not the reason for him to be bothered, but he can still understand why he attaches so much importance to the important girl around him. Actually, I also learned about these things from the chakra they left in my body, including the Uzumaki clan. I don't know much about it myself, but I finally met you now, Xianglin. Naruto smiled gently, and put his hand on Xianglin's small face and touched it lightly. Although Xianglin felt shy, she obediently let Naruto touch it. Well, I'm also very fortunate to have met Big Brother. Speaking of which, Big Brother, your mother, how did she die? It's hard for her to ask this sentence, because it means stabbing Naruto with a knife again, which is very uncomfortable. When I sealed 9 tails into my body, I was killed by 9 tails together with my father, and I successfully sealed 9 tails before I died. Must die. Naruto shrugged his shoulders easily, looking very free and easy. With this look, the girls felt even more uncomfortable. There's no need to be so exaggerated, it's just the previous life. He doesn't care about it, and it's not true that he traveled from infancy, but even if he did, he shouldn't care too much. It's probably about the same as now. The thoughts of adults will not be changed so easily. They may have a lot of Buddhism, and they will not live so badly. She has come to Konoha since she was very young. She came here as a container for tailed beasts. After all, tailed beasts are too powerful. If she wants to be a JinchuRiki, she must have a strong Yamato and special chakra. And the constitution of the Uzumaki family is very good, with strong vitality and chakra, and a very strong sealing technique. It is the most suitable JinchuRiki as a tailed beast. The first 9 tails JinchuRiki is from the Uzumaki family. Uzumaki Mito is wife of first Hokage. X4. It turned out to be like this. No wonder. Not only the other girls, but even Xianglin understands why her tribe has become so rare and powerful. It can even be compared to Konoha's Ukiyo-Eto wave and Hyuga. The idea of expansion, and the number of people is not too large, so it will naturally be targeted. Whether it's my mother, the child Xianglin, or her mother, they are all victims of this constitution, so I don't want to take care of those things anymore. It's good to be a common person, and now that I'm rich, I'm stronger, and I have so many lovely girls around me, I think life is still very happy. Haha tilde. When Naruto said this, he laughed, and then he spread his hands directly, and embraced all 4 girls into his arms, holding them tightly. The girls were naturally ashamed and angry. I didn't expect Naruto to take this opportunity to do such a thing. It's too cunning. But Ino and Tanshin only struggled symbolically. For Hinata, she was completely stunned and froze in embarrassment. For Xianglin, she was also very shy. But he took the initiative to stretch out his hands and hugged Naruto. If you can accept it, that would be great. Tilde. It's really cunning to say this at this time, but then again, why did that Orochimaru appear in the Chunin exam? Oh, he wants to destroy Konoha. What? X4. Chapter 88. Konoha's hero. Wait. Destroy Konoha? Seriously? After listening to Naruto's words, Ino directly pulled his hand away excitedly, and then asked with wide-eyed eyes. This guy, why did he say such an important thing now, and he still said it so lightly? Of course, he is Konoha's S-rank rebellious ninja. He is Konoha's enemy. Isn't it normal to have such a purpose? However, Naruto still didn't take it seriously, and still used a very relaxed tone, which made the girls feel a little anxious for him. This is a legendary level rebel who wants to destroy Konoha. How can he be so calm? Should I talk to the 3rd generation about this kind of thing? Halfway through the speech, Ino realized that what he said was really nonsense. Orochimaru has already caused such a big battle, even they know it. How could the adults of 3rd generation not know about it? Don't worry, Konoha has already prepared. Your father and the Jonins in the village have generally been notified. They are probably ready to face the battle at any time. Don't worry. Naruto comforted everyone with a smile, and the effect was not bad. At least they were all relieved when they heard that Konoha had already prepared. Except for Xianglin, who has experienced the war. The remaining 3 people all grew up in the hotbed of Konoha, and naturally they were all shocked and frightened by this kind of thing. Of course, Xianglin, the same is true for Lin. If the habitat he finally found is destroyed again, it will be too uncomfortable. But even so, it is still very dangerous. Since he intends to destroy Konoha, there should be other means. But after all, the matter has not been resolved. They are still quite worried, especially for such a big matter. It is impossible for him to come alone, right? Well, there are allies. Who is the ally? Naruto, do you know? Ino immediately asked, and Tantan beside him was not to be outdone. This time he directly grabbed Naruto's hand and asked. In this way, I can feel at ease. Anyway, I've already been hugged just now, so even if I get a little closer, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Whoever dares to attack Konoha, besides those who belong to the 5 major ninja villages. Sand Shinobi, X4. As soon as Naruto's words came out, the 4 of them felt as if their heads had been shaken, and the same word appeared in their minds at the same time, and they yelled out loudly. Yes, who dares to attack Konoha, apart from ninja village of the same level, which other force would dare to act like this? But, isn't Sand Shinobi an ally of Konoha? Such a unilateral move will be condemned by a large fishing boat. Well, taking advantage of this Chunin exam opportunity, many businessmen, politicians and other celebrities from other villages will come to Konoha to watch. Generally speaking, it is estimated that they will hypnosis first, and maybe they will try their best during the battle. Avoid hurting them, but when the war ends, the negative impression on Konoha's side will definitely be even greater. Well, that's it, but Konoha's fighting power is much stronger, so don't worry, there is absolutely no possibility of losing. That's good. After hearing Naruto's analysis like this, everyone was nervous at first, but when they heard the last change in the subject, they finally breathed a sigh of relief, and couldn't help but blame Naruto a little bit. Since this is the case, then don't scare them, it was explained at the beginning. But if that's the case, why are they still working with Orochimaru? But the problem arises again. According to Naruto, Konoha seems to have a lot of advantages. Since there is such an obvious gap in comparison, why do people from Sand Shinobi still cooperate with Orochimaru? Is Fenning out of his mind? There are several reasons, but it doesn't really matter, so let's not talk about it. Anyway, when you know the ending, Konoha will definitely win. Seeing the worried faces of several people again, Naruto also shrugged his shoulders and answered casually, looking very carefree. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense for these girls to know this. The ending is definitely doomed. Sand Shinobi lost in the original book. This time, it will only lose even worse. He didn't want to fully expose his strength so early, although he had already exposed part of it when he dealt with Orochimaru before. This could only be regarded as internal. Konoha's people are not so stupid. They will spread this kind of news everywhere. With Orochimaru's technology, it's easy to restore one hand, and it's not like the original book. The hand is sealed, so outsiders won't. I believe a child can abuse Orochimaru like this. If you really believe it, then I'm afraid Akatsuki will come to Konoha to catch him earlier, and it is estimated that he will come in a group. But the performance is still necessary, and the performance must be exaggerated. People on Konoha's side basically know him as a cartoonist, but that's all. If you want to increase popularity and sales, you have to break the circle. What chance is there? A better chance to show off than this time. He needs to show a certain amount of fighting power, and at the same time show an excellent appearance. It is best to be able to become Konoha's hero, but it is not just relying on absolute fighting power to show it. The way, it's all people come up with. As long as you think about it, there are still many solutions. And he has already thought of a lot of ways, without exposing himself too much. He can also earn a lot of reputation. Don't play charades. That's right. What we want to hear is the specific situation. Yong. Naruto-kun, can you tell us something? Big brother, can you tell me the specific reason? What makes him a little depressed is that these little girls seem to have a strong desire for knowledge. Even Xianglin and even Hinata couldn't help asking him. But this is also very normal. After all, the conversation suddenly stopped at a critical moment. This kind of feeling is also quite uncomfortable. Well, in fact, there is a more important reason, because they misjudge their own masters, thinking that putting JinchuRiki in Konoha would be safe. JinchuRiki? Does Sand Shinobi have JinchuRiki too? Well, that's Gaara, huh? X4. Chapter 89 Dirty P Transactions. Gaara ... Is that the one who beat up Big Brother your friend before? Well, it's him, although I haven't seen it yet, but from Shikamaru's description, the only person who can manipulate sand like that is Sand Shinobi's one-tailed JinchuRiki. Just listen to the story, eat while listening, don't waste it. Naruto joked with a smile, then sat a little forward, sat on the cushion in the middle, picked up a pair of chopsticks, picked up a piece of meat and ate slowly, and motioned for them to come over and continue eating. Anyway, there are still so many barbecues left, isn't it too wasteful not to eat? Of course. His casual attitude made the girls present feel a little dumbfounded and a little angry. Even if he was able to handle it with ease, how could he be so calm about such a serious matter? It's just that after Hinata saw this scene now, she couldn't help but feel hot on her face. She couldn't help holding her cheeks with both hands, resting her head shyly, and stepped back a little. Because the chopsticks that Naruto is holding now are the ones she used just now. I'm not in the mood to eat it. That is to say, that Gaara's strength is so strong because he is a JinchuRiki, right? Then his strength can be about the same as yours. Ino 140 also caught a glimpse of Hinata's expression, but he didn't pay attention, but glared at Naruto angrily, and complained a little. They have all seen Gaara's strength today. He is very powerful. After being beaten like Xiaoli who opened the fifth gate, he was able to persist in the end. Could it be that this is the history of Renzulai? But I always feel that a movement Naruto made before seems to be much more terrifying than him. How is it possible? He is barely at the level of Jonin. If he really wants to show his strength, he should be transformed into a tailed beast. Using his body as a medium, he can fully release the power of the tailed beast. The power is almost the same as that of a real beast. It's the same level as the tailed beast. By then, the strength will be cage level, and it may start to wreak havoc with just a random move. Then, what should I do then? Are you going to change back to that tailed beast too? Ino's personality is the same as her appearance, impatient. After hearing Naruto's words, she couldn't help asking questions immediately, leaving no chance and no need for others to ask. But this time, she was so excited that she shook Naruto's arm, shaking like Joe. Although Naruto said that Konoha has an absolute advantage, but under this advantage, how many houses will be destroyed, and more importantly, how many people will die? Not only ninjas, but also civilians, and tourists and dignitaries from outside. There are all those undead monsters. Even if they are defeated in the end, if most of the Konohas are destroyed, it will be very uncomfortable. I don't need it. The tailed beast is very destructive. I'm afraid that Konoha will be flattened at that time. Don't worry, it is very easy to deal with Shukaku. I can easily deal with it with a shadow clone. X4. With such an exaggerated statement, I always feel that he is bragging. But he did beat Orochimaru away easily, and he was able to unleash such a powerful attack. Maybe that's the so-called tail beastization. With a few extra rounds of that kind of attack, it might really not be difficult to raise Konoha to the ground. Well, in fact, Orochimaru himself didn't think he could destroy Konoha, or he didn't care at all, whether Konoha won or San Shinobi won. In fact, he himself doesn't care. Is that so? Then why would he do that? Who knows? It seems that he came back to take Sasuke's body. Maybe he didn't come back for a long time. Maybe he just got bored and wanted a new look, so he did it. 4. Are you just bored and want to destroy other people's homes? The value of this kind of person feels that it is too different from theirs. But Naruto thinks it's nothing. People like Orochimaru do whatever they want. If they find it interesting, they will want to engage in it. Maybe there will be some transactions secretly, which is normal. It's really interesting that Fenning would agree to cooperate with him so easily. When he said this, Naruto smiled, and his tone was very relaxed, as if he really said it casually. Of course, why Kazekage agreed. Naruto is very clear. After all, the dead will never betray Tilda. Why do you say that? Fourth, Kazekage Ryuosha is a very cautious person. Unless he is absolutely sure, otherwise, he would not agree to such a thing. But this time he is so fully prepared and decisive, it seems like he has tried his best. Not so much that he thinks he can defeat Konoha, but rather, he seems to be forced. How could Kazekage be forced? Who knows? I'm just guessing. Considering the extreme situation, Ryuosha has been quietly slaughtered by Orochimaru, and then Orochimaru disguised himself as him, and maybe cooperated with him to attack Konoha. X4. Is this conjecture too exaggerated? After all, he is also the shadow of a village, maybe at the same level as Mr. Hokage. Is it so easy to be assassinated? However, if you think about it carefully, if this is really the case, then everything that is difficult to explain now is all reasonable. Of course, just think about this kind of thing casually, don't take it seriously. Then what should we do now? Naruto, can't we just do nothing? It's fine if you don't have to do it. What are you going to do? The more you do, the more mistakes you make. Just pretend you don't know. Then what are you telling us about this? Isn't that what you want to ask yourself? Well, let's eat more. After eating all of them, you will grow up white and fat. This is what you have to do. Raise a ghost. Let's go. Eat it by yourself. That's right. Hinata, Xianglin, let's go. X2. It's really fast to go. So much meat will be wasted. Looking around and realizing that he was the only one left, Naruto let out a sigh of emotion, and then continued to eat slowly. How about you come over and have some food? But at this time, Naruto suddenly turned his head to the corner of the room, and silently said something inexplicable to the completely empty place. Teacher read. When did you find out? But after a while, a graceful figure suddenly appeared out of nowhere from White's wall. A mature, beautiful woman with a good figure appeared there, and asked Naruto tangledly. Chapter 90, The Cold Female Teacher Falls into the Magic Kiln. Who knows, maybe it's because I have a special feeling for beautiful women. Let's eat something. Naruto responded with a smile, then directly took out a new set of tableware from the cabinet next to it, and put it on the opposite side. Fortunately, they are all girls, and they are very clean. If they get a little dirty, they can be wiped clean with paper. What's more, they eat barbecue, so there is no soup, so the table is basically useless now. Almost. Thanks. Silently staring at Naruto for a while, the newly appeared glamorous woman nodded, thanked Naruto, then sat down with her legs sideways, took a mouthful silently, and then put down her chopsticks. Continued to look at Naruto silently, without saying a word. Naruto also ate with a smile, occasionally looked at her side, but did not speak. To be exact, he himself didn't know what to say. A little embarrassing. If I knew it, I wouldn't call her. According to the previous situation, the other party came here, probably to monitor him again. It's normal. The third generation has sent no one to know how many people have been sent to protect him, and it has happened before, especially about 1/3 of the Jonin and the Jonin have come to take turns, sometimes two together. But in fact, this time it wasn't what third generation intended, but what she wanted to do. Originally passed the exam, the teacher should be with the 3 students. It is normal to reward a meal, but this time Naruto gave him the preemption. And it might not be so convenient to get together now. Sasuke and Xiaolin are still lying down, but Hong felt that it was still necessary to come here to meet this JinchuRiki in person. After all, he is still Hinata's boyfriend. It's just that I didn't expect to hear so many things, and it seems that Naruto has discovered it a long time ago. It was the son of the 4th generation, it was the tailed beast, and it was the plot of Orochimaru heffing, which made her a little confused. Naruto, is what you told those little girls just now true? But she couldn't help but speak. These things may not even be known to the adults of third generation. Are you sure it is true? Or, in fact, because she knew she was here, did she say it on purpose? Well, basically it's all true, but it doesn't make sense for you to ask me. The truth is the truth. If it's a lie, I can't possibly tell you, right? After hearing Naruto's sarcastic words, Hong was also speechless. She was obviously just a child. Why did she feel so frivolous when she spoke? And it was so unpredictable that she didn't even know how to answer it. But she had been listening the whole time just now, and she also understood that this kid is a playboy, and it is normal to say such sweet words. It makes sense, but you said it in front of Hinata, so I don't think you should be lying. Well, it should be, but Teacher Hong, if you ask this kind of question, it's actually the same as asking whether a man will cheat. There is no definite answer. This kid, why did he lead the topic in that direction again and again? Even though Hong's temper was relatively good, he couldn't help but feel a little annoyed at this moment. She is not married, and she doesn't even have a boyfriend, so how could she know such a thing? And if Konoha's situation is really like what he said now, then now is not the time to talk about such things at all. Be sure to report it to the third generation master. Oh, by the way, if you want to tell third generation these things, Mr. Hong, there's no need for that, because the old man already knew about it. Does he have the ability to read minds, like the Yamanaka family? It's not that I have the ability to read minds, it's Teacher Hong. You have expressed everything in your heart on your face. I thought you should be the kind of person who is more cold and introverted. I didn't expect that the situation might be a bit opposite. It seems to be more impulsive. It seems that I have just been promoted to Jonin and I want to do something to prove myself, but it's better to be calm. Thank you for your hospitality. Excuse me. After being silent for a while, Hong suppressed the anger in his heart, lowered his voice to say thank you, and then instantly turned into a cloud of smoke and disappeared into the room. Asking for flowers. The more she listened, the more annoyed she became. Hong was really afraid that she couldn't help it, so she directly attacked this 12-year-old boy. But no matter what, let's tell the third generation about the mission first. Women, all of them like to come here without authorization, and then leave without authorization. Even the girls who can accompany them to the end are also taken away. It seems that today is unlucky. Forget it. I still have something to do tonight, or go catch up on the manuscript first. The situation is roughly like this, Lord Third Generation, although I know that the source of the information is only from Uzumaki Naruto, which is not very credible. But since his identity may be rather special, I'm here to report. Well, I know, your information is accurate, and Naruto is not lying. So that means San Shinobi is really going to attack us? After hearing the words of the white-haired old man wearing a hat, Hong couldn't help but tremble slightly. This, such an important thing, is actually true? So fenning could it be that? The probability of an attack is indeed very high. According to the secret report from the front, the recent preparations and movements of San Shinobi are indeed a bit strange. Naruto's guess is very bold, but it is not impossible. Even the adults of third generation agree with what Naruto said. Of course, This kind of thing is meaningless without clear evidence, so for the time being, Master Third Generation, tonight I want to go to the Sand Shinobi Mansion to search for information. This task is very difficult. I have another candidate here. Are you sure? Yes, I am confident that with my illusion, I can sneak in successfully. A child said so many things like this today, she still has to prove it with her own eyes. Chapter 91, Male and Female Teachers Left and Right. Hee, Mr. Baki was joking, then the plan will be the same as before. Of course, Mr. Do. Give my regards to Mr. Orochimaru. Our cooperation will be very pleasant. I didn't expect it to be as Naruto said. Orochimaru joined forces with Sand Shinobi, and even arranged moles like Konoha. Quietly hiding behind a wall, Hong couldn't help murmuring while listening to the two ninjas outside who were casually talking about deals in the middle of the courtyard under the moonlight. If she can't wait to rush up, catch them, and hand them over to Lord Third Generation. But it's a pity, no matter how impulsive she is, she also understands that now is not the time at all. This guy named Do, she knows, is Konoha's ninja, and he is also one of the people who participated in the Chunin exam this time. He obviously passed the previous exam, but he voluntarily abstained during the battle, and it seems that there are many time. Now it seems that he is a spy, and his strength is quite impressive. Just now, the genin named Toss from Yinian village came over, but was killed by a monster. The appearance of the monster was not clear to 24, but he found a giant hand of sand coming out of it! Apparently, this monster is what Naruto called one-tail crane before. Looking at the current state, it is probably not a complete body, only a small part has come out. It is already so strong, and until just now, this chakra is still gradually strengthening. But all of a sudden, the aura subsided, returning to the initial situation. It should be under control. But this breath is extremely unstable, and she has also seen the situation of Gaara before. And there have been signs of this danger before. Could it be that this is because the constitution is not suitable as a JinchuRiki? But obviously Naruto. The constitution of the Uzumaki family is very good, with strong vitality and chakra, and a very strong sealing technique. It is the most suitable JinchuRiki as a tail beast. Alas, I really took it for granted. Now Hong couldn't help but think of the blonde boy with a bright sunny smile on his face in that barbecue restaurant before, and Chunin couldn't help feeling a little apologetic. Originally, she had a relatively bad impression of Naruto. After all, she does have some talents, but she will not rely solely on talents, but will work hard to practice, and now she can become a jonin. You must know that the practice of illusion is more difficult than physical ninjutsu, and mental matters are very dangerous and painful. That's why she doesn't like Naruto, a kid who plays pranks all day long, thinks he likes to talk big, and doesn't want to make progress. Although she has never seen it before, but the colleagues around him commented on him like this, she naturally believed it. It's just that I didn't expect that after meeting, I feel completely different, and the reputation has changed a lot in the past 2 years, from an ignorant kid to a very talented and excellent. Well, it's still a brat. Alas, if I knew this earlier, I should have asked more information from her. Maybe he knew more, and judging by his personality, I always felt that no matter what I asked him, he would basically answer and not I didn't mean to hide it. Even said such flirtatious words. Do you think she is those little girls? The little boy is really brave now, she is older than him more than doubled. Of course, that kind of teasing is fine, it's just a brat. Although I don't know where he got so much information, but the actual combat is still too far behind. Talking about war on paper is completely different from going through life and death. She is now carrying out an extremely dangerous mission. There are probably more than 10 Sand Shinobi in this place, and this Konoha spy named Do. If she fights head-on, she may have no chance of winning at all. After all, the man named Baki should also belong to Sand Shinobi. The veteran jonin is gone, and she is not necessarily an opponent in a single battle, not to mention there are so many potential threats. But she was very fortunate that it was her who came, not the originally scheduled Moonlight Gale that Lord Third Generation said. Although she didn't look down on him, if she fought head-on, it might really be more ominous. It is best to sneak in quietly like her. Now, the conversation between these two people is almost over, and it is conceivable that they will leave later. What is certain is that in the middle of the third test of the Chunin exam, the raid will begin. First, the Nirvana abode technique was used to sleep most of the audience present, and then a large-scale raid began. Obviously, JinchuRiki's tailed beast transformation was determined to be placed in the Chunin examination venue, and there, the audience who fell asleep were also taken as hostages. People from Sand Shinobi and Yinian definitely don't care that much. Even if some of them really died, it's mainly Konoha's problem, and Konoha's side may still need to protect those people and try not to let them get hurt. Immediately afterwards, let Gaara perform a complete tail beast transformation, and then start using super wide-scale destructive ninjutsu, and the likelihood of those predictions almost exactly as predicted by Naruto. Of course, it's too late to think about these things now. Let's wait until they leave. Oh, by the way, Mr. Baki, Do you want me to help you solve the bugs in the dark? Hee. The visitor is a guest, so there is no reason to let only the guests do it. Or, let's come together tilde. Oops. Hearing Baki's last words, and his 187 staring eyes suddenly, Hong couldn't help but tremble violently, and then hurriedly ran towards the door. Damn, it was still discovered. When? So it's the newly promoted illusionist Xianglin. No wonder even I almost confused the past illusionist. It's so powerful, but it's a pity. Your skills are a little weaker, and your breath is still a bit more obvious, but it's a pity. Please stay here. Got double-teamed. Glancing at the pocket in front, and then at Baki behind him, Hong could only be forced to take out 2 kunai in his hands at this time, trying to make a final resistance. But she is very clear that her own strength is no longer enough to resist this kind of power. Alas, she is only to blame for her lack of academic skills and being too impulsive. If I had known earlier, I would have apologized to Naruto a little bit, and the information I got was in vain. Ah, is that how we are destined? Can this also happen? What? X3. But at this time, a slightly immature voice suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and a blonde figure appeared beside Hong in an instant, making the 3 people present dumbfounded. Chapter 92 Naruto, I am looking for your JinchuRiki tilde. Who? The moment he saw this figure appear, Baki immediately took a step back subconsciously, and then shouted loudly, but when he saw clearly that the person who came was just a young boy who looked immature, his eyes couldn't help but widen even further. Big. What a joke. Such a little brat can hide here without making a sound under their surveillance, and he doesn't even know how the other party moved here. Are you? Uzumaki Naruto. On the other side, Do recognized Naruto, but his voice was not as calm as before, but with a hint of caution and fear. Is he the boy who cut off Lord Orochimaru's arm? Well, how are you all actually? I also met you by chance. I didn't really want to show up, but you can continue. X3. What the hell is this talking about? In the middle of the night, instead of sleeping at my own home, I came here on purpose, and showed up at such a critical moment, saying that I just happened to pass by here? Doesn't he even want to find an excuse? So let's go, Miss Hong. X2. But what Naruto did next was even more confusing. He immediately grabbed Hong's hand, then smiled and walked slowly towards the inner room. Stop. Of course, after walking 2 steps, they were stopped. Baki, who was stunned for a moment, yelled at them immediately after he realized his reaction. As soon as his voice sounded, many voices rang out from the surroundings, one after another. More than a dozen figures appeared around Naruto and Hong, and surrounded them. What a joke. It's like he doesn't really exist. Don't be so enthusiastic. I just want to come and find someone. Vertical bar tilde. How could there be someone you want to find here? And tell your purpose. Otherwise, I can only be rude to you. For Naruto's frivolous attitude, Baki is naturally quite displeased. If it was someone else, he would have done it long ago. But the problem is that the appearance of this little ghost just now is really too weird. I know from experience and instinct that this kind of person is very dangerous and cannot be approached rashly. I'm looking for your JinchuRiki. XN. It's just that when his words came out, the people who were already very vigilant became even more vigilant, and they couldn't help but subconsciously palpitate. Looking for their JinchuRiki? Naruto, hurry up and leave. Now is not the time to talk about this. Even Hong was a little dumbfounded by Naruto's words, so she couldn't help but whispered to Naruto. He had already fought to the death, but was suddenly interrupted by Naruto, and he held his hand suddenly. Hong was of course bewildered. Is it really appropriate to do such a thing at this time? Of course. She soon realized that it was probably because she was afraid that she would freeze in place and be attacked by surprise or something. She didn't expect her to be so cumbersome. But even so, the most important thing now is to go back and follow. Don't you still want to go back and report to the 3rd generation project? Didn't I tell you? He already knew. He was still the same as before, as if he could read minds. He spoke out all of her thoughts at once. Could it be that she has expressed all the things in her heart this time? But what he said, does it mean that she is the same as before, and has not improved at all? There is a big difference in age next year, but at this time, Hong feels that when she is in front of Naruto, it seems that the 2 people's age, identity, status, etc. have all been reversed, and there is no convincing force at all. It's a bit embarrassing to be reprimanded by the other party. Forget it, leave the next thing to Naruto. She feels that she dare not do anything now. It seems that it is easy to make mistakes. What? XN. But for Hong, the things that can be relieved are not so comfortable when they fall into the ears of Sand Shinobi. How can this be? 3rd Hokage already knew about this? Are they really prepared enough? Originally, Sand Shinobi thought that they had already prepared for it, and they did it very covertly. No one would find out. But now, did the 3rd Hokage already find out? Okay, don't be so nervous. It's not a big deal. Didn't you Fenning already know about it? It's inevitable. It won't have any impact, and war can't be avoided. XN. Indeed, it has come to this point. Even if the other party finds out, there is nothing they can do. The only way is to go to war. But the question is, why did it feel so strange when this sentence came out of this boy's mouth? Their awareness is actually not as good as that of a child. I don't know what you're talking about. Why did you come to Gaara? Of course, they would definitely not admit to the things they just said. After all, eavesdropping is eavesdropping, and what they say in private is not considered evidence. On the bright side, it is stupid. So now Baki changed the subject, turned to the customer, and asked Naruto's purpose. In any case, the status of this kid is too weird now. We can't let him meet Gaara. It's you? But at this time, a very shocked female voice suddenly came from the direction of the back room. Of course, this voice can't be read. She is still next to Naruto. And there was only one woman living here, Nuo's, originally. Yo Temari, long time no see. XN. Seeing Naruto greet the new girl with a smile, everyone present, including Hong and Du, looked at Naruto with complicated expressions, and then turned their attention to the girl. Did she know this kid? Who hasn't seen you for a long time? By the way, why are you here? Of course, seeing them like this, the most embarrassing thing is myself. Why do you act like they know each other very well? It's nothing, I just came to find your brother. He came out. Uzumaki. Naruto. When he saw the boy in the room who had turned half of his body into a monster and staggered towards him, Naruto also showed the same sunny smile as usual. He didn't want to do anything bad, but came to help his. Chapter 93, I'm a pacifist. Gaara, don't you now? Uzumaki Naruto. As soon as the figure of the monster came out, another voice came from the back room, and a boy with purple marks on his face also came out, and looked at Naruto dumbfounded. Of course, the door of this back room is very wide, otherwise, he would not dare to walk out with Gaara. Even if there is a distance now, he is very worried. But compared to his fear of Gaara, he cares more about why Naruto appears here. He had never seen such a powerful control, but he guessed that Temari might be more memorable. Looks like everything is here. This is your younger brother, Gaara, right? Hello, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. That's right. X2. Is it time to introduce yourself? But speaking of it, it really feels like I haven't heard the title brother for a long time. After all, they have kept a considerable distance from Gaara for a long time, and they dare not get too close. Heard the title. 140. Uzumaki Naruto. Gaara still kept the beast-like voice before, calling Naruto in a low voice. Those sharp cross eyes looked very piercing. Looking at Naruto's eyes, she was also very excited and greedy. This surprised Naruto a bit. Didn't he take the test? How does Gaara know about him? But in fact, what he didn't know was that Gaara had heard the name Naruto no less than 10 times during the exam. Sasuke, this kind of pain is nothing compared to Naruto's original attack. Neji, Master Hinata, your guardian 8 trigrams has become more refined. It seems that Naruto's teaching method is really effective. Tooth, you thought you were Naruto. Xiaoli, only by defeating you can I be qualified to challenge Mr. Naruto. In Konoha's group of people, almost everyone would say the name Naruto and seem to regard him as the most central existence, but such a person did not appear in the Chunin exam. Kankuro, huh? Uzumaki Naruto. Are they talking about that guy? Temari : It must be, that guy is really a special existence among the Konohas. But what made him even more unexpected was that even Temari and Kankuro knew about the existence of Uzumaki Naruto, who they met when they first entered Konoha, and he had already come to the mansion at that time. After careful questioning, I found out that they also fought against Naruto, but they were completely powerless to fight back. They restrained Temari with one move, and easily controlled Kankuro's puppet with thousands of silk threads. The former can understand a little bit, but the latter is too exaggerated. Even Gaara understands how difficult this is, and according to Kankuro, he did it casually. With such a strong opponent, how could he not be excited? He has transformed Kankuro, so he recognizes this figure. Now this is the real Uzumaki Naruto. I really want to kill him now. As long as he kills this person, will he be able to prove the value of his existence? Exclamation mark. Thinking of this, the hostility in Gaara's heart became heavier, the eyes of the beast became much colder, the body squatted down slightly, and the whole person has entered a posture ready to explode at any time. Be careful, Naruto. Hong naturally saw this scene, so she stood in front of Naruto directly, like a mother protecting the child, which made Naruto feel a little dumbfounded. However, I can understand Hong's thinking. Probably because she subconsciously wants to stand in front of him. It seems that she still treats him like a child. She really deserves to be a mature woman. Okay, Miss Hong, I'll take care of it. Just watch it first. Of course, at such a time, there is no need for her to come forward. Naruto exerted a slight force on his hand, and directly pulled Hong back. Hong felt that she had almost no resistance and took 2 steps back, and returned to her position just now. Naruto's hand was like pliers, holding her tightly, although there was no pain, but it didn't move at all. Too much strength. After all, she is also a Jonin. Although she can't compare with Guy's Taijutsu ninja, she should still be able to pass the test in strength. but now she can't even move Naruto's hand position at 10 o'clock. By the way, who told him to call her Miss Hong? Call Teacher Hong. But even if there are thousands of thoughts in my heart, but now is not the time to talk about these things. Let Naruto solve the things here first. She can't. Huh? Careful, be really careful this time. Just when Hong was depressed, the figure of Gaara in front suddenly jumped up, and then grabbed the giant hand on the right hand that had turned into a monster's claw, towards Naruto and Hong. With the coverage area of this giant hand, it is obvious that both of them can be completely buried under the sand if it is smashed down. I know, I said don't worry. But Naruto didn't care about the scene in front of him. Instead, he looked towards Hong with ease, smiled brightly at her, and didn't seem to notice the pause on the side. At this moment, Hong was about to despair. Since you are playing by yourself, let her go. Lest she be caught too. Eh? This is what? The huge paw slapped it down, but it didn't cause any damage at all. On the contrary, the giant claw has been scattered into a pile and scattered on the ground. Whoa! Gaara howled in pain, let out a roar like a beast, and wanted to jump straight up. But at this time, a gold's foot suddenly kicked him in the stomach, knocking him down, and then stepped on the ground. A layer of gold chakra wrapped around Naruto and Hong's body. A gold fox about 3 meters tall appeared, and the powerful chakra once again filled the entire Sand Shinobi mansion instantly, making everyone present feel a sense of urgency, an unprecedented sense of depression. This monster. I'm a pacifist, so it should be considered self-defense. Chapter 94. Among the huge foxes, Naruto still showed the same relaxed smile as before, and seemed to be quite at ease. But it is a pity that no one can laugh along with his joke. Even Hong next to him didn't want to laugh, but looked at the fox-shaped protection around him stupidly, and then looked at Naruto here. In the eyes, the unbelievable look gradually revealed. Is he so strong? She has clearly felt this chakra, it is very powerful, but when she is inside, she feels extremely at ease, as if no matter what happens, this protection will not be broken. But the seemingly terrifying sharp claw just now was vulnerable to a single blow in front of this fox's defense, and instantly turned into a plate of loose sand. No wonder he is so confident. It turned out that he was not joking when he said that he could easily deal with Sand Shinobi's JinchuRiki. Gaara. X2. What? XN. But there is no one else who is more shocked than her. Kankuro and Temari couldn't help shouting Gaara's name immediately, while the others looked at Naruto in disbelief, unable to believe what they saw. Gaara didn't have the strength to fight back. And what is this fox he is wearing now? The embodiment of chakra? But besides Shukaku, how can there be such a huge chakra? No, can't go on like this. Baki immediately gave the people around him a look, and everyone reacted quickly, and then stretched their hands into their arms together, and then took out a kunai at the same time and pointed towards Naruto. But what is a little uncommon is that there is a detonating talisman under each kunai. After Temari and Kankuro saw this scene, they couldn't help closing their eyes and glanced aside, not daring to look at this side. After all, even if this kind of thing doesn't do Gaara too much damage, it still hurts a little to see his companions doing this to their brother. Drink. At the moment when Kyudo hit the fox, everyone stretched out their right index and middle fingers, let out a loud shout, and several violent explosions resounded through the mansion in an instant. At this time, it would obviously cause attention the surrounding residents. Of course, they don't worry so much now. It would be better if Konoha's people came, no matter what. This kid came in by himself now, and even attacked their genin. No matter how they look at it, they are justified. Although, it is a pity that the third generation project has already explained in advance that no matter who it is forbidden to approach the mansion of the Tsunagakure ninjas recently, and to respect their privacy. Obviously, it is considered dead. What? How can it be? This monster. But soon, they discovered that something was not so good, because when the smoke from the detonating talisman dissipated, what was exposed was exactly the same fox as before, with no damage at all, and 2 figures, one big and one small. So many detonating talismans have no effect, and the defense is already comparable to that of a tailed beast. It's really too much. I said that I just came here to find someone. Is there any need to be so exaggerated? Don't do it anymore. When the time comes, you will be disabled for life or something. I won't help you. Naruto looked around at the group of Sand Shinobi who were vigilant and dared not go forward, and complained a little dissatisfied. If I had known it earlier, I would have waited for Gaara to go out and come to him again. And now, this group of people is very verbose. It's not that he wants to save a sick and unlucky examiner in the original work, but he really just thinks that if he finds it early, it's over, and he doesn't like to procrastinate. It's just that he didn't expect that the sick man turned into long legs, and he was given a chance to be a hero to save the beauty. It's a pity that it doesn't make much sense. Hong seems to be a couple with Asuma. He should have been in a relationship by now. It's impossible for him to engage in any kind of cross-cutting and complicated soap operas. That kind of thing annoys him the most up. But the matter has come to this point. There is no point in complaining about this kind of thing. It is better to solve it as soon as possible. Ask for flowers. Thinking of this, Naruto lowered his head, and the huge fox head also lowered, looking at Gaara under his feet. At this time, he still maintains a half-human, half-animal appearance, with a ferocious expression, and a lot of saliva in his open mouth, as if Naruto in front of him is a prey that he has coveted for a long time. It's just here to help you cure it. Don't be nervous and it will be over soon. Looking at the ferocious Gaara, Naruto chuckled. Then the fox bent down, and stretched out the giant claw that was not inferior to Gaara before, towards Gaara's chest. Oops. Did he mean to kill Gaara? But fortunately, soon, their tension eased a little, and they finally felt a little relieved when they raised it. Because the fox's paw just pressed silently, didn't even press down, just touched it lightly. But at this time, Gaara's gaze began to show a somewhat dull look, and the monster posture on his body also began to slowly dissipate, and it didn't take long before he returned to his common appearance. What is this situation? Just touching it, without even using any sealing technique, has it recovered Gaara, which has begun to gradually turn into a tailed beast. Then what's the point of them using Gaara as their secret weapon? Gaara also looked at Naruto in surprise at this time, but in his eyes, there was no fearful hostility in his eyes. Instead, he looked peaceful, and even the cold feeling disappeared. I just want to help you little because you are the same kind. If we meet again at that time, I will not show mercy. Naruto smiled, didn't continue to pay attention to Gaara, but even cancelled the tail beast transformation on his body, and suddenly picked up Hong, who was still dazed, and disappeared in place in an instant, leaving only a dazed face. Forced people. What on earth did he come here for? Chapter 95. Laozi hates this kind of politician the most. Well, Hong, you did a good job on this task. Thank you, Lord Third Generation, for your praise, but the fact that the mission can be completed this time is actually due to Naruto's side. If he hadn't saved me, I should have died by now. Bowing deeply to the old man wearing a hat in front of him, Hong calmly explained what happened just now. Although she was praised, she knew very well that she was really not qualified to be praised, because the performance just now was too bad. Moreover, judging from the appearance of the adults of Third Generation, it should be true that they have already known about this matter. What I have worked so hard and risked my life to do is simply to die. Alas. He hit the nail on the head again. Naruto, thank you this time too. Okay, there's no need for polite words, Mr. Third Generation 610 office. If there is nothing else, I will leave first. Naruto, be polite when talking to the Third Generation master. But, couldn't his attitude towards the Third Generation be a little bit better? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have called him over. Hong turned his gaze to the side of the blonde boy, and there was a hint of complaint in his originally calm eyes. Before, his words were often full of casualness towards the adults of the Third Generation. At first, he thought it was childish talk, but what he didn't expect was that when he saw him head-on, behave even more. Looking at him like this, it seems that he wants to sit directly next to him, sit opposite the Third Generation, and chat on an equal footing. Oh, I was wrong. He seems to be very reluctant to come. More like the adults of Third Generation are begging him to come. I'm already quite polite. Miss Hong, you're like this. Okay, Hong, Naruto has always been like this. Don't worry about it. It's always been like this, so it's more of a problem. But since the adults of Third Generation have said so, I can breathe a sigh of relief. She didn't really care about it herself, but she was afraid that the adults of Third Generation would mind. After all, it's better for juniors to be polite when talking to elders. Naruto's behavior like this is a bit disrespectful. By the way, why do I care so much about Naruto? He is not hers, so why not take care of yourself? Hong felt that she was a little too sensitive. Obviously she used to not care about other people's affairs, but now she still cares about Naruto inexplicably. Forget it, the important thing is what happens next. However, Naruto, I am very grateful to you for saving Red. Yes, but what did you do to Sand Shinobi's JinchuRiki? Can you tell me? Sure enough, the point came soon. There are many things she reported just now, some detailed plans of Sand Shinobi and Orochimaru, Gaara and Naruto's tailed beastization and so on. Also, the fact that Gaara was touched by Naruto and then recovered from the tailed beast was naturally reported. Rather, this may be the most important point. That's why she called Naruto over too. Otherwise, he would have gone straight home to sleep. Although she was saved by Naruto, as a ninja of Konoha, of course it is impossible for her not to report because of this kind of thing. The moment when he left and was hugged at the end, it should be regarded as a reward. Although this may be a bit cheeky, it is up to him whether he wants to be rewarded or not. And because of the slight difference in height, when he was hugging, one hand was placed on the waist, and the other hand was not placed under the knee joint, but on the thigh. Cough cough. That's it for now. Listen carefully. Hong looked at Naruto with a solemn expression. Her calm eyes looked very steady. It's a mature Yuji at first glance. It's just that the slight blush on her face made her look not so cold, but a little more charming. Fortunately, the two people next to her didn't pay attention to her, which made her feel a little relieved. It's nothing, I just helped him strengthen the seal. Naruto replied very casually, while Blue's eyes flicked to the east and west, but he didn't look at third generation, and he seemed a little guilty. But in fact, third generation is very clear, Naruto just simply doesn't want to see him. Alas, there is no other way. I just hope he can stop hating Konoha. Reinforce the seal. You mean, are you afraid that he will completely transform into a tailed beast in Konoha? Can you use your own chakra to do this kind of thing? But for what he said, third generation was also a little surprised. The situation of that JinchuRiki, third generation has also seen with his own eyes, and with his knowledge, of course he can also see the identity of Gaara. JinchuRiki is quite unstable and may be in danger of going berserk at any time. But unexpectedly, Naruto could suppress him directly. As long as you think about it, there is always a way, but I just strengthened it a little bit, but it doesn't guarantee that he won't turn into a tailed beast. This is enough. Before the battle, let's take the best precautions. Third generation pondered for a moment, then nodded. Indeed, compared to the manic JinchuRiki who will inevitably lose control, it is better to choose to strengthen the seal. Maybe it can reduce some unnecessary damage and casualties. Thank you, Naruto. I'm also very guilty about your parents, and I didn't take care of you for them. Sorry. X2. But at this time, third generation suddenly mentioned this matter, making Naruto and Hong silent. Hong feels that it seems a bit inappropriate for the adults of third generation to suddenly mention this matter, right? After all, she's still here. Although it is said that she knew these things because of eavesdropping, the adults of the third generation should not know about this matter. Of course, Naruto doesn't think so. This old man likes to peep with a crystal ball in 3.4 all the time, and he should know about this, so there is such a thing. Moreover, apologizing in front of subordinates who were unaware on the surface but actually knew about it, made his apology more sincere. It should be said that he really deserves to be a politician. Even if he really reveals his true feelings, it is enough to express it in the best way. Unfortunately, Naruto hates him the most. I don't need to apologize, but I have one thing. I hope the Lord third generation can help me deal with it in these few days. What is it? It's nothing. I just hope that I can also sell my comic books to the Land of Winds. I hope you can discuss it with the Chamber of Commerce so that I can save some procedures. After all, if the old man burped if he was not careful, then he would have to spend a lot of time on this matter. Chapter 96. What should I reveal when I apologize? Naruto, why did you ask the third generation lord like that just now? It's nothing. That's my business. I did a little favor for the third generation, exchanged at equal value, opened up a business channel. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's Sister Hong. Why did you invite me to this place? He smiled and answered the mature and beautiful woman next to him. When he saw the shop with the sign of Izakaya in front of him, Naruto looked at her again, and the irony in his tone became stronger a little. It's the first time for me to go on a date with a beautiful and mature big sister. It's not a date, it's just something that happened today. I still have something to tell you, don't get me wrong. If so, she really wants to hit this kid on the head with a chestnut now. I don't want to learn at such a young age, but I choose to learn this playboy routine. The young and beautiful girls in Konoha, among ninjas, will be taken away by this boy. But anyway, she was the one who invited him here, and she also wanted to thank him a little bit. After all, it was a life-saving grace. What should be said in a timely manner. 24. That really disappointed me a little bit, but I'm still very happy. Speaking of which, Sister Hong, you want to drink here, right? Then I'll drink with you too. You don't need to drink. I will order a drink for you. It's only a 12-year-old child. Why pretend to be an adult and drink alcohol? At most, you can get almost drunk after sneaking some alcohol, right? And if you really drink alcohol, it doesn't seem very good. Children should pay attention to their healthy growth and not mess around. I've come to this kind of place. Just the smell of wine can make people drunk. It's not a good habit to just smell it and not drink it. Don't worry, Miss Hong, I have drunk it before, and I can drink a lot. Even if I let you drink it, the store won't allow it, so forget it. Even Hong couldn't help but spit out a little angrily. If others see her drinking with a child, it will definitely have a bad impact. By the way, when will the title Sister Hong be used? Before, it was only in front of others, pretending to be a little closer, so that there is more reason to save people, and it can barely explain why they appear together. She can understand. But now, do you still want to call it like this? She thinks that Teacher Hong sounds more suitable. That's not easy. But Naruto suddenly smiled, then stretched out his right index finger and the middle finger. With a little force, a cloud of smoke enveloped him, and when the smoke cleared, a well-dressed, handsome, smiling man appeared from inside. A sunny and handsome young man, about 25 years old, a little younger than Hong, but taller than her by a head. Transformation technique. I really like to use this kind of deceiving trick. Hong felt a little headache, thinking whether to agree or not. Indeed, if you come back unchanged, you can still not be discovered by the waiter, and it is still normal for two adults to drink between them. But, if it looks like this, does it really look like she is dating Naruto? No, not like this. I just want to thank and apologize, and there are still some things I want to say and explain. There is really no other meaning. Forget it, don't think too much. Let's go in with a normal heart, in case something unexpected happens. Naruto's appearance is easier to talk to. After all, she brought a child here. It's too much to drink or something. Hey, that boy is so handsome. Really, it feels so sunny. When I smile, I feel like my heart is going to melt. It's just a pity. The lady opposite is also very beautiful, with a good figure and a good match. That's Miss Yuhong, the newly promoted jonin in our village. There are very few female jonin. She really did honor to us women. I just thought she would get together with Mr. Sarutobi, but it seems that you failed to pursue her. Eh? Is that the second son of Lord third generation? It's a pity, such a powerful person, but this one feels excellent, but he doesn't have a forehead protector, so he shouldn't be a ninja, so he can't protect Miss Hong woolen cloth. That's okay if Miss Hong can protect him, it seems like he can too. Oh. This is very interesting. Can you be a little quieter? The sound is getting clearer, even though his face was still pretending as if nothing happened, but as the voice from the side became clearer and clearer, his red face became more and more red. Might be angry, he could be a little embarrassed. Of course, it was also because of the wine. From just now to now, she has already drank a lot of shochu, and the degree is not low, so it is natural for her to blush. In addition, the two waitress girls in the store have been whispering 393 non-stop not far away, and the voice seems to be getting louder, which naturally makes her even more annoyed. But this kind of thing can't be said. It is impossible to tell the man on the opposite side. In that case, it will be really embarrassing. It's true that I haven't had a drink for a long time, but the wine here is similar to the previous one, not that much changed, but there is also a bit of a unique taste in it, which is quite good. Why do you look like an old alcoholic who hasn't had a drink for many years? You're not really that old. Looking at the young man in front of him who was slowly sipping the glass of wine in his hand, Hong couldn't help complaining secretly in her heart. But she was still very surprised. She didn't expect that he drank so much that he was already on par with her, but his face was only a little red, and it seemed that he was still conscious. Is he really that good at drinking? Then, now, Miss Hong, you've probably started talking, since just now you haven't said anything about counting. Well, there are some things, but before that, I want to apologize to you. I was too. Wait a minute, don't you know what to reveal when you apologize? Chapter 97. Sister Hong is really sensitive. Really want to be like this? Of course, Miss Hong, you just said that you want to apologize sincerely, right? Then what else is there to say? For me, what I want to see the most is the one of Sister Hong. I think, if I see it, I will definitely feel very happy. You are too exaggerated. What is so good about this kind of thing? Everyone has it. But I haven't seen yours, Miss Hong. Okay, I see, I'll show you. Just wait a moment. Close your eyes first, otherwise I'm a little embarrassed. Then I'll count to 3 and you open your eyes again, you know? Then 3. 1. Well, you can open your eyes. What? How is it? Although it is very beautiful and charming, it still feels too forced. 90 points. Looking at the glamorous woman who forced a smile in front of him, Naruto commented a bit dumbfounded. Just now he joked with Hong. Smile when you apologize. Originally, it was just a casual joke. After all, this meme is very bad in the original world, so it can't be used indiscriminately. But it doesn't matter if you change it here. Well, there is no need for an apology. All he needs is a smile. Although she laughed many times in the original book, she is a gentle sis to you, but here, he has not seen her smile yet. Although she knew that she might have already dated Asuma, but she invited him over anyway, so there was no need for him to refuse, and it was quite pleasing to watch like this. It's just that she herself may have been embarrassed because she was brought up in such a serious way, and she pushed back and forth. Of course, the more this is the case, the more Naruto wants Kankin. He likes to see how cute and funny this kind of girl will show when she encounters embarrassing things, especially a mature woman like Hong. But maybe it's because it's too formal, although she looks really pretty when she smiles, but there's always a feeling of reluctance. Like forced vertical bar forced to work, which made him there was an unexplainable sense of guilt. Yes, is that so? Cough. Then go to the next link. In fact, I also want to thank you. If you are not here today, I may be dead. Alright. Hong pretended to cough, and then started to talk about serious things. Her eyes seemed very serious, but in fact, it can be seen that she is completely aggressive now. The blush on her face could not be concealed at all. It was much redder than before. It was really the same as her name, and her voice was obviously louder. Although she said it in a serious manner, her eyes were not the same at all. Don't dare to look at Naruto's side. Don't dare to look at him. Actually, when thanking you formally, you also have to reveal. Enough is enough for you. There's no end to this. Seeing that someone wanted to do the same old trick again, Hong couldn't help it anymore. He patted the table and shouted a little loudly. He was obviously more excited than before, and the flush on his face more obvious. After all, For such a big person, she is really uncomfortable being played around by such a little guy as Naruto. This feeling has never been felt before, no matter before or now. No one has ever been able to treat her like this, let alone a child. But Naruto is really different. She always feels that no matter what she does or what she thinks, it seems that everything is under his control. His smile is very sunny, and it is easy and pleasing to look at. But I don't know why, but she always thinks this smile is very bad. It's like staring at your weaknesses and putting you in an embarrassing situation. Okay, got it. Miss Hong is really sensitive. You, forget it. I'm too lazy to be too serious with you. In short, I apologized and thanked you. If you want any remuneration, bring it up, but not the kind of thing just now. Alcohol can mess with sex. This sentence is still very reasonable. Although it is said that Hong's wine taste and alcohol capacity are actually very good, and it is rarely like this in general, but this time it was really affected by too much, resulting in a bit of a collapse of personality. Of course, what needs to be done is still to be done. She didn't think that such a thank you would be able to equalize the other party's life-saving grace. If there is anything else that is needed, please mention it, although she may not be able to do it. But at least try your best. Of course, don't do the things that seem to leave a black history just now. That's it, then let me think about it. Oh, then I'll ask, Miss Hong, have you dated someone else now? Why is this kind of problem again? All of them were talking about this kind of topic that seemed to be relationship with her, but she really felt that Naruto was just having fun. This kind of question is so boring that she doesn't want to answer it at all. I'm not dating, okay? But this is not a difficult question to answer. It's okay to say it directly. It's better than him asking some embarrassing questions later. Eh? Aren't you dating Asuma-sensei? Don't listen to them. I've never dated him. Hong glanced at the two waiters who had already started to take care of other customers, and then said angrily to Naruto, "This kid, it's a good thing to hear it. It's a good thing to ask this sentence, otherwise he will be embarrassed when he spreads his mouth around." Really? I heard that you guys have known each other since you were young, right? Zaulas is in the same class? Isn't he very powerful? And he is also the son of the third generation. He seems to like you very much, right? Why didn't you promise him? Then you are still the son of the fourth generation? Why don't I promise you? Okay, cough. What a cutie. Those are all lies. That guy Asuma looks honest now, but he was just a bad boy before. Who knows what he thinks now, so I don't bother to care about it. Hong waved her hand angrily again, then glared at Naruto. This kid, borrowing the donkey down the slope is very fast. Is that so good news for me? It seems that they dated after Konoha was attacked. Probably because she comforted Asuma, so the two began to get along gradually, and it seemed that they gradually started dating after 2 years. But now, Naruto thinks, does he still have a chance? Chapter 98 Red Hatred. Subscribe. What good news, you are a big kid. Do you really think you are what you are now? Hong gave Naruto an angry look, then stretched out his right index finger and spread it on his forehead, while Naruto accepted it with a smile, still looking very happy. But Hong was a little surprised. Her strength in this bounce was not too small. She intended to bounce him back into a child's appearance. After all, seeing him so proud made her a little angry. In the end, it didn't work out. Isn't this kind of injury? Well, I am very happy to hear that I have a chance in about 3 years. I will be almost 16 years old, so I can be considered an adult. What kind of adult is 16 years old? It's almost counted. When I was 10 years old, I was already earning money to support myself. 16 years old is almost an adult. That being said, it is true, at the age of 16, in the world of ninjas, he is basically independent. Although in the ninja world, 12-year-old Genin is just relying on himself, but mainly depends on his family. But Naruto has always relied on his own hard work, and 433 has not relied on his family. If you really want to say, he is really a little adult. She also lost her parents when she was very young, and it was very hard to take care of herself alone, but at least she still had money at home, so she only needed to work hard on her own cultivation. But Naruto did not take this path, but relied on her own efforts to think about it, drawing manga, opening a store, getting new products, and contacting the Chamber of Commerce. Have your own eyes here and see a lot. If I really want to say it, she actually admires Naruto. She can do so many things at such a young age, and she is very mature inside. Maybe much more mature than her, so she is in Naruto's in front of him. He has always been in such an embarrassing situation of being teased. Compared with him, Asuma may be more like a child. On the outside, he is already an uncle, but in fact he used to be a bad boy. Now the situation is better, but he is just pretending to be mature. He has also learned to smoke. He seems to have grown up a lot, but in fact he is still acting like an adult. Let's grow slowly under shelter, Saber. Of course, he also worked very hard, but for her now, Asuma is just one of many friends, and she doesn't have much thought about that kind of thing now. She has become a new Jonin, and there are still many things to do educational. Alas, I feel a little emotional. That day must have been when Naruto was just born. Naruto, you are amazing. Huh? Why are you saying such things suddenly, Miss Hong? It's nothing, it's just a sigh of relief. My parents have passed away long ago, and I have to rely on myself to survive, so I know that you have worked really hard, so you must take good care of yourself. By the way, protect Konoha, really please." When she said the last sentence, Hong slowly closed her eyes and sighed softly. This sentence is what she wants to say most today. At this time, it sounded a little inexplicable, inexplicably sensational, inexplicably sudden, making people a little unpredictable. In fact, even Hong himself didn't know why he said such things to him. Maybe it was because of the rest of his life after the catastrophe, so maybe he felt a little scared and left a last word or something in advance. It should be like this. It's because of Ninetales, right? But all these excuses, after hearing Naruto's words, all turned into a bunch of fantasy bubbles, as if they had never been said. She thought of many excuses just now, not to fool Naruto, but to fool herself, just to force herself to say this sentence. Protect Konoha. Don't let Ninetales destroy Konoha anymore. She has tried every means to be tactful, and she doesn't even want to say this sentence. She wants to write off all these things and completely skip them. But she found that she still couldn't do it. Naruto in front of her is not her enemy. However, Ninetales inside him is the murderer who killed her parents. What apologies, what thanks, what protection Konoha. In fact, it's just an excuse. What she was really thinking about was actually wanting Naruto to remember. Ninetales, always her and Konoha's enemy, never appear again. So she admits that, on things like this, she really doesn't want to quibble. If Naruto was just a little boy in common, she would never have said such things to Naruto. Because of this way of doing, it's almost like a little child. Because I was unhappy, I complained to others and asked him to never do anything. She is very clear that her actions are really stupid and selfish. On the surface, she separates Naruto from Ninetales, but in fact, she may subconsciously regard Naruto as a part of Ninetales. Originally, she might not have such thoughts, but she could hold back and try to numb herself as much as possible. However, when she was shrouded in Naruto's tailed beast today and protected by Ninetales, she felt very relieved, but also felt an extremely uncomfortable emotion. The power of the culprit who once killed her father is actually protecting her now. From a rational point of view, it saved her life, but from an emotional point of view, she felt that maybe it would be better to let her die. Well, I know, Ninetales killed my parents the day I was born. Of course she knew it now. So naturally I don't hate Naruto that much. Rather, there is a feeling of sympathy for each other. Even if he has to seal the monster that killed his parents in his body, Naruto himself is the most uncomfortable. But in fact, Ninetales was only used. The one who released Ninetales was someone else, and that person was the real murderer of our parents. What? But at this time, Naruto's words made Hong couldn't help but widen those bloody red eyes, and the eyes began to be filled with unprecedented shock. What is he talking about? Ninetales is not the real murderer? Chapter 99 read, Go to your house. Who's that person? The usually calm and composed Hong has completely disappeared at this time. She directly appeared in front of Naruto excitedly, and then pulled his clothes tightly, staring at those big blood-red eyes, extremely excited. This is also of course. How can Hong accept that the enemy who has been mistaken for 12 years now suddenly says that the real enemy is not Ninetales at all, but someone else? I'm sorry, Naruto, I didn't mean to. But please tell me, who did it? Of course, she still reacted and apologized to Naruto, but this time, she naturally couldn't laugh. Fortunately, Naruto didn't want to make fun of her at this time. He wasn't so confused by the style. It's a masked man who claims to be 097 Zebo Madara, and has the pupil technique that can control Ninetales. What? No, it's impossible. Didn't he die a long time ago? Uchiha Madara wrote the name. Of course Hong knows it, as the person who founded Konoha with first Hokage. His name is also extremely famous. But such a person should have died a long time ago. How could he have lived until 12 years ago and did so many things? Obviously, now Hong has no interest in Ninetales at all. The grievance has its head, and the debt has its owner. Now that there is a real enemy, let it be the tool fox. Although it is true that it was the direct cause of death, it is actually a bit like being killed by a knife, and this knife has always been in Konoha's hands. But the so-called Uchiha Madara is also from Konoha, and is the creator of Konoha. But this kind of bizarre thing is really unbelievable. Who knows, although he disappeared after that battle, he might have been hiding. With his strength, he might have reached an unimaginable level for the common people. It's not impossible to live longer. Or taught a disciple of Uchiha, and then transplanted his eyes. Maybe. Although her mouth was full of random guesses, but for some reason, after listening to Naruto's words, Hong felt very reasonable. After all, only Uchiha Madara can control the pupil power of Ninetales. It is said that he manipulated Ninetales to fight against first generation. Naruto, how do you know these things? It's not that she wants to doubt Naruto, but this kind of thing is too weird. It's like a fantasy, and it's very confidential, right? The third generation master told him? But the relationship between him and the adults of third generation doesn't seem to be very good. And he is so young. Is it not good to tell him these things? It was my parents. They put part of their chakra into my body before they died, including part of the memory, so I also know a lot of things. It turned out to be like this. Thank you for your hard work. It sounds like a good thing. But there are some things that you know too much but can't do. It's better than not knowing. I'm used to it. I've been here for so many years. Naruto smiled, and drank the shochu in the glass in one gulp. If I had known earlier, there was still half a cup left. However, under Hong's surprised gaze, Naruto did not show any painful expression, and still maintained the previous smile, but his face was also slightly red. Obviously it was not completely useless. He didn't say and do this because he wanted to pretend in front of Hong. It was just a little sentimental. Before crossing, he was an orphan, and there is not much difference from the time before crossing. He grew up in a welfare institution since he was a child, so he entered the society very early. Although what Naruto experienced at the time was not considered pediatrics, he was also experienced. You drank. Hong was a little worried, and said helplessly. Her tone was like that of a daughter-in-law advising her husband to drink less at the wine table. Of course, just like she was just worried that he would drink away his worries. Don't worry, my alcohol capacity is not bad. I only drink a little of alcohol once in a while, and it's not good for my health. Since you know it's not good, then drink less in the future. Hey, I'm very clear, but this kind of thing also needs to be tried before you know it's not good. After a lot of experience, it will be easier to distinguish. Isn't it only when you get used to the darkness can you pay more attention to the light? You know, he used to live a very low-level life. Compared with the time when he first crossed over, it was a long way. Fortunately, he has always been optimistic and will try to find something to decompress. At first it was fighting, then smoking and drinking, and then women. Always have to try, so as not to be easily seduced. Of course, he didn't touch taboo things, and he might be tempted if he touched them. Play yourself badly. However, he found that those things were too harmful to the body, so he chose to quit early, and learned the otaku culture from the otaku roommate, and then became addicted. Well, it's not a bad thing. He himself may have a certain talent for painting at the beginning, and he can live a good life by drawing illustrations. What a big kid you are, a child, so why can't you do something like a child? But after hearing Naruto's words, Hong couldn't help laughing, and started joking at him for the 10th time. If a child from Common said something like this, she must have felt that it was just pretending to be handsome. But from Naruto's mouth, I don't know why it is particularly convincing. Maybe she was one of those people herself. Sigh, don't think too much. Drink more wine and relax. Let's treat today as when is. Give yourself a break. 2.1 Let's continue drinking. Okay, it's almost done. Let's go home. No. I still want to drink. Drink your head. You are going to have an accident like this. Where is your home? My house is out of wine. Go to your house. I don't even have alcohol at home. No matter. You buy it for me. Sigh. With my current appearance, I don't look like that kind of deceitful scumbag, right? That's right. Red. It's just that someone doesn't know that. Behind them, a young man with a full beard was looking at them. His eyes full of complexity and loneliness. Chapter 100. A moment of spring night is worth 1,000 gold. Reposted it. I'm sorry, the more than 30 big brothers who subscribed before, the chapter will not be reviewed for a long time. Where am I? Open your eyes. This is the time to wake up from the dream. When Hong's consciousness came to her senses, she quickly noticed that the environment in front of her was not the one she was usually familiar with, so she naturally became a little worried subconsciously. Fortunately, she found that, except for the shoes on her feet, she was still wearing her usual clothes and did not appear to be taken off. As a woman's instinct, she felt relieved. Where is she? She remembers that she went drinking with someone yesterday. Oh, it seems to be Naruto. What stupid thing did you do? After thinking about it, all the things of last night came to my mind, and they were also clear. But because of this, she felt even more irritable. I have always been very careful, not to mention things like drinking. I always stop before I feel drunk, and there will be no embarrassing things. But what happened yesterday can no longer be described as a simple embarrassment. She remembered that at the back, she acted like a child directly at Naruto, acting like a baby. 690. She doesn't remember that kind of thing. But surely not. But she really doesn't remember clearly the following things. She just vaguely remembers that she seemed to vomit a few times, and then she seemed to be subconsciously trying to find Naruto, and finally leaned into a warm embrace. She had no memory at all. Sigh, what on earth are you doing? You have been calm all this time. How could you? Are you up? That's right. Let's drink this hangover soup. But at this time, a gentle boy's voice came from the door, which made Hong subconsciously look at it, but was soon stunned. Because at this time, he was coming over with a bowl of soup in his hand, and he was wearing a black apron in front of him. Did he do it himself? It was so fragrant, very fragrant, and she, who had no appetite at first, felt her index finger twitch immediately after smelling it. Sorry to trouble you. Hong tried her best to speak calmly, not wanting to show her true emotions now. When she was in front of others, she always had a very cold and mature image, and she felt that she should be like this too. But in front of Naruto, she always showed a childish side inadvertently, which was a bit embarrassing, and she didn't know how to get along with him. It's okay, it's my wish to be able to take care of a beauty like Sister Hong. I started talking nonsense again. Really? Hong couldn't help but complain secretly in her heart, but she didn't speak. Instead, she got up and sat on a chair, picked up the spoon, and began to drink the bowl of soup slowly. It may be because it was just boiled, so it was still hot, and her face was also a little red. Although she hasn't had a drink yet. Huh? This. It's delicious. But the moment she entered, she couldn't help sighing. This taste is really good, and after drinking it, I feel much more refreshed, and the previous fatigue seems to have disappeared all of a sudden. Is his cooking so good? No wonder the new dishes he launched are so famous. She thought it was just because of the big names, but now that she drinks this, she really realizes that it is indeed very powerful. If you like it, drink more. If you can drink, it means that you are almost awake. Wine? Hong suddenly reacted, and then lowered his head to smell the smell on his body, but found that there was no trace of alcohol. It stands to reason that she drank like that yesterday. Sada, even if most of it evaporated when she got up today, there should still be some. Could it be that she took a bath? Thinking of this kind of thing, Hong felt that his face was so hot that he even wanted to put his head on the ground, and didn't want to look at Naruto again. If this is the case, did he already transfer the? Although I can't feel it at all now, how can a drunk person feel anything? And even though Naruto is so young, he actually picks up girls everywhere, and he has much more experience than her in this area. But even if she really did something, she felt that she couldn't say anything. After all, she really took the initiative to drink so drunk yesterday, without any restraint at all, hugging and kissing, and even went to someone's house. By the way, isn't it painful? It seems that he doesn't feel this way, or that he actually wants to wait until today. Oh, by the way, I used chakra to get rid of the alcohol smell on your body, so there shouldn't be any problems. Do you still feel uncomfortable? Huh? Chakra? Yes, it is like that. Seeing the balls of water polo in Naruto's hand spun quickly like Uzumaki, and turned easily from the ground, and the place where it turned was extremely clear, Hong couldn't help being dumbfounded. But what followed was a feeling of shame even more than before. What are you thinking about? Although he was able to do this kind of thing with chakra beyond her expectations, but I must have thought too much. Yes, I'm sorry, I really caused you a lot of trouble. Although he didn't know it, but she thought it was too much for her to treat him as that kind of person without authorization. It's okay anyway, I was very happy yesterday after all. Sister Hong, you hugged me and refused to leave. You hugged, kissed, and cried, so we were together last night, and we didn't separate. Still very happy. By the way, it's not a joke this time. It's better to be kidding. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.